to be there, but not for too much more than just keeping himself alive.
Yeah, Rek'Sai sustain, really advantageous up there in the isolated lane.
Ooh, Tanglebob's going to miss. Probably keeping Masu alive there, as we can see. Doggo not off to as good a start as he got last time around. His quad taking a lot of damage here from Honky. Landing that last Q was actually a big deal, as level 6 is ticked over here for quad. And CFO, I feel, just riding the tempo of their victory in the last game.
They're going to try and spill their advantage over to top lane and go for a dive possibility here. Honky helping with the invade. Junja at least going to steal away Gromp. Just get guaranteed value there.
Yeah, Pillar goes down. Inspired trying to dance his way out of here. Going to pick up some terrain, but reset on the Gromp. This might be a little bit over-enthusiastic here by Junja.
Yeah, I mean, for Smite fights, Rock Q for Kiana is very good.
Yeah, here's the dive, 2v2, the flash forward from Doggo, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Masu, he flashes away. There's the stand aside.
My gosh,
and there's also a kill in the mid lane. What the heck is going on? It's another one as Rest gets the beats of Warfare, and CFO just won everywhere on the map.
Yeah, it's a 1,500 gold lead for CFO. Once again, the Nico can always just turn into a cannon minion and tank tower shots for days.
It was actually days. It was ridiculous the amount of time that he ate.
That's so dumb.
Regardless, yeah, you have to knock him out of the cannon form. You got to get like a bubble or something on him if you want to put a stop to those dives. And so Doggo does get the kill early on the Masu before it goes down. So he got the kill before losing stacks. So he was able to cash in on those. Draven getting
like that actually needs to get out of the game.
Leading to extra gold
That's
lead
not
here, but
balanced,
then also in mid
bro.
lane.
Just flash forward from Honky when he just killed him.
Like that needs to be
Great
fixed
punishment.
freaking
And he truly has
immediately,
been
dude.
outperforming in the mid lane. Continued on. So we get another look at this. So one tower shot with the heal and good dodge of the bubble, by the way, from Kaiwing. I actually stopped counting because
6 turret shots, I'm pretty sure.
Busio, though, he does finish the job, so he gets the kill afterwards, but
How
critically
is
the
that
Draven
fair?
already cashed in. You don't have a tremendous amount of stacks super early on, but you have some.
How is that freaking
it's really
fair?
nice there for Doggo. 700, over 700 the gold lead for him.
That is a big deal. We'll be able to potentially see where the Adoration stacks came up as far as the amount of money, but that is Feats of Warfare also over to CFO. We haven't seen a dragon taken just yet, but you can see junglers are towards the bottom side of the map. It might be somewhere that we're looking. 50 seconds until the grubs are up as well, but Fly well and truly on the back foot in this game. They are going to be swapping Masu towards that top
Someone
side
said
train.
Quad just loads into the game, down 10 CS.
Bottom lane out of turret.
Gosh, dude.
So CFO winning every single lane in this game and affords them the luxury of controlling the early game map as well. So constantly having priority there to move in and make the extra move on FlyQuest. We'll see how this continues towards grubs. We're approaching the 8-minute marks here. So this is kind of the break point of, do FlyQuest actually get to change something since they have a Scion, but no ultimate. As you called out, the ultimate was used to get back to bottom lane. So Bwipo's actually just using his time to walk up as FlyQuest start this out.
There's no teleport either for Rest, so he's in that bottom lane as well. With the fact that the Scion is here, FlyQuest should be able to guarantee these grubs, and that will be exactly what
Lucianami is
happens.
super early game.
So they're going to sacrifice bottom side turret plate money to the Rek'Sai then, and Junja wants to come in and use his smite.
Well, they're looking for an angle. Supreme display of talent does come down as Junja keeping himself alive there with the ulti. The rest of CFO move over, and that is going to be all 3 of the grubs
That's good.
in the hands of FlyQuest. Nicely done, standing their ground, making sure that CFO don't get anything that they're not allowed to have. As you say, though, Rest is able to answer with that cross map in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was 2 turret plates that the Rek'Sai is able to earn, as well as minions that were denied as the tower killed them off with nobody around. So FlyQuest investing decently heavy into getting these Void Grubs.
It feels so inevitable.
Burst comes on down. Tanglebobs is decent on Busio, but
I have to believe. I have to believe.
The culling.
I have to
that
believe.
is going to allow FlyQuest to stay at least within touching distance of the amount of health that CFO does have.
They could do a roam from mid. Honky has Realm Warp. If they Realm Warp over, that could be 4 people diving FlyQuest, and they're going to do it.
Yep, the Realm Warp is going to come in. Junja looks to turn up. Honky That's so much damage already. Why is this Rise doing so much work? As Masu in so much trouble, the Pop Blossom is going to connect onto Busio. Another cash in, and it's a double for Doggo. 5-1 the kill score, and with 3 of those kills on this Draven, it's looking real good here in game 2 for CFO.
Very successful play. They're able to make it before Busio can soak level 6. Busio on the Nami, still no ultimate. So he didn't have that to create the extra time for the teleport from Quad to come in. Quad's teleport gets nothing. Inspired trying to finish off the Dragon in time, but...
Yeah, it's a 2v2 here. Dragon and Rest against Inspired and Bwipo, and it's the flash out from Inspired to get him to safety. Rest just feeling like he can do anything that he wants here in this bottom lane on this Rek'Sai. Tunneling around. I really like this skin, by the way. Full party Rek'Sai, absolutely fantastic.
Same. That is the
That's
best
the go-to,
one.
right?
That is the best one. Regardless, CFO are very rich.
Yes.
CFO, investing a lot in money, whereas FlyQuest are scraping together some of these early game objectives that don't give you much power outright. So CFO are really well positioned.
How did they put up more of a fight in game 1 than game 2? Like, are they really mental booming this hard, bro?
They do just that. They're going to push in towards this
like,
tower.
are you so for real? Y'all actually like give up before the game even starts?
Advantage. It is just so well
like, real
done
talk?
here for CFO in the early stages.
Like, real talk, y'all don't even want to play. Y'all traveled 12 hours to get to China just to go home.
Might be able to deal with this, but
because y'all can't get out of your mental.
He's got a bloodthirst
like, real talk.
11 minutes into this game.
Like, be so serious with me.
Quad is going to be allowed to live
real
for the
talk.
moment. And I think on this wave, this turret is going to be dead, and I don't think you'd want to push your luck, and that's exactly what he considers as well. So that should be that first turret falling. The last plate picked up as well here by Doggo, and it's already a 2,000 gold lead. Make that about 2.2. Just for the Draven alone.
All right. They're just getting turret plates all over the map at the moment.
I think it's
Atlas.
a garage sale or something like that. All right, there's another one here, but maybe
you
they can kill Whippo at the same time.
I'm pretty sure you get
Junjun
fined.
turns up as well. And now Pillar is going to be put down, and the ulti comes on through for Rest. Tries to get himself out of the way. Junjun was tanking the turret. Whippo is pretty tanky. So they're not going to be able to kill him. Great Bubble is going to catch the Rek'Sai as he tries to flee. And this time, Busio has the wave and takes down the Rek'Sai. FlyQuest answering back.
Putting a stop to this snowball that CFO had been creating. They do get the extra money countering the
Masu
dive
carries off of that shed. Yo, holy, I admire your enthusiasm. I really do, because I am pissed.
A little bit of breathing room.
Yep.
From the onslaught that CFO
I am tilted, brother.
That takes care
I am not gonna lie to you.
Rise teleport,
I admire your enthusiasm right now, because I am down in the dumps, bro.
As well as the bottom wave.
Like, I do not see the light at the end of the tunnel right now, man. I am surrounded by darkness.
It's probably going to explode.
Like, I am pissed, brother.
We're still at the garage sale, as it turns out. There's just
the Lulu is a Lulu
at the garage sale. And Doggo wants to collect some more plates. He's got a very busy dinner party coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we're also seeing one of the reasons why, if you're a team like CFO that had all 3 winning lanes,
how do you play when your jungle has that bad of an attitude problem?
Basically sell out, sending everybody to get Void Grubs.
I wonder if it's just Inspired, Tone. But you're correct. You know how when people like get pissed and they start trolling in solo queue? Like, I wonder if that's the extent of like what is happening to the team. But like, we will never know. They will never tell us. The only people that will know are those 5 individuals. You know what I'm saying? And the coaches. We'll never know.
The defense is going to come on through. Stand aside comes down. The wave avoided. Doggo able to press W.
I wonder if Busio can wants to take an interview
as well, as it could be on the 10th year since it was the LMS at the time, but an LCP team has made it to the top 8. It could be CFO making it back. It would be such a huge thing. Because in that year, it was AHQ and Flash Wolves. They were both there. As the culling is going to come on through here. Now with no turret plates, this turret is under a lot more threat. And especially with a big old Draven there, they will be able to take that one down. Second turret here for CFO as they keep this snowball a-rolling. Whippo a little trouble. You can see Rest looking worse for wear as well. And the defense going to continue as Whippo is just clearing out all of these holes that this Rek'Sai is
I think there was an interview where Masu hinted at them losing trust in each other. Do you remember who it was by?
And I do.
And I wonder why.
Is showing, you know, the history here.
Why did every single NA team
so proud of Flash Wolves? Wait a second.
Absolutely implode this
still
year.
Gets the stun onto
FlyQuest,
but the
Team
base
Liquid.
rush as he gets out of the way. Supreme display of talent is what he was looking for, but he fails to dodge it. And the shutdown money goes to Inspired.
FlyQuest scraping together some mid-game kills.
What happened?
This does not close the gap, but it does get them some money to work with.
And the door was opening, and now at least they've moved it into the direction of starting to close. As Rift Herald immediately going to get started up as well, trying to snowball the play into something else.
100 Thieves was the only team that, like,
it's going to be difficult for CFO to fight, but of course
because
they are
of
going
Dokla's
to
attitude,
fight.
like, just turned.
Because they have a very large Draven and the will to do so. Should be this Rift Herald going down, and that is the eye collected
that
by
was
Inspired.
out of body experience,
so
low key.
Swings once again. Now back towards FlyQuest.
Yeah, like. You could see through Dokla's attitude.
They know what this comp wants to do, right? They are playing with
no,
so much
literally,
gusto.
holy.
Everything needs
Thank
to
you,
be.
guys.
We're moving in the
region
into the
pressure,
jungle. We're
synergy
ready to dive.
issues.
We're ready
But
to
like,
try and
why
get kills.
all out of a sudden are we having synergy issues?
Necessarily, what they're thinking about. As that is going to be Junja able to even out these dragons. This is you're in a turret. That is so much money.
Chim
Over to CFO.
sneezes on the next bingo.
We'd love to see that. FlyQuest unable to defend. I'll just leave Whippo to deal with the rest of these minions.
Yep, CFO keeping up the pressure. Nice rotation.
What's an Etsy witch?
Into the bottom side. Again, the Rek'Sai answer this time around. Constant harassment, constant pressure on the Scion. We'll see about FlyQuest's response for the other side, though.
Finnick, thank you for the follow.
Are you sick of seeing stats that come up and we're like, oh, this player has great stats? I'm kind of sick of that.
You want some bad ones?
Like, because we get Junja is like 19 and 5 on Trundle. Man, he's so good at Trundle. How about this one? Doggo's Draven, 4 and 10 over his career.
Nice.
Guess what one of those 4 wins was recently? And he looked pretty good on that one against a team that I think are pretty good as well, if I remember correctly.
4 and 10?
Yeah. He did get that win over T1 with the Draven, and it was in spectacular fashion. Solo killing multiple people in that game.
You hire a witch on Etsy to put a curse on the enemy team? Is that legit?
Solo kills for him so
Is that
far.
a legit thing?
You know, assisted. But it was constant pressure from the opening of the game, and that has been true for CFO.
What's up, Stars?
As we see them take another tower here.
What the heck? I've never heard of such a thing.
Pushing with all lanes. They are not relenting.
What if we hire a pastor to bless our team
not so much
rather than hexing the enemy team?
From Inspired, and he will be able to just kill Honku.
You can hire them to hex your exes? Is that legit?
Another quick kill for FlyQuest. While CFO have
kept up the pace and
have cashed in, taking all of these towers.
Hex works
4
better.
Towers for CFO, 0 for FlyQuest.
Porque no los dos. I like the way you think, man.
Is going to be able to find him here, but
I think that's my favorite saying.
And the flash and ulti will be in exchange
no los dos.
as Whippo is able to make his way to safety. The fight didn't eventuate anywhere else around the Raptors. And so we are going to have a bit of a stalemate.
It was big on socials last year.
Gold to lead for CFO.
Do y'all believe in witchcraft?
I mean, 2-item Kiana. Inspired
one in chat if you believe in witchcraft.
Now.
I've seen this movie before, the one that's happening in the top lane. So we are going, no, we're back here, and he's dead again. It's the same movie. It's on repeat.
Hey,
Profane Hydra,
shout out my hit Inspired.
For Kiana.
Shout out my hit Inspired. This woman bought an Etsy witch for great weather conditions for her wedding day, so it could be positive.
You know, FlyQuest have
That's
been behind.
crazy.
Inspired individually has the sole gold lead for the team, level 12 on the Kiana as well.
In like
and if you make these quick
angels
plays,
and demons, but like
exactly how you want to try and abuse this
can
champion.
People,
of course, they also have the Rift Herald to work with.
I'm skeptical, I guess.
So next time when they make one of
an
these
explicative is a curse word. I'm skeptical because aren't there like many
and
fake
start to make more
people
and more headway,
like they just pretend they're talking to spirits or whatever, but they're not.
Yeah, every little by little. And it could also be another opportunity to pick themselves up another dragon, right? It's currently even, so it's not like a race to get themselves.
Like, I definitely do believe there are people who are like satanic and demonic and like
CFO, though,
talk to spirits or demons. I don't know if like spirits, I think is, I don't believe in like dead people still alive on Earth.
Of this game.
I believe in like demons
in the last game, but
playing with your emotions to where you think
see how he manages to cope with
this. A spirit again, of a loved one or something like that.
Does get stunned up as the tidal wave comes in as well. There's a great knock-up flash out of the way from the
but
bubble.
Like putting spells on
still
people.
Honku once again under a whole lot of threat as Masu with the cleanse.
Again, I think that's like
as Kaiwing needs to get himself out of that situation.
Demons,
I think this
angels
Otacon is going to be an option for them as Masu dashing in. Supreme Display of Talent goes wide.
Higher the Witches, also able to get into stealth.
That will be able to keep him alive against Doggo and Rest, but you can see that CFO, they want nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, that is flash on both Honku and Doggo. So FlyQuest actually
but I'm saying like spells.
And it
I think spells is just dealing with like demons and stuff like that.
Down to 50% here as Junja puts his own pillar down as they want to take out
very
Tibbers
interesting
this fight
to think about.
He's going to break out, but I mean there just aren't very many people here for CFO. It'd have to be a steal as now Rest looking for that angle, trying to find the knockups here as out he goes as Doggo just takes down Quad. They're all starting to explode, and now he presses W, runs forward. Masu trying to get out of there. The axe from downtown, and he gives the thumbs up as he looks to chase out Masu here. There it is, grabs the triple, and Doggo on this Draven looking like it won't be adding to that 10 column.
The Realm Warp Nico ultimate, beautiful engage from CFO. Honku is able to get Kaiwing right on top of FlyQuest, and they take down every last member. Clean ace.
Oh my goodness, CFO busy trying to count them out here, and it looked like with that Rift Herald they might be able to make the play, but it wasn't the case, and CFO now move to an 8,000 gold lead as we have a look at it again.
Here it is, Realm warping in, the Pop Blossom. Here comes Kaiwing, they get the lockup onto the front line. Inspired gets killed before the Otacon is within stealing range. And Doggo's just chasing down all of the extra members. Once again, he did go with the same experimental Hexblade build that he did versus T1, and he chases them all down.
They know.
Okay, well, we have been in this situation before, Kobe. It was the last game.
They know.
This is CFO with a huge advantage here. 7.5 thousand gold. They're going to grab themselves this next dragon as well as Honku. Try and get some revenge here as Inspired is lying in wait. Looks like Honku's not going to be pushing too far forward. That's a lot of gold there for that Draven. Now with a 4.5 thousand individual lead and the most money in the game. As CFO, let's see whether they can cleanly close this one out or whether Fly is going to miraculously find themselves a way back into this game.
Yeah. Historical game this is going to be for CFO, as we have mentioned. You know, for the region, 2015, the last time LCP/PCS/LMS made it to quarterfinals, and it just seems so right for this CFO team. The progression that we have seen from them at international events over the year, really impressive stuff, and it does seem like Honku and Doggo really deserving these carries.
Yeah, it's
for the team to move on and to try and impress.
I think it's so cool that we've got such a mixture of like veteran talent and brand new players, and then players that have been some of the best over the last few years. It's not like you've got one age group, then an old guy, or just a few veterans and then the young gun like carry. Like it's, you know, you've got Genji with Duro as the little baby, but then everybody else is old, and then you've got T1 with Faker as the old guy, but everyone else is young. Yeah. This is, I feel like, a mix of a whole lot from CFO. But all of them just work so beautifully together. All 6 of their players on this team, as Rest has come in now on the rec side and looking to play a little bit more of that aggressive style. We have seen a few different builds. Sojin seems to be the one that is a little bit more popular as far as a second item, but we did see more tanky options I do kind of like being able to just try and assassinate your target while still being a bruiser.
Yeah, I think it is important to have that extra damage threat to really be able to threaten lethal on the back line. Definitely a big fan of the Sochin on top. FlyQuest going to do their best to withstand the onslaught of CFO, but at this point you are so outgunned just due to the giant wallet difference resulting in these item breakpoints here.
I do think we'll see some tweets after this game.
So it's not, and people say this all the time, right? It's the
I do
defensive
indeed.
items that you get to build as a luxury item can really be the difference maker because you already have the damage. We saw he already has the damage, and now you can't CC him anymore. And that's going to make things really, really rough. Obviously, they have a whole bunch of knockups as well, so it's not just like stuns and things like that that you do need to worry about, but I don't think Doggo is going to be too concerned about that one.
Yeah, and he's very tanky with this build, with the like bruiser rebuild,
yeah,
with the Bloodthirster and the Hexblade. So we'll see.
They're
split
taking
push
it very slow.
Yeah, the split push is.
Yo, thank you for the cute little corgi, Mike.
They've got teleport ready
I
on rest.
appreciate you.
So the rest of them going to apply pressure towards this Baron. 4-1 split push, and top lane's already going in their favor. So FlyQuest are getting kind of trapped in their own territory.
This is my team because I'm North America.
It's just looking difficult to identify what the next play you should make is. As Whippo was trying to find a little bit of an angle, the pillar comes down, Tangle Barbs as well to hold him in place, but he's not exactly a priority target. Rest seems to have found Quad here, who's looking to clear out this minion wave underneath the turret to avoid that one falling down to the Rek'Sai. And CFO just moved back towards this Baron. Cheeky little ward there is actually
I want to be positive, but like there's literally no way to win this game with a 6-1 Doggo.
He finds the ulti onto 2. That is going to be another Pop Blossom connecting though out of Kaiwing. He finds the double. As Whippo able to make his way up, but Doggo finds that last
Doggo.
display of talent. Doesn't work at all, and Doggo keeps himself alive because, like you say, this guy's a tank on the Draven. Bussio's turned into fish food. It's another multi-kill here as the ace comes in for CFO, and it is clean once again.
And they are looking to
like,
finish their 2-0 and move on to quarterfinals.
And I've made a lot of ending calls about decades and things like that before. Here is another one.
It's literally just like MSI, Odie.
10 years.
The elimination match of MSI.
Here at Worlds 2025.
Copy paste. Control C, Control V, bro.
So far, it only gets better for the Oysters.
And now we about to get emoted on, bro. We about to get emoted on.
And
like I know it's coming, bro.
Deserved celebration. Smiles all around.
We're about to get emoted on.
This team has been an absolute breath of fresh air. And now it's with some trepidation that we throw it back to the analysts.
No trepidation needed. No trepidation needed at all because we are going to start with the celebration of CFO. As you said, a decade in the making for this region. And not only that, as they take their bow in front of this crowd, I think you could see the improvement from every tournament they attended. You could see their grit and their resilience,
and the hug.
and it has all led to this victory.
And I mean,
he's like, let's take the bow together.
Series, you know, especially game 2, so dominant. Adorable. I love the early game plan, the confidence for Doggo to bring out the Draven. They force into a split map situation right off the bat, get the summoners, you know, off of Bussio, pushing him out. FlyQuest going to take their final bow.
The way Inspired went to the opposite side of the stage.
Because they've taken down FlyQuest, they've earned themselves this berth in the quarterfinals, and now they have a real opportunity to deal some damage here, to take someone out in the best of 5 and show that they deserve to be in the conversation among the very best in the world.
And the poignancy of both Rest and Driver getting their win, right? This team that I still think has been...
Against Sion.
I know!
Without Sion,
the best example that we've seen of a 6-man roster actually working. Both these players clearly full of respect for one another. So many close calls for CFO, but finally, and I'd say decisively, they actually make it work and are in the quarterfinals.
The first LCP team to qualify for quarterfinals since AHQ and Flash Wolves in 2015. Some of the newer viewers might not know this lore, but this was a region that everybody was afraid of. We used to call them the OG.
We're getting emoted on, guys.
Oh, there it comes.
And now they're
the
back.
Dance.
Let's go!
I don't know. Is that
What
like a
is it?
champion dance? I'm not sure what that was.
Wait, I'm not sure. Are we inting it? Maybe
it's a death animation or something. I'm not sure, but that was fun. Yeah, fair.
Who knows? And here, the casters from the LCP, I think, you know, if we go back and watch the VOD, which I'm going to do for sure, we're going to see that for them. Because you know what it feels like, right? As someone who works for the region, that watershed moment finally comes.
Absolutely. I mean, we live and breathe
You really
this stuff.
Can't hate happiness,
know,
bro.
And that's
You
kind
really
of what gives me
can't.
solace in these moments.
You really
like,
can't.
when I watch a series like this and
I
I'm
can't
feeling
hate him,
heartbroken,
bro.
I know that someone on the other side
I literally
is feeling that
can't
opposite
hate
emotion,
him.
right? That is the beauty of competition.
It's impossible
is that
to hate
FlyQuest
that
failure
man,
is
bro.
the success for CFO, is the joy for CFO, for these people that live and breathe the LCP, that have dedicated their lives to covering and cheering for these teams. I think it's just a beautiful moment.
It's beautiful, and what is also monumental is the way Doggo stepped into this game. I mean, he just
I gotta go to a rage room, bro.
In this,
He strutted into this game.
the most important match of his career.
I love my
mind you.
possessions too much to break
Let's just get
anything.
that out of the way. But this
But
is
I
a
wanna-
great play, and they played it so well. I mean, honestly, not a lot of people were even going for this. They use the Nico cannon trick, which you can tank 10+ tower shots.
Driver.
It uses heal for the move speed to dodge the bubble. If you don't get CC'd, it doesn't break the cannon. So that allows Doggo to basically just 1v2 them under the tower. And then it was just off to the races. In this moment, that engage is sick. Realm War, Pop Blossom. All the key cooldowns were missing from Fly. You could tell they knew they were so far behind. They're like, you know what? We just forced a bunch of flashes.
I think while it's all in good fun, doing it on a team who you just eliminated is a bit in bad taste. I would agree, but he does it after every series. Like, he's been doing that all year. Like, literally since January. After every single match, this man does some type of dance. It's just his bit.
Can they really do it?
It is truly just his bit.
Their minds, it's just like, let us get T1 again. Let us get to that game 5 again, perhaps. A job we could not finish. I'm not saying their play was perfect here. They have a lot to work on.
On-screen celebration, did it work?
Did it happen? They've given themselves a chance, and they've given themselves, you know, a couple days here to try to polish up exactly what they want to polish. I have OBS open. You know, no one is going to give them sign. I think that is going to remain true for the rest of the event.
VOD and see it.
But they have proven that they can win against it, you know, against FlyQuest at the very least without it.
I hope that NA doesn't lose Inspired, but I do think Inspired does not want to play with that team anymore.
I have this feeling this is the last time we're going to see these 5 players playing together, and it is absolutely not the way I want to remember this roster. You know, I want to choose to remember some of the incredible series that they've shown us at MSI at last year's Worlds. They couldn't bring it together here, and it's definitely a huge disappointment. No one is going to be more disappointed than them.
Yeah, on the other side of the break, I'm going to try to talk to one of them, and then after that, we will have TES versus BLG, which is going to be an absolute banger. We'll be right back.
Every single series tonight is a banger.
Looking for that angle, trying to find the knockups here. As out he goes as Doggo just takes down Quad.
I don't want to see this. But as I was saying, Inspired has already like kind of expressed his frustration with FlyQuest. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oop, not LS. Inspired. It was either last Worlds or it was either last Worlds or MSI. He said, well, here's this. Sad was very close, always close, but we always lose. So like when it comes down to the wire, obviously this man like does get tilted. NA near airport is known as the second fastest region to arrive at the airport right after EU, as they gave up on the LOL MSI. Let's see. He said something about like he doesn't understand how they can get better. Where is it? I wonder if he deleted the tweet. Maybe it was at Worlds last year. He doesn't tweet very often, so. There's so much ads. was actually winnable. Hope you guys enjoy the series. Sorry that we couldn't win in the end. Maybe he deleted it. Maybe it was too raunchy to keep on his profile. But basically he said something along the lines of like, I don't understand how we can, I don't understand how we'll ever get better. Like it was a very pessimistic tweet. But I don't see it. I don't know. But yeah, fun game for sure. What does your perfect NA team look like? Honestly, welcome. I really don't have one. Every single last player is inconsistent. All of them. All of them. But I will say I really like Yun. So I'll definitely put Yun as ADC. I guess Inspired is jungle. He's the best jungler in NA at the moment for sure. So Yun, Inspired. Who would I want top? I guess Dokla. Mid, I guess Quid. And support, I guess Busio. But like really everybody is inconsistent. All right, Roki is claiming bingo. Let me find your... Bessie, you got 19 cards. Which one is it? Holy freaking moly. Okay, this one. Spotted a tatty daddy. Player dances IRL. Free 5-minute gank bot. Kim yawns. A caster says an explicative. Did they curse? Did someone curse Roki? At 5:30, they said heck. In the last game? I think we're about to get an interview.
Welcome back, everyone.
Let's watch the interview and then
as I am joined
I'll look at it.
Masu. Masu, my commiserations for the end of the run of FlyQuest this tournament. Let us start maybe by the match today, that all-important match versus CFO. Where do you think it ultimately went wrong?
I feel like in game one, they messed up their swap pretty badly, and we got a decent early advantage. And I feel like we just didn't execute well in the team fights. We had, yeah, I mean, our team fighting was just not very good. And I feel like the Azir got too far ahead, and then it was pretty hard to beat them. And then game two, I think their early plan was just better than us, and they anticipated what we were going to do better because they picked Draven, so we can't swap anymore, because if I swap and go top into him, I will lose pretty hard. So we thought we could fake that we're swapping, but I guess they realized that we weren't actually going to swap, and then they walked into our jungle. Nami lost all her sums and HP, so it was pretty hard for us to lane, and then they also split the map, so...
Yeah.
She looks so good.
Yeah, both of the games seemed pretty rough. You did have a quote about kind of the mental of the team overall, and that's what we got from the Inspired interview as well. Do you think the recovery after your previous match maybe didn't go the way it should have in terms of how you mentally recovered, how you recovered from a confidence perspective? Because I don't feel like I saw the FlyQuest that we know and love here today in this match.
I feel like for sure we didn't recover our mental fully, just in general as a team, as individuals. I feel like there was just a sense of kind of losing a bit of our confidence. And I feel like we carried that a bit into today. And we weren't able to fully reset.
Finally, maybe when you look across the whole year and the lofty goals that were set for FlyQuest, also because of how well you did last year at Worlds, right? And the fact that this is the end of the year, what do you want to say about the whole experience?
I mean, this entire year has been very fun to play. We made pretty much every tournament, and we played for like 11 months straight. So it was a very, very long season. It was really fun. It was really hard at times, but that's part of the competition, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. And as for our expectations, I feel like sadly we were never able to actually reach them or play up to them. And that's just something we're going to have to carry on with.
Yeah, it's just...
My man's is about to cry, bro.
For you here at Worlds. Thank you so much for being so candid and taking the time. I really appreciate it. And good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Back over to you.
Thank you so much, Shocks and Masu, and shout out to the rest of FlyQuest, of course, for their amazing season. Now let's focus on the second matchup we have coming into today. It is going to be BLG taking on TES for a rematch of the LPL Split 3
That's actually
finals.
super sad,
so
bro.
the expectation here is that these teams, they should know each other pretty well.
Yeah, they know they're somewhat familiar, one could say. I mean, it's an exciting matchup for sure, and it feels like that yesterday when we heard the reactions, we weren't sure if the LPL fans were ecstatic or if they were disappointed.
Yeah, we couldn't really read the room in terms of where their heads were at, but you already pointed out, Betty, BLG and TES, we've seen this matchup before.
Literally only.
Throughout the history,
only.
you can see that these teams have matched up so extensively, but I wanted to focus in on this year, where you can see that BLG has kind of had Top Esports' number. It was only really in Split 1 where we saw Top Esports representing the LPL at that first stand tournament, where again, those allegations of their international performances resurfaced because they didn't meet the expectations that the LPL had of them. But as BLG kind of took the mantle from them, was the international representative alongside AL, question marks still surround Top Esports coming into this tournament, even though they made the finals once again in Split 3.
And something to keep in mind, though, is that no matter regional results, usually things are really different when it comes to all the preparation, the nerves coming together, and the LPL especially is really familiar with region kills. LPL versus LPL teams battling at Worlds is something we see pretty often, Emily.
Yeah, so I wanted to investigate this just because sometimes it does not go as planned, and it feels like, especially when two LPL teams face each other at the World Championship, everything kind of goes out the window. They get really, really, really comfortable because they are already comfortable with each other. So some of those nerve issues we've seen
definitely
both teams
reorganizing the FlyQuest roster.
When they're facing each other.
We will not see the same five on that team.
Swapping back and forth between regional finals and Worlds. Some results going to chalk, as we already talked about with.
Before they get, you said it was 5:30. They cursed.
Based on their gameplay for both teams here, which I think has been kind of disappointing.
Going to get rid of that. Knew that they were looking for CFO. We haven't seen it.
On him if you want to put a stop. Helping with the invade. Junja at least.
Grump. This might be a little. He flashes away. There's a stand aside. And there's also a kill in the mid lane. What the heck is going on? It's another one.
Okay, so heck is not an explicative. So explicative is the F word, the S word. Here, I'll pull up a list of explicatives.
I think his worst international showing in his career. So we'll see if he can step it up. Again, these two top laners super familiar with each other, so I can't wait to see what happens.
A lot of nerves from both sides, and we know that it's gonna matter.
So these are like they're explicit words. Explicit words. Think of the words that I don't say on stream. Those are explicatives.
Candice, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, because normally people get fined for explicatives.
Yes. What do the LPL fans think about this matchup?
I think most of them
you are
kind
close.
of happy because
but you are close.
Have one LPL team in the quarterfinals.
All right, yeah.
Like sure.
Yeah, we saw that the fans were actually cheering for when these teams drew each other.
No, they curse on stream. They cursed yesterday.
On who they want to see advancing here. Both teams have been
I think they get a warning.
Yes, both of them struggling in this kind of to a stage. So maybe we will wish the better performing team can get into the quarterfinals.
When I was on LCS or whenever I'm on like a broadcast, they'll tell us in our ear, they'll be like, hey, remember to try not to curse and stuff like that.
Into it. We are back for Top Esports versus BLG as we have a rematch of the LPL Grand Finals.
We need to hear you say it for audio reference. I personally do not curse, so
to go through the regional gauntlet to make it here to Worlds as the 3rd seed. I think a lot of people look at the battle between these two teams as BLG is a star-studded lineup that wins through their solo lanes, and Top Esports have some great players, but are much more macro-orientated and objective setup-orientated as a team.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I mean, the surprising thing, I think, for a lot of people has been, you know, not just at Worlds, but specifically at Worlds, Bin has not been playing to his standard. I think this year in general has been more of a down year for Bin. He has obviously had his moments, but still, even for a down year for Bin, you're expecting him to come in
what
the
I'm
Worlds,
hearing is I'll never get that box check. They literally cursed yesterday.
You kind of expected him to be stomping, or at the very least be competitive. He's been getting solo killed. He's been having a lot of these shocking moments. And it has become less about the stars
T1 to go
on BLG
home.
and
Diabolical.
more about the star on BLG, which is Knight, because this guy I felt was dragging his team, kicking and screaming yesterday.
Especially in that second game.
Everyone wanted to go home, and Knight is like, no! We've got Worlds to play!
The Blanc game, he just gets that quadra kill down towards the bottom side jungle. The question is, will Bin step up? Will both these teams
I'll
step
keep
up?
an eye on Twitter to see if any of the players tweet.
Both of them have been underperforming compared to how they played in the LPL.
You would probably not be allowed to curse a lot.
Some of that form.
That's what I was going to say. Is this is often one of the phenomenon you see at Worlds, is that at Worlds, you are really out of your comfort zone, right? You're playing against teams
Everybody's
and players that you're
tweeting
much less familiar
like
with. You don't really have that level
everybody's
of
tweeting that this, like everybody's worried about the team.
And it's just right back to business as usual.
Inspired tweeted, sucks, so disappointed in our performance. Let's see what next year brings. Thanks for watching all the support.
So they've played each other a few times to be sure. And there's none of that fear, I think, and that kind of like uncertainty when you look across and you say, oh, you know, I'm playing against this guy, or oh, I'm playing against that guy.
Do you think they'd let one inward usage slide? Like if it's a banger.
At level 3 are for a top laner that you've only played against once in your career. Instead, you know these guys,
from
being against them through thick and thin. And for a team like BLG,
97% of the cast,
both of the international finals, now coming into this year,
I don't think that they would let it slide.
To refine that glory, perhaps this can be that stepping stone for them towards quarterfinals and hopefully for them further.
I think there is one
LPL
individual
fans, they're damn well hoping it is, because the feeling for a lot of LPL fans really
but
is
does
that
not
they are
have
losing
it
a
in their
step on the
vocabulary.
LCK, that they haven't been able to be as competitive, that it is
so I
becoming,
do not think
you know, back to the old
it
days
would
where
ever
it was kind of LCK and everyone else, and then LPL had gone on a tear for a few years where they were really starting to pick up steam, winning a lot of internationals.
I think it would make the room very uncomfortable.
Once more, so BLG, TES, both
Raz is already back in NA.
Into the quarters here. Azir, Ori, both up. Wukong going to be banned out. Nico up. Obviously, some of the high priority champs. It feels like it's probably just going to be that
the old guy you're in love with.
But then you also trade away the Yunara. Having left that up, BLG can grab Yunara and Azir here, which puts them in a really strong position when you get to those later game team fights.
It absolutely does. And I was going to say, I actually would love if they grab Nico here, because if you take Azir,
I don't think I've ever heard Raz.
And the worry when you go Yunara sometimes is that then they go for like a Nico and a power lane and really try to bully that Yunara early. But by taking the Nico, I feel like it's often the band-aid that allows Yunara to get towards the later stages of the game. But this is a great comp here so far.
I keep getting Yone banned, but they don't ban Yone. They've picked Yone, but I think you're right. I might take that one out.
Over the top, Shockwave over the top.
But I feel like as soon as I do that,
you know, yes, you are giving over that Yunara, but you have a plan really to deal with it.
It's also putting people on comfort, right?
They ban him.
Kanavi's most played in summer was this Jarvan, 84% win rate on it. Cream's second most played was this Orianna with 9 games on it in summer as well.
Yeah, and Kanavi, I feel like, hasn't really shown up at Worlds just yet. But to me, when I was watching him a lot of summer in the LPL, I was thinking he might just be the best early game jungler in the world, right? Like, he's clearly one of the best junglers, but in particular, his early game pathing, I thought, have been so intelligent. And so I do love seeing him on champions like Jarvan, where he can really affect the map, really kind of throw a wrench in the gears, and it's
just one of those players that you have to always be wondering where those pocket visions are. Could he be there? Is he already behind us?
We'll note as well, BLG sticking with Shadow
Is he
for the first game
second pause
in this
player?
I wonder if
pause?
we'll see H1 perhaps subbing in later in the series, but for now the Corki and the Cassante band away as we move into the second phase of this second round of bans.
Galio might be the next ban is kind of what I'm expecting. I mean, Sion was already banned out obviously on red side. You can't give that over, but it does feel like BLG needs some sort of big front line right now to be able to kind of bring things together. You know, so Galio could be a potential option that they want to take away. I think
was
that makes
a
a lot of
player
sense.
the
Good
cause of
matchup
the
into
second pause?
So now you've taken away a lot of
I don't remember what the second pause was for. Somebody speculated that it was because of a bathroom break.
Champ, but like Ornn to me feels
Can we
like
get Fearless plus plus plus? Draft any band champion is perma-banned for the rest of the rounds.
I think it's something he's put on because it fits the team, and he is playing it, and there it comes. I agree with you in terms of stylistic
So like once they're picked, they can't be picked at all ever again.
BLG have reverted to using this summer.
Yeah, I mean they've been playing a lot more this summer. I think just compositionally it makes a lot of sense.
Faker's reflexes are over, not too much now.
And it's just what the comp needs. Like Ornn gives you the hard engage that you need. It's a decent matchup into the top lane. It's the only tank that's really viable and still available unless you're going way off meta into kind of some of the weirder picks. So I do think it makes a lot of sense here. And now we just have to see what the bot lane is going to be for TES. Are they going to try to go for something really aggressive, look to punish?
Valid enough for bingo.
Or is it going to be more
Which one are you
just try to
confused
match
on?
Scaling for scaling? I think Lucian would fit the bill.
There was
it does sort of fit what you want
there
to do.
was a tech pause, if that's what you're asking.
Lucian Braum gives you a bit of protection into the Ornn, as you're saying. So there we are. Lucian Braum is where we
I'm triggered, but Jackie Loves Lucian is fire.
Unbreakable. That's shield.
But I'm very triggered.
Can stop the Court of the Forge God charging back.
But also Jackie Loves Lucian is fire. He's the reason why I started playing Lucian.
Last pick, giving him counter pick. Azir still available if they do just want to go for something scaling. For the moment, hovering that.
Y'all speak on my man too much.
It'll be interesting to see where he does go. We already have seen
Who's
him
your
play
man?
Ziggs once. It was into the Azir matchup, and he did play well on it. And
I got tech pause because player pauses the game.
All the way through picks and bans.
Oh yeah, no, that
this Ziggs.
tech pause because player pauses the game. You can check that off. That happened. It's just like if they're in game and it pauses. Kizuki, thank you so much for the subscription and welcome to the Mother Redacted Turnip Squad. Hope you're having a beautiful day today.
Which is going to make things very, very difficult. You always have to watch out, you know, with that Call of the Forge God.
A lot of Ziggs mids.
Not really going to be reliable whatsoever.
You're never going to be able to connect with it, assuming that Hung plays it well and uses that Unbreakable properly.
Is maybe a dangerous assumption based on some of the things that have happened in this tournament. There have been some mishaps.
I'm sick of everyone playing what the world's players play.
Not even knowing the build path on Nico for Proto Belts.
The Kindle Gem first item wasn't the best for that Rocket
Belt. My brother.
Nico, but we'll see how Hung does coming into this team in summer, replacing Chris.
So LCP has never made it to quarterfinals.
Hung coming across from Weibo, and after he came in, actually Top Esports started doing a lot better. You know, in winter they lost to Hanwha Life in the first round, obviously, but then when they were in spring, they lost to WE, placed 6th even after they topped the regular season, and then the introduction of Hung got them into those finals. Weren't quite able to take down their rivals today, BLG, losing 3-2 in the end. We're going to make our way onto Summoner's Rift for the first game of this LPL clash.
And one of the big questions for me today really is how is Cream going to perform? Because I feel like he has played so far below his standard, his usual standard. And when you're looking across the other side of the map, Knight has just been such a monster. This guy's been absolutely on a tear, it feels like, here at Worlds. So if Cream is not on it, you do have that concern for TES that Knight could just really start to run away with the series.
I'm also concerned because he's playing Orianna into an early ganking Sin and a satchel.
Can you imagine if Inspired goes to MCoy to play with JoJo?
That can happen on that Orianna, and if you get Knight ahead, we saw how much work he can do on this Ziggs yesterday. Went 5-1 in their first game versus VKS.
Yeah, absolutely did. Has been really strong. A lot of comfort, you know, you touched on it, 16-4.
Yo, Quentin, thank you so much for the 9 months of support. I hope you're having a good day today, love.
A lot of comfort being drafted by both these teams.
I do wonder if we'll see a possible dive from BLG with the Nico. You're already seeing the cannon minion dives a few times here at Worlds. It's really powerful early on, being able to tank 6 or 7 tower shots with just
that mid laner for T1 is my wonderful BF. Sorry to break the news like this.
It's incredibly strong.
It should not be in the game.
Y'all be on my man for real.
Abusing it properly, but it's really hard to abuse into a Lucian and a Braum.
Y'all really love to be on my man.
Lock someone up for an absolute age. Your jungler can be there as well, but if the Zing goes in, how does he then get out afterwards?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I mean, I still think it's one of these things that is really underused by pros. You know, even if they have CC to be able to stop it, that means you're having to spend the CC on this Cannon Nico, you know, right off the rip here. And you can see the all-time head-to-head. Very close, 44 to 39 here.
44 for BLG, importantly, to 39. A few more LPL titles as well for BLG, and the last series was that LPL Finals just a couple of months ago, a month and a half ago or so. That BLG were able to just claim very close series between these two teams. And I think that's also partly why we expected a bit more of them coming into this Worlds, right? We saw them have a tight series, and so far neither of these teams have really managed to impress. BLG on day one losing to 100 Thieves, who put on a great performance, no doubts about it, but I think the expectation is
Kanavi.
that LPL #1 seed can do a little bit more as Jacula flashes forward, flag and drag onto Elk. No escape for the Yanara. We talked about a gank bot.
Honestly, how do y'all feel about this matchup, though?
Yeah, really well done there. Kanavi on his Jarvan, you know, I touched
because
on it. Been so successful.
I feel like
BLG
is kind of in the same spot as how I felt about FlyQuest. Like, I don't think that BLG deserves to advance. They have to really show up and win this game.
You know, if he can get at least like a double scuttle
like
or something,
they've looked very fraudulent for the duration of this World.
Pretty far behind now. You lost
really
3 summoners on that bot side, and when you're playing Nico,
they've
you want to be playing
so
in the face of your
fraudulent.
opponents, utilizing this range advantage that you have from this support.
Even after yesterday.
You have this ward in the pixel brush, but by the time you see it, it just doesn't even matter. Hong flashed forward, you know, got that
after them going to finals last year, I thought they were going to do something.
Left out to dry. They both try to flash and no way out.
You just push so far forward in that lane. As soon as Jarvan shows up around the corner, you are pretty much done for.
My pick'ems are so freaking toasted, bro.
Stuns off. The Scuttle Crab does go over to Shadow on this bottom side. You can see it's about
what Jackie Love things do we have? I put some Jackie Love things in here.
Because Jackie Love and Hung both use their flashes. They only have a barrier left between the two of them. But with the wave pushing in,
did I not
step forward and always jump back to Jackie Love with the stand beside me.
JK, I took them all out, I guess.
Put a ward in the bush, spot out Shadow. This will allow Kanavi
I thought I
to
put some
step
stuff
up
in that
towards
was
that
about
top
Jackie
side.
Love. Does anybody have anything about Jackie Love on their bingo board?
Numbers.
Yep. Surprised Shadow didn't just try to actually just kill the ward when it got placed on top of him.
Yeah,
but
also true.
Uses the W instead. We'll just reset and. Yep, at the end of the day, not going to get double scuttle, not going to get anything really at all. It's a good read from Jackie Love and Hong. Knowing that they could be behind them, they push in the wave, they back off.
Not gonna lie, my pickles are looking kind of good. I've got
anything whatsoever. Trying to hold the wave and keep it into an awkward
potential of 5
here,
correct and 2 partials.
Okay. Jackie Love around, see if they can
pop
lock him
off.
something.
Koodleys, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate you, fam. Hope you're having a gorgeous day today.
Because it was clever, you know, from Elkanon, Shadow's down there.
If you mentioned Dokla, can we check
and Jackie
the
was low on
square?
mana, so had to base, but 369 just goes bot, pushes that out, and by the time the wave crashes top, Jackie Love's going to be there to catch it.
And Bin's built double no magic mantle. So if Bin does stay around on this top side, he's going to be dealing with Illusion.
I will specify next time that it needs to be by broadcast, but if it happens today, then yes.
We will see if Bin decides that his matchup needs to be in that Lucian. He is walking out that way. And, it's a possibility. No, now TP's down towards the bottom.
We got any new squares from draft onwards? I don't add squares like once World starts because it resets all of the boards. So I will never add like new squares.
Does have a slight advantage, but nothing too big. Very
yes, we have quarterfinals draw after all of the games.
Really off of that first blood from Kanavi. That is the only thing separating these two teams.
See if either team decides to go for that dragon. Still a couple of minutes before we have the grubs, so it would be a slightly undermanned fight down towards the bottom side. Call of the Fort God being used. Good brittle procking here from Bin as 369 might have to invest his flash to get out of this one. Scrap shield down, 369 down to 200 HP. Bin just walking forward. Now 369 has the equalizer, gets a bit of health from the level up as well and forces Bin away. Shadow's coming in from that tri-bush. Meanwhile, a Mega Inferno bomb
oh my gosh, they really want to kill him.
To the side of it. On the top side,
but on the top side, they're getting kills on Jackie Love.
Equalizer down towards bot to clear out the wave. Shadow trying to flank 369. Elk needs to run away. 369
holy moly, the flash.
Lightning. Elk backs away from the tower and Top Esports come out on top
of both sides.
My weak side
winning on both sides.
Absorbing the pressure. Bin looking for a very good all-in off of that level up timer, but 369
not me hoping they say bad words. Honestly, I do think it will happen.
The pressure from Shadow, and meanwhile on the other side they get the kill. They zone Elk entirely off this wave. Elk still has not been able to walk back to the tower, and they're going to keep staying here. He's losing so many minions to this tower. This is brutal.
Yeah, just a moment ago, you talked about the small lead in the jungle for Top Esports being the only lead that happened on the map. JackeyLove is now 700 gold ahead of Elk, and they're just going to keep forcing Elk away from this topside tower. 15 CS down, does now have his sums up, but he's only sitting on a cull.
I mean, Elk just watched about 3 full waves die to the tower, right? And there's nothing he could do about it. You try to walk through there, you are dead. Especially because we saw Shadow show on the bot side. We see where Knight is. There's no one there that can just kind of surprise and bail you out. So it's just really good aggressive play here from TES. Knight trading well, but so far, it's been the TES show, and opening up that advantage for JackeyLove. Him and Kanavi have the lead, and 369 is doing a really good job just kind of hanging on that bot side. He was able to
What is actually going on with 2025 Worlds?
Lane where JackeyLove's out of mana,
and crazy.
on the weak side,
the teams that you would think would perform well have been
he's just going to be able to ult that wave and continue to
crumbling.
He's been around for so many years, and there's always that meme, you're going to roll a 3, a 6, or a 9. Well, so far today, at least 6s, possibly a 9. We'll say surviving the dive was relatively well executed from him all around. TP coming out from Hung as the grubs come up, and we'll see Top Esports trying to set up a bit of vision towards this top side to deny BLG their second neutral objective of the game. They did claim the Drake after the dive happened in the bot side.
The coach for FlyQuest just tweeted, he said, at this point, we've accomplished a lot together, but it's clear we are broken. There will be changes, and we will come back stronger. Sorry to the fans for a disappointing run at Worlds this year.
Just doing that red buff. Will be 3 grubs going the way of TES, but that's a pretty big win.
I wonder what that means.
Have been able to push pretty heavily with JackeyLove, putting pressure on that lane and maybe able to farm a couple more plates. You can see 1 is an auto or 2 away on that top side, so that is standing gold that they're going to be looking for.
Elk has to be really cautious. If he
That's
uses his E, or even if he gets hit by the Winter's Bite, the culling just immediately comes out. There's the barrier, and as I say it, JackeyLove and Hung show exactly why Elk needs to back away. Now hits the level 6, does have that transcend oneself, but it doesn't really do a huge amount into an Unbreakable. If Hung just puts that down, you get some damage back. On still only level 5, doesn't have his own Pop Blossom. Hung about 2 minions away from getting his level 6, while Bin trades down towards this bottom side again.
Yeah, Bin trading really well in the 1v1. And you are always in that really nice scenario when it's double AP soul laners. You just rush.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see new players probably.
So Bin definitely in his comfort zone. We'll see how he can perform towards the later stages. I mean, not only do the solo carries scale really, really well, the Unara, the Ziggs, but also you have Ornn items potentially coming through. So, BLG, while they are behind, they do have some very
I don't feel like Lucio was a problem, though. You think Lucio was a weak point?
Golden Forge Drop down again. Bin flashing forward for the second knockup. Well played by Bin. Gets the kill down towards the bottom side while Top Esports try to set up around top. The wave cleared away means that BLG will survive any possibility of a dive, and BLG are on the board.
Yeah, clean little Ornn combo there from Bin, giving no ability for 369 to react. He pops the R and then flashes forward to redirect it even closer. Elk's going.
Elk looking for it. Arc of Judgment coming out. There's the heal as well. JackeyLove still has the flash on the barrier. We'll just use one of them. And TP coming in behind. Elk still has a flash. Double TP, as you say, invested on one more.
I think quad was an issue, and I think Flippo was an issue as well. But he also had good plays. I don't think quad had any good plays. Top Esports is
play from the solo
crushing.
laners there. 369 eating so much pressure down to that bot side, gets killed, and then double TP up towards that top side. 2 more kills going their way as they thought they had JackeyLove painted into a corner, but not only do they bail him out, again, they get that kill, and 369 just takes over the wave. He's going to push in, get a plate off the back of that. Yes, they are losing plates tonight, and they are going to lose a plate or 2 down to Bin, but still nice moves here from TES, who I definitely think want to stay aggressive and keep pushing this pace.
Satchel charge away. Hung going forward here on there in time with the Tangle Barbs. Glacial Fisher going out though, and Knight's already used the flash. Concussive blows for the stun, and Top Esports find another out of nothing, really. Knight just thought he could walk away.
Kanavi and Hung, 5 for 5 on the KP so far this game. Deadly duo just walking around the map there. In that initial flash forward from Hung, I was thinking, are you really going to be able to have enough to actually chase him down? But they knew their limits. They catch up, proc the concussive blows, and that is more than enough to get the kill onto Knight. And Knight has been playing pretty aggressive, pushing constantly. Now Ziggs with no flash is going to have to play a lot more defensive.
You talked about it in the draft. Kanavi's early
We
game,
sure
one of the
this
best
is
early
first
game junglers
seed?
in the world, if not the best at times. Here, 5 kills, 5 kill participation out of 5, 100% for him and Hung. And they're just everywhere on the map. Now, BLG have been able to get a little bit of gold back into their pockets.
Yeah.
You can see Knight still relatively even.
Let me
being
take
still
off this
ahead,
jersey,
but
bro.
That gold lead, 1.2k right now for top.
Top is playing well, but they need to be able to actually convert this into some objectives, right? That's the big concern now, because these kind of games always make me nervous, where you're getting kills and you look at the gold lead, it's 5-1, but the other team has a dragon, you're only at 1k, and they scale really well. So it doesn't really mean much unless you can convert it into something else afterwards. So now they're going to try to turn this into a dragon here. TES in the area. Knight pushes out top, and now he's going to TP mid to try to cover there.
JackeyLove has flash. Crescent Guard coming out from Shadow. JackeyLove's going to have to flash, but Bin's on the flank, and they just have to
Girl, what do we think happened to BLG? Fall from grace needs to be studied. Honestly, like,
to the heavens, but BLG, as they begin to turn it around, 2 more kills to them, and now the dragon in their eyes. BLG collapsed perfectly on the bottom side.
I'd like to say that
these kind of games sometimes
I feel like
nervous,
just
right?
a lot of league
you're
teams
doing well, you're doing well, but
have
converted
struggled.
into anything, and now they show up to the objective. They
We
get
heard
punished.
us talking
Kanavi's
and
spot on
locked
this
in.
board, so shouldn't be any opportunity to actually steal this away. It will be the dragon. It will be the kills, and now the gold lead is essentially meaningless, right? It's nothing at all. And that is back-to-back dragons. It's going to be an Ocean Soul as well on a team with an Ornn. That is always a concern here. So we can watch this one more time. Shadow just full sends it onto Jackie, and Jackie flashes fairly late. Doesn't really have a good angle to get away. And then
they didn't get much rest.
It's a strike.
They in their hometown. Everybody else is on a different sleep schedule.
Grabbing the kill is ideal.
Just gets BLG right back in this game. Elk only 500 gold behind now, has finished that Kraken Slayer.
Okay, so what you're saying is I need to say T1 definitely loses today.
Across the board. Cream will scale up as Knight's caught out a little bit.
T1 is going to get absolutely crushed today.
But still the Demacian standing up from Knight to get the kill, from Kanavi to get the kill. Shadow flashes and blast cones to safety. He's going to give up his red buff for that 369 covering to make sure that Bin can't come and collapse.
And Knight almost gets away, but Kanavi spear to the back, finishes him off there. Maintaining 100%
Is that what I need to do?
KP. This guy is everywhere. Feels like his most impressive game at Worlds thus far.
Agreed.
Definitely looking strong. But again, the gold lead on Jarvan, that's not going to be enough to get it done here at the end of the day. You need to keep these carries in a great spot. And JackeyLove wasn't able to kind of convert all of the pressure that they had been giving towards him, right? They had really been trying to enable him. And he was in a pretty good spot going into that fight, but they didn't have a proper setup. That dragon ends up getting caught out and just kind of going down in a hurry. And now TES pushing here, trying to see if they could potentially look towards first tower, which
gotta do some stretches.
I was going to talk about that because if you're top esports, this early game has gone well if you have good split push threat. If you can 1-3-1 well, because you've got grubs, you have a bit of a gold lead, your solo laners are in okay spots, but
those
you can't
games
really push
my
into the
soul.
Ornn because he just survives any push that's happening. And you can't push into a Ziggs because he just puts that explosive minefield down as on, flashes forward for the double pop Blossom, and they lock up JackeyLove.
Oh, they're
Elk will get the
in.
kill, Hung's gonna fall second, BLG collapse again in the mid lane, they're setting up for the Rift Hold.
Jackie's not loving that. Elk grabs another kill, and now it's gonna be objectives off the back of this here. BLG just tearing it away.
It's huge because you're going to get tower as well. Satchel charge down from Knight. That tower is gone. First tower of the game for BLG. They'll get the objective, as you say. That's the feats of strength. Unless Kanavi can somehow steal this, but he can't get in range for the smite. TP coming in as top esports are looking for a little bit more of a fight, but it's going to be a 3v4 in BLG's favor. And they just walk out. You used your teleport. Yeah, Cream can just walk down towards the bottom side, so it's not too wasted, but still. A little bit of desperation there from top esports trying to collapse on that fight.
I agree. I think they're kind of feeling it slipping away from them here a bit. And Jackie goes up the trade onto
I will say I'm for T1, but they don't need it. Give it to our boy Kobe Genji 2025.
He has the flash, even able to give that kill over.
W rage bait, brother.
He's not giving up.
W rage bait. I'm not falling for the rage bait today, bro. I'm not falling for the rage bait. Y'all got me yesterday. I'm not falling for it today.
Behind 369 has to try and flash away from the explosive. Might be Bin in the back line. 369 put in the trash. Cream having to flash away. JackeyLove with a culling, but that is doing nothing. Top esports have to retreat as BLG collapse well once again.
BLG just fully taking over here.
You're falling for the depressed bait? Oh, I fell for that.
You know, normally ever since these TP changes, TPs
You
are like
Gen
back
G
to
fans
farm.
are getting too bold.
We've had
Tell
so
them.
many nice aggressive
Tell them,
TPs
John.
in this
Get 'em,
game
John.
thus far. Both
Get
teams
'em.
really making it work. But it does feel like BLG pulling further and further ahead here.
We need to add a
Closing
bingo
in on
box
level
for
12,
Chim
getting closer and closer
Blessing.
towards those ornaments.
What would that
And Elk
square
now with a slight
define?
gold lead, but a slight gold lead on this Yunara, who had been focused very heavily. You know, Kanavi was down there early. They're utilizing 369 multiple times to get preferential lane setups for Jackie as well. And now you're just bleeding out towers.
Statistically
in the last 2 minutes, we've gone
speaking,
from a 1,000
Chovy is
gold
better
lead for
than
top
Faker.
esports to a 2K lead for BLG. Shadow here, look for the damage on the hung with the Rift Tower charging in. There's a Drake up in 40 seconds, so they just want the pressure. Meanwhile, Cream is pushing in the top lane, but Knight is answering that with pressure down towards bottom side.
But this is just such nice map play here from BLG. Of course, Cream doing a good job.
You almost got me.
But you do not
You
win
almost got
trades
me.
like this against Herald and Ziggs. The
You
tower
were
is going to
close.
die here as well. On's looking.
Pop Blossom onto 2, 369 the target,
Dang.
and Bin calls
they realize-
in the gods.
Did they realize
On the
turn
next
this
target,
game?
unbreakable no longer. BLG find another couple, and top esports are just left reeling.
They are
Thank
getting
you, son.
ran around the map right
I'm trying to get y'all a
now. They
discount
even got
for
the tier
it.
2 tower in the midst of that, so
I'm
it is getting worse
I'm
and
working on
worse. Knight had this incredibly low. Great engage
Working
once
on
again here from On. There's the Protobell, gets him in range. They have
Wait
that
on me,
Ziggs
okay?
ult to
Wait on
follow
me.
up. Everyone piles
Wait on
in. They
me.
knew Cream wouldn't be here because he had been recalling on that top side. So they just full send it. They kill the tier 2. They knock down the players. They take the dragon.
It's so illegal
and
what this guy
BLG
Ziggs does to
are
towers.
really
No,
looking
truly.
strong in
That
this game.
Hatchel
5 minutes away from an
Satchet
Ocean
hack.
Soul. You look at the other side.
Sa-
Jackie Love has 7 stacks on a Road of Ages, and that's
Satchet?
Cream has 7 stacks on a Road of Ages, and that's it. You got an Essence Reaver and Navori
Satchel?
Flicker Blades, only 1 item on Kanavi. They're not in a strong enough
Sound
spot
it out.
to fight
I was
BLG
getting there.
at this next Drake. They really need
yeah,
to
no,
get
it goes
as much
crazy.
gold as possible, and they're trying to do it through picks towards this top side. Bin the target yet to die this game.
Make that
Top
bow
esports begin
drop
to collapse.
to at least
It's a
$200,
4v1,
$300, and I'm
One is
sold for that
known
discount.
To survive
Well,
quite a long
then,
time in these.
I'll
Culling
make that
down.
work
Bin's
for
just gonna charge his way
everybody
away. Meanwhile,
who
in the mid
doesn't
lane,
try to
Cream trying
rage bait me on
defend against
Chovy.
4, but he's not doing it as well as Bin can. 1-for-1 exchange. A
Free
tier 2 in
Secret
mid, though,
Labs
BLG
chairs
will look for more as
for
they push down the
everybody
end.
Exactly. Bin knows
who
he's gonna
doesn't
die, but he
rage
just
bait
wastes
me
so much
on
of their time.
Chovy.
On again. Gets a wraparound here. Finds another great engage.
That's going to be the discount
and not only
code.
do they get 1 tower, they get 2 towers.
Oh,
and guess what Shadow is doing? He's taking your whole
period.
jungle in the meanwhile. So yeah, you killed
Bet.
Bin. Congrats. But you lost everything else.
And this is much more what we
Oh my
expected
gosh.
from BLG coming into
Tristana
this
before they
tournament.
changed her
Everyone
and you go
actually
AP mid.
aligning and being synergized on
Too
their
much
goals.
fun.
Everyone feels like they know exactly where they need to be, when they need
Not
to be
you
there,
can
when they have to
act
teleport,
for
when
a
they can look for the
bit.
engages. In other games, you've seen On going in and the rest of the team running away.
Not you
Here,
gonna
BLG
act.
much more aligned on exactly how they want to play.
They really
What's up, True?
are.
How you doing,
May
boo?
just be that. Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. It's that kind of game.
It's the reason he's won. Like, this guy's won the most titles of anyone in the LPL. There's a reason for it, and things like that
because
just
he
show how
steals
good he
red
is.
buffs.
It's because he steals red
That's
buffs,
what you
Zell.
picked the Ziggs for. It's not
Exactly,
about
man.
the lane match.
No. Come on.
I really like Knight
Let's
though,
back
y'all.
with the
I really
in this
do.
game.
Oh, that's a statement.
It's an
And
incorrect
Elk.
statement, we can
But it's
both
a
agree, but
statement.
it was funny in the moment.
And
as Shadow
Ben when he's not
pulled out a
in
little
team.
bit here, down to about half HP, but all he's trying to do is get vision with On. You can see a slew of vision for BLG around here. Top esports only have that Tribush warded. Cream's going to be the one to step up, has that Horizon focus now complete. Articon is up if either team wants to play around it, and BLG seem to want to take that Barney. There's a flank from Shadow. He's all the way behind them here, Azale.
We'll see. Shadow's looking.
Oh, it's On, actually, who's got the flank. It's all the Zin on the minimap, and On's going to find a Pop Blossom here. Top esports, they don't know what's coming. Pop Blossom onto 4! The call of the 4's got a eulogy for TES. As a great collapse comes out from BLG, they continue to flash forward. Cream trying to survive, and he just can't do
Poopy
it.
Blossom.
The TP behind. BLG don't want to
On
leave
said,
a man
what about me,
standing.
shawty?
Knight makes them kneel.
On said, what about me,
A
shawty? You
double
named
for
everybody
him.
on this team
A
except for me. Talk to me.
perfect flank. And that's what
And then he
BLG
landed
are
a
all about. He is not
4-man
off. This
Poopy
man
Blossom.
is on today, and he
That's
on one on this
crazy.
Nico. How many many plays have we seen started off by these beautiful Nico flanks. This one was perfection. Started by On and finished off by Knight. TP's down the flanking Ziggs to finish off the play. They grab the Otacon, nearly a 7,000 gold lead now. This game
next bingo square, we have to have a super wombo combo. I'm down, but we have to define what a super wombo combo is.
As On finds a picture-perfect engage. Deep flank, never spotted, gets all 4. You die, who cares? Your job is done.
Did Orin get the ult off though? I don't think I even see that.
And then you think
I don't think I saw the Orin charge back.
Can get away, but not even that will happen because an earlier ward plays
I feel like there will be
On. Another assist for him.
Just beautiful. BLG as well engaging just before On's in vision range to get the flashes out of Top Esports so they can't flash away from the pop blossom when it comes in. That's the coordination you come to expect from the LPL #1 seeds. Elk now with 516 international kills, surpassing Gala, another incredibly decorated LPL player for 9th all-time. And I think Elk
the bronze shield. Okay. I was like, he said that Orin got a great ulti, but
exactly where
I didn't see it.
Drake up in 40 seconds. Ocean Soul available for Billy Gaming. For Top Esports, you're looking at a 6K gold
BLG, I'm sorry I called y'all for seed at the beginning. Nah, because
that is the question on your mind.
They popped off.
The answer, maybe you don't. When you're looking
I would say it would,
this
Jams.
massive gold lead, Soul Point, ornaments have already been coming through.
I would say that was an elevated voice.
Again, the Infinity Edge just got finished. Everything is so in their favor that even Kanavi's starting to look like paper.
There's bouncing bombs as well from Naya, just shredding through Top Esports. They don't have a true tank. It's a Sundered Sky Black Cleaver on the Jarvan. The Braum perhaps, but he's had to go Redemption because all supports do in this day and age. The Drake begun by BLG. Top Esports trying to collapse, but they don't really have the vision in here. Kanavi almost had another bouncing bomb. How does Kanavi get in there? Forced away by the Mega Inferno Bomb. Hung having to run away. And there is the Soul, the priceless moment of the game for BLG. They'll look for more. It's On. Not going to go for anything as they decide to back away.
Well, if you thought Finn was tanky before,
yeah,
well, good luck. As you have Jackie Love here, who's quite
Someone
far
gotta have
now,
bingo, bro.
And you're trying to kill with your double AP soul laners, the K-Nick Rooker, so much MR. Ornaments coming
4,
through.
8,
this
12.
Bin Orn is not going to die again this game, I don't
16.
think.
Yeah, you can look at that small red number under the 47.7K and say, okay, BLG is 6,000 gold ahead. You add in a Soul,
21.
which is about between 4 and 6K worth of stats, 12,000 gold ahead. And then you see the fact they have 26 more petals from the Otacon than their opposing team.
Sub 25-minute Soul, too.
So it's around a 15,000 gold lead.
And the 25-minute Dragon Soul.
Just
how about some scaling advantages
as
well?
Bro.
We got for us.
Just in such a strong position right now. For Top
Esports,
like you're looking for a pick, you're looking to try and catch someone out, but it's hard into double TP, it's hard into Crescent Guard because he negates so much damage, it's hard into Pop Blossom. Hung tries to step up to get a little bit of vision, but it's immediately cleared by BLG. 7 seconds on the Baron, they'll just push in these waves, and then
there's one more series after this, T1 versus MCoy.
And it's also hard because no matter where you go, it feels like On just spawns in behind TES with a perfect flank ready to kick off, and here he comes again.
Oh my gosh, Mark 1, I am so sorry.
On the tip of it. Kanavi with the Cataclysm will be able to survive. Call of the Fortune comes out. Bin flashes for it and claps him down. Top Esports now at a man at disadvantage. Jackie make it 2 down. BLG might just push in for the win here as Cream is being chased out. Instead, they decide the buff is the prize out of this. We got the jungler, we got the AD carry. Let's take the blue, let's take the Baron.
Cream just did a shockwave on multiple members, and I don't think I saw their health move.
He's got Horizon Focus 10 stacks rod, man. This guy does not do damage.
He's scaling. Give him a few minutes.
Well, one thing you can say about On is he's never chicken, as he's hiding in this mid lane.
Fair. It's a new jungle camp. Coming to the Rift next year.
And there we go. BLG will take the Baron.
T1 Baron.
The resets to come out here. I wonder if Elk actually has a 4th item already complete. Yeah, 2,500 gold ahead. Gets the last Whisper and just a control ward. 14 stacks as well on Knight's Medjais. They can look for a 1-3-1 if they want, with the Ornn and the Ziggs being this big.
Yeah, Does anybody remember who gave first blood this game?
You know, if they will, or if they'll play through 2 lanes and just kind of really try to ram it home when you're this far ahead. I feel like splitting up is maybe one of the only ways you could lose. And Knight even completing the Shadow Flame off the back of that, so the burst is going to be that much more terrifying now. And they really do feel like they are one fight away from closing out this first game in an extremely dominant fashion here.
The 6-2 Elk
much more convincing
gave first
fashion than
blood.
we've seen them win so far.
That one?
This tournament, the damage on Cream, man. Just has to
The
walk
one with
away
6
from it.
kills
That
and
tower was
the
already
1K
forfeit.
shutdown.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Bing continues to push and trying to sink these waves up.
Well,
One will clear out Division. Hung looking for that Winter's Bite.
You kill me with that every time,
Shockwave down, but Cream's almost dead. The bouncing bomb not quite enough to kill him off. Elko can step back forward. Shadow diving in. Only a cannon minion here. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Bin has a couple of waves to help him push this inhibitor. Bot wave still a long way away. But BLG need to wait another 10 seconds or so before they have another wave to bolster their attack on this top side.
I mean, it's a fantastic shockwave on both the carries by Cream, but they have Ocean Soul, so they're right back to full health, and Bin has already knocked down the first inhibitor. Second one is gone. It's 2 autos and a satchel, and everything is just going to die.
When do you go? When do you attack as top esports? Because BLG are close enough now that you can't just pick off an isolated member. They'll push him with triple cannons, and now look down towards that bottom side. The inhibitor tower has already fallen, so Shadow can just start whacking away at that inhib. 10k gold, just the gold lead as Hung has to flash away just from Shadow. Mega Inferno bomb blocked with the Unbreakable. Redemption down, not in time. Even with the fountain trying to help him out. Hung cannot survive. Cream flashes out, but it's knocked up with
Top
the Q3 from
is
Shadow.
showing why they are number 2.
It's not going to equalize this game at all.
On the
369 gets a couple, but BLG get the base.
What a performance here from BLG, despite the early game heroics from Kanavi and Hong. They got so many early game kills, it just didn't even matter.
Huge performance from BLG coming back
that
from that
was
deficit.
Like a speed
Not
run,
giving
low
top esports
key.
a moment to breathe. Really,
Do y'all
after the
think that the
17-minute
reason
mark
that
or so,
BLG was
just
able to
totally
win that
took
is
over
because
the
they
game.
know how top esports plays the most?
Absolutely insane.
Like
Desk,
they
what
know.
do you think about it?
I think that it's LPL's
They know
history
how
repeating
top
itself
plays.
here. We didn't know what to expect coming into today, but guys, this has been the best version of BLG we've seen all tournaments so far.
I feel badly for cursing top esports, honestly, because I was like, it's been like they've played the, but yeah, BLG, welcome to the tournament. we missed you.
I'm reminded that every year, BLG find themselves in this 2-2 spot.
Yeah.
And every year we have the conversation, is BLG really that good? And then at a certain point in the tournament, they go, yeah, we're actually quite good. And all they needed was a little bit of home comfort. They're in China, they're in an arena that they're familiar with, playing against an opponent that they know very well. And even though the early game looked terrifying, they find a phenomenal performance. BLG putting on a masterclass here in game 1.
Yeah, let's talk about that early game.
I don't know what it is about his voice.
Kanavi was running the show
But his
here
voice
with
is
his
really,
driver.
really nice.
Emily and I were talking about it in the draft, that we really needed to see Kanavi utilizing some of the power that his early lanes have. And right off the bat, we saw him having that early game impact.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see out of Kanavi before, right? Even in their Gen G series, I was hoping that he'd be a lot more involved with his lanes, especially with this composition. It really needed to get ahead because as we started to see, especially around that second Drake fight, it really started to go BLG's way compositionally.
The thing is, even though BLG were finding these advantages, they weren't converting it into any early control. We saw BLG get both early game dragons, and then while they did concede the grubs, they were cross-mapping every time those towers were under threat. I was concerned for BLG because they put so much attention onto this rumble.
Nah, because they got Dragon Soul at 24 minutes.
This rumble is not the way that you're going to win the game, but it turns out that all you need to do is rely.
So close, guys.
I'll use a bad joke. You just have to flick the switch on, one could say.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Great joke, Betty. Because, yeah, as you said it, thanks to the reliable Cisco network, it actually what was needed here for On to pop off here with a game-changing Pop Blossom. And we know how good he is on this champion.
Yeah, he is absolutely stellar. We're going to cover that a little bit later. But here, they just see the angle to go in. Shadow is already in place. Elk is able to take out Jackie Love here, really clean up. It gets him into a great spot for the rest of this game. And On has been someone who's been really up and down this year, really up and down at this tournament. I thought it was like night and day watching him from yesterday to today on this Nico.
And I love that you mentioned earlier why this moment was so defining, because this was about the time where spikes were coming through in terms of items for the side of top esports. They were ready to contest this Herald, and it was just mispositioning that BLG
Ornn
was
in the bot lane, the 4-man,
capitalizing on. This was a window that they had to take advantage of, because with the Herald secured, they then couldn't really lose control over the game.
Oh my gosh, Sky, please get some sleep.
Onwards, he goes on and on and on and on and
please.
on again.
3 hours is not
Nico
good.
ult. He always finds the perfect angle to turn every fight.
Yeah, so here he comes right there.
Okay, here's
there you go.
The 4-man Pop Blossom landing
I don't think
the
he got
game
the
is
ult
kind
off.
of already over. At this point, it's really, really tough for TES to kind of contest. They're really pushed up. On is on the flank. And here we see him celebrating his success.
Yeah, the
After
Ornn ult
seeing
didn't go off.
There were so many concerns around, is it just Knight and 4 members kind of
Because that would have been
along?
crazy.
We started by talking about, is this Bin's worst international performance? And we really needed to see other members of BLG stepping up. So for On to start off the series with a performance like this has to be such a massive confidence booster to not only the players, but also the BLG fans at home, reminding everyone why this is the first seed coming out from the LPL.
And I also like that they did put Bin on the Ornn. Obviously, I feel like everyone at home is like,
no.
we don't want Bin on Ornn. This kind of stinks, but it fits so well compositionally, and I thought this is kind of the best we've seen him play, right? He looked really well coordinated. His ults are really good. You're laughing at me, Laura. I know.
It's crazy to think that that's what you need.
No one wants more Ornn gameplay, apparently.
Let's just let BLG
because
win.
I thought it was great for this composition.
So we can go
quickly previously in the past we've been a little
T1
bit
versus
critical of Bin
MCoy.
on, right? Where he hasn't been as strong on these tanks.
Like,
so
they just hit one of the quickest
after being really, really shaky for most of the tournament is a good sign
in this world so far. And like, as much as I love Jackie Love,
they have 2 games.
I don't think I love him enough to watch 3 games of this best of 3.
They've been needing to fix a lot of things throughout the entire tournament, but what is the easiest one they can implement?
I think I love enough of BLG to watch a quick 2-0.
The good news for top esports is that they don't have to be worried about On getting Nico once again. Their early game plan was fantastic. They executed upon it well. It was just they weren't really converting those
tell your
kills
baby
into
daddy to throw the
objectives,
first game.
which means that while they were about to be ready for that fight that was going to swing the game, the momentum in their favor,
why would
they
I
just
want
got caught off in
T1
the
to
setup.
lose?
And this is the one thing that BLG will do very effectively, punish you in that setup. So I think that coming into game 2, they don't need to change anything dramatic. They don't need to overdo it. They just need to be a little bit more aware of their positioning, and I think they're in good steading to bring us to game 3.
Wait, is that the only square you have left?
Especially home, the coach from TS was talking about the nerfs from his players. Well, they better fix it now. They have 2 games to turn it around, but it has to come down to the next one. Let's send it over to break, and we'll come back and see if TES can clutch this series
so we can
and
watch
bring us to game 3.
MCoy beat Faker. Y'all be trolling.
Top esports, they don't know what's coming. Pop Blossom on to 4! The call of the 4's got a eulogy for TES. As a great collapse comes out from BLG, they continue to flash forward. Cream trying to survive, and he just can't do it. The TP behind. BLG don't want to leave a man standing. Knight makes them kneel. A double for him. A perfect flank. And that's what BLG are all about.
Did we get a coach scream?
All right, guys. I just landed in China. Let's go.
I have player scream. I don't have coach scream.
Play the local way. Pay your way.
Like I also check them off as I see them. Like I have a list of all of the things and I check them off as they go. So that I did not see. I'm also like able to see like which ones you guys have marked off correctly and which ones you guys have marked off incorrectly. So like, for example,
Red Bull
if you look at this top left-hand one, why is it lagging? Okay, if you look at this top left-hand one, I'm able to see like the ones that you have accurately knocked off and then I see 3 gray ones, right? So those are the ones that I do not have logged. And that's when I like click on it and ask like, oh, which one do they have marked off? But I also see one that is not filled in that I have. So if I click on this board, oh, this one is not actually marked off. So when I open up bingo, it automatically checks off one square, and this square is automatically checked off. So this is correct that it's not filled in. But the others, let's see, it's 322, 322. So spotted Tatty Zaddy. I can only assume that you spotted somebody with a tattoo on, right? 3-2. Someone steals Otacon. Was Otacon stolen so far?
This old thing and the bill from the store where I got
And then player dances IRL, which is correct. So that just means like I don't have it marked off. I might have not have found it like on my thing in time. But yes, somebody did dance IRL, so I'll check that off. So now when I come here, it's marked off. That's why I always check and I ask y'all, because like sometimes I don't have them marked off correctly. And so basically whenever I check y'all's boards on stream, I am checking like the gray ones. So I can see like if people have bingo or if they don't have bingo, like just by looking at the cards. Did somebody steal Otacon? Inspire did have tattoos. Jinjia. Oh yeah, in the top fight. You're absolutely right. I thought when you generate a new card, the last one gets deleted. Nah. Yeah, it's just it keeps making them. Yeah, because they TP'd in with the Poopy Blossom, and then they aced our entire team. You're correct. Otacon stolen. So like basically, so y'all can see what I see on my end. These are all of the possibilities of things that can happen, right? So I have to scroll through this list every time something happens and click it off. So like, what did we just say? Otacon stolen? So like, it's not at the top. So I have to like look through, and wherever it says like Otacon gets stolen or whatever, where is it? Someone steals Otacon. So that's how I check them off, basically. And then I can see like who's got what. Yeah. I got the Otacon Ace one, I think. I got the Otacon Ace one.
Welcome back to Worlds 2025, where BLG are on the brink of advancing to the quarterfinals.
Oh, you're right. I can like control F.
Legend as the two LPL
I can control F it. Like just type in Otacon.
It's an age-old story.
If I don't know the exact diction.
When it comes to the vital matches, when it comes to the crux, often they flounder a little bit, they fail a little bit. We saw it in the LPL finals, we saw it last year at Worlds in the quarterfinals versus T1, we saw it at MSI in the past against G2. Often this team, when the pressure is on, struggle to perform. And we saw that in game one.
Look how full that room is.
They managed to get out to an early lead
Crazy.
through Hung and Kanavi having a great performance together. And then BLG bit back, and now we move into draft for game two.
Absolutely do. We'll have to see how they can perform here. And I mean, I think it was always that concern for TES. I kind of got that
generate
feeling
a new card.
They had this great start. They start 2-0. They got a kind of easier draw. They go up against KT. When they got blasted by KT, I kind of got that feeling where it's like,
anytime you generate a new card,
it might be another TES kind of special. They draw Gen G. You're like, well, that's the headshot. So now you're 2-2. And now you've got to perform in this really high-pressure moment. And they get BLG, a team that's so familiar with them, and usually gets the better of them. Yep. So it is definitely a tough spot to be in. Azir is still going to be up. I really do wonder
if
BLG would just leave the Azir up for a potential answer. Bring out like a melee champion, something along the lines of that Yone or even like an Akali or a Sylas, just like something from Knight to try to give that over. Because that feels like their style, and they're going to leave it up, and they're going to try to bait, I think, into playing it. We'll see.
And if you're looking for someone who can just outplay their opponent on a champion that is meta and is seen as first pick, second pick worthy, it is Knight. Like that's what he so consistently does. For BLG, we always talk about Knight and Bin as the two key carries for the lineup. I think last game on really stepping up alongside Elk, obviously, who consistently gets those kills. Trundle and Azir, the two picks here for top esports into that Renekton from BLG.
So now we'll see if we're going to get what I was kind of thinking, which would be something along the lines of Yone. It would mean they'd have to have an AP jungle, which could make things a little bit more complex. But it is one of those answers. Of course, if you want to go AD jungle, you can still go like Akali or whatever, Sylas, things like this. But that's kind of where my mind is at right now. But we have also seen, more of these kind of different style of counters, answers like the Zig.
So you can
locked in go that style too, and play things like that are less common. But people think of Xerath, people think of Vel'Koz, people think of Victor to try to outrange. But I really don't like the Victor matchup simply because while you can, like the thought process is basically I just poke him with the E-laser and slowly whittle him down over time.
Oh my gosh, I gotta
play
check
well
TikTok.
post 6. Often what happens is you just get the first ult from Azir forces your flash, the second ult kills you. So I am expecting still a melee champ.
Are we getting
would be another option, but he's hovering through all kinds of things, and it is going to be the Aurora, which does work really well as a pairing with the Vi. Of course, when the Vi came through, it also makes you think of things like
is eating
like
chocolate for breakfast bad?
I
don't think it is.
It is going to be
it depends on like what type of chocolate is it. Like is it like pure sugar chocolate? Then I do think that is bad. But like I'm pretty sure there are a lot of health benefits to pure dark chocolate in the morning. Like it can have certain effects like giving you energy and like helping you mentally. But like that doesn't mean you can eat a full dark chocolate chocolate bar. But no, it's just auto mod. You're good.
Again in the second game, so we'll see how much impact Cream can have on this pick.
A certain amount you're supposed to eat. But I remember when I used to study for the SATs, they would tell me like have a like square of dark chocolate as it helps you in the morning.
Tanks, we have seen this many times before. Just going to be trying to neutralize
it's like a thing
can do on this Renekton. All the roles have been matched, so now it is just about targeting some of these comfort picks here. Elk, Ezreal.
No one can convince me that dark chocolate is good. I don't care if it has health benefits.
Was already banned out earlier.
The milk chocolate is just
if I'm
banning like dark BLG, chocolate with a bunch of like sugar and milk.
Or you want to ban things that can absorb the engage that you're drafting for. Things
sugar
like
can give you energy, but it's like temporarily.
Makes sense as a ban.
Because you're just going to crash afterwards.
Jhin potentially, but I really do think Xayah makes a ton of sense here unless you want to double ban enchanters. And Renata's kind of like the king enchanter against hard engage.
Also, Xayah is the most picked for Jackie Love in summer. So it's his most consistent champion. Obviously plays it incredibly well.
As long as you don't eat too much.
All around the world. So wouldn't be surprised to see that Xayah ban at all.
That doesn't mean go eat a Snickers bar every morning. That's not what I mean. I mean like you need that real cocoa. You need the cocoa.
Or if they want something like the Jhin that can stand a little bit further back, have that range, just use the curtain call to facilitate the start of a fight.
Yep, I mean Varus can kind of do similar things too if you want to go.
We do stand the quirky ban.
Sit back and try to just poke in with that, but of course, Varus very susceptible to dive.
Hey Elk Bay, love you lots. Hear me out.
Really been a fan
Let's pick a champion that you know you will crush on. But you have also not played in Worlds. So insta-locking Sivir.
Or just something standard hard engage, or
so insta-locking Sivir is quite diabolical.
With there, it really does lower the priority on Rel. So instead, they're going to go Poppy. So they're going to go more for the denial of the engage rather than having hard engage themselves. So now this composition from TES to me becomes really about kind of zone control and poke. It's about pillaring out the carries. It's about poking them down with the Varus, using the soldiers to kind of create this line. And when BLG goes for this inevitable hard engage, where they pop the Sivir ult and in-flies everybody, well, that's when Hong and 369 need to come in with the Pathmaker and with the Poppy ult, knock you back and peel for their carries. So it's really two kind of diametrically opposed ideas in how to play the game. And I think that these make for some of the most
we're
fun
ahead of
games
schedule
of League to watch when there's such
right
clear
now. It is
ways
1:22. Worlds normally starts at 1 a.m. and it's normally 2 best of 3s. So we are in game 2, which would normally start at 2 a.m. So we are technically 40 minutes ahead of schedule, despite the 30-minute delay from FlyQuest versus CFO.
Do we need to have the keepers
we could be on T1 versus MCOY, but
it's great to watch.
It's
we'll
okay.
try and keep you abreast of it
Things happen. Let's just make sure we keep on this track.
BLG get ahead, I do really like what they can do in this as well, because
let's aim for a quick 15er.
Engage, they have enough follow-up.
Let's try and break a world record.
Esports aren't chunky, they can just mow them
Truly.
down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can be one of these
Somebody come get her. What's she doing?
Right? Vi Aurora.
What's she doing,
that kind of
Pookie?
composition gets way ahead. All of a sudden, your Varus and your Azir are just dead at the start of every fight, right? It can become very, very difficult to deal
He's
with.
dancing like a stripper.
If this TES composition can stay relatively even for a long time, then you start getting into these luxury items. Then you're looking at GAs. Then you're looking at Zonias. Then you're looking at all of these answers for what BLG's composition is meant to do. So there is some pressure. Of course, you do obviously have that Sivir as your kind of like, that's your fallback plan or whatever you want to call it.
Shark.
You know, 500s,
yes.
How are you doing? What's going on, Alicia?
A chunk of damage early in that mid lane. Jackie Love.
It's me. That's you screaming?
Towards top. Looks like he's gonna
that was me. I should quiet down.
An Elk who are waiting to catch him out. We do have 100 international games for 369 all time across his career. Congratulations to him.
I know I'm coping, but I don't see T1 winning
at Worlds 2025.
Jackie being pretty annoying here, actually. Gets his Mana Flow brand proc, got a couple comment procs.
Why don't you see T1 winning, silly?
That wave a little bit, force them to walk the long way at the very least. Of course, they got a bit of chunk on Knight, but he had time to base. Cream wanted to base himself, but did lose just that little bit of health. And Hong going to continue getting this poke on. I mean, Alistar level 1
How are they allowed to be so aggressive?
Right? And now you're down half of your HP, so that's kind of your 2 potions gone. Of course, you can rely somewhat on your passive, so
to rage bait. You're right.
Now and try to heal it back up as Elk is just on this expected.
Would I be silly if I inflated a blow-up mattress down here in my stream room, and then I just stream from the blow-up mattress?
We'll try and use that ranged
Would
buckler
that
and the
be
shield from it to
doing too
constantly trade
much?
in, but with the push actually coming out from On and Elk, they're going to get to that level 2 first, which means Jackie and Hung have to respect it. Heal coming out from On as they look for the damage with the Boomerang Blade. Piercing arrow out from Jackie Love. They'll get 2, but they'll miss the minion. So it's a tiny lead for Elk on that bot side.
Well played by On. I actually really like the use of the heal.
Aggressive.
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 Gets him in range, allows that combo to come through.
I like your energy.
Blade, get a nice little chunk down on your opponent. So now Jackie Love is the one
who has to use his potion. Party,
Elk
right?
still is sitting on his. Of course, there isn't a sustained advantage there for Hung, who is still sitting on 2 potions, but nice little bit of trading. Both these laners, trying to play for every little advantage. TES getting the early chunk, but BLG just knowing how to play it out.
So important that you do it just before the level 2 comes out, because either the steadfast presence or the charge from Poppy would spell disaster there. You're either getting knocked up as you go in for your CC, or you're getting knocked back underneath the tower as you go in for your CC. Both of which not the best states to be in as a cow at level 2.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of energy was wasted on that series. I'm not gonna lie, Maria's. I kind of agree with that. Like being so emotionally whipped up and down, left and right across Summoner's Rift.
Around here is just gonna use a spell shield there for a bit of a
takes
heal.
a lot out of you.
Jackie
It really
trying to
does.
slowly whittle away on this tower. Kanavi has arrived, but because On is here, I don't really think there's a dive angle. I think they were maybe saying,
cover
hey,
half
it's worth spending
the
a little bit of time
cost?
here. I'm slower to start the scuttle,
Dang.
but if Hong went mid
How
lane or Hong was
serious out
looking
here
for
in
something
these
else, then that
streets.
could have been a dive.
Knight trading with Cream here. Shadow looking for it. The weirding out from Knight. Cream has to flash. Respects the Q flash there from Shadow.
Yeah, I like that. That's well played by Shadow. basically Cream has to, because if he late Q flashes on you, you're just dead. So just don't even use your flash. You can kind of play that game. Sometimes people get really risky and then not use their flash either, but well played, putting that pressure on. Knight's still quite low here, but wants to push in the wave, and I don't think Cream's going to be able to stop him.
Knight didn't know exactly where Kanavi was there, but kind of anticipated him having backed, hiding around the corner out of vision. You could see Kanavi stayed around. It's like, okay, a recall time is about 8 seconds. We don't see Knight in the lane, and then Knight comes around the corner to push out the wave. It would have been a really bad spot for him if both of them had just recalled and then the teleports had come back in. So Knight here will try and crash this next wave in with that 2-fold Hex. Hung coming across to bolster Cream as he TPs back into the lane, but Knight gets all the minions and now can just back away.
Yep, it's going to be able to hold that no problem. Both supports showing up mid lane at basically the exact same time. And the wave will just crash, so Cream is going to be able to farm that up, but the next wave will be pushing over into Knight, so not any major advantage created there. Bin has been laning quite well, though, in this 1v1, getting non-stop push, but also really being a menace on all of these range minions. You know, as 369 tries to walk forward and farm these range minions, he's always getting harassed. He is getting stunned up and chipped away at, which is, you know, has put him down close to that 10 CS mark. There
so many emotes used this time in Worlds.
Still, really
I
nice
agree. The players are feeling goofy silly.
That's what you want to see to really make this pick worthwhile.
It's going to end up being about one full wave if 369 manages to pick up all of these, but he's also got the plate, so in a really good spot. And as you say, you want this Renekton to get towards those 1 to 2 item power points so that when you get team fights around the Drakes, he can be trying to isolate Jackie on the back line. He can be another point of pressure. We talked about the multi-pronged approach, kind of a quadrant, really, coming out here from BLG. You have Bin from one flank, you have Shadow from another, you have Knight from another, you have On from another. You have these 4 points of that spear trying to get onto top esports, but for the moment with the push in the bot lane from Jackie Love and Hung, they will be able to secure this first Drake.
Sometimes, you know, you get fancy with it, you do what you're talking about, you know, all the finesse, and sometimes instead of 4 points of a spear, you just become one big club.
Yep.
Everyone just goes together, press all your buttons at once, see what happens, and sometimes that's the best way to play it. Knight hit 6, immediately used his ult onto Cream to try to get a chunk, but Cream just got out of there in a hurry, so he didn't really get much of anything for it. And now again, Hung shows up mid. Oh, nicely played there by 369. Flips in Bin and knew with the Pathmaker he was going to get put under the tower, so had to use the flash. That's the frustrating thing about Cassante is he can just hold this wave just outside his tower, and you always have to respect that not only do his abilities put you under the tower, they also kill the wave at the same time.
And then there's the all-out follow-up after it, so you're just locked there for an absolute age. Cease and desist going down onto Cream here. Shadow's gone so deep, yep, has to flash. We all saw that one coming. The Emperor's Divide would have knocked Shadow back underneath that turret.
I just want to say,
coming out first from top esports, Jackie Love actually going up towards top pit.
You say we all did, but I don't think Shadow
Cream
did.
is playing Azir.
As soon as he got pulled back, I think he was like, okay, yeah, maybe not the best idea to stay here.
You have some time to think about what you've done.
It's like when you
who does that remind you of?
Twisted Advance someone and they dash underneath their tower. It's like, oh, maybe not the best idea. As first play from either jungler, really. We saw, you know, Kanavi spending a little bit of time around bot, but does get Cream's ultimate out, which means Knight can be a little bit more aggressive in the 1v1 in the mid lane. Bin's still staying up here. We don't actually see... Look, I'm trying to find something good.
That is very glass half full.
Out of it, man.
Great gank. You gotta have Cream's
I didn't say it was great.
Ult.
It finds the ult.
No, I said it was great.
Sure? Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just like the red buff steal was great in the last
great.
I'm interested that BLG are keeping Bin up here, though. You can see they...
He played Orianna with no skin last game, too.
Some extra solo gold.
Who does that remind you of?
And Bin is actually just staying in the 2v1.
This is going to be up here for now. He doesn't have TP, so it would be hard to actually, you know, get him out of this lane unless Elk can push out bot and then move up top, something along those lines. So for now, he is just going to be chilling. Not really under too much threat. I don't think he's at any risk of getting burst down. You can see 369 has moved. Elk is bot, so this should be the grubs for TES. A nice early bit of lane assignments here for them. And Cream will just go down bot to catch that wave eventually.
Yeah, and this was my thought. Right? You know you have a numbers advantage. You know the Sivir doesn't have teleport, so top esports will get the first Drake and 3 grubs. 2 of those objective slaying feats as Shadow tries to steal one away. Maybe they'll look for Kanavi. The smite for the slow, not enough to get that Vault Breaker in range, and Shadow doesn't have that cease and desist.
Yep, doesn't have the cease and desist, and doesn't have his flash, so he can't even look for that.
Are you saying he copied someone?
On that great gank.
Yep, true.
I'm saying
when he forced out the ultimate from the
Azir. He's trying to be just like his father.
But, you know, at the end of the day, not that big of a deal. BLG, you know, was getting a little bit behind here and there in the last game, but obviously the compositions are very different. And I do feel like there's more pressure on BLG to be able to create action. Of course, you can always just sometimes outplay, you know, in these late game compositions, and then it doesn't really matter. You know, you step one foot in the wrong spot as Jackie Love or Cream, and maybe you just die even in a late game fight. But when you talk about scaling, you know, I think a lot of times about, you know, ease of execution, and I do think what TES has drafted is definitely a lot easier. As Bin just going to ult to try to kill the wave, I think, but trying so much.
Caught up in the chain of corruption. Cold equal heal him up. Ruthless Predator for the stun on Hong as well, but clears the wave. Shadow is here to cover just in case it went a little bit pear-shaped. Hong, if he steps further forward, there was a possibility of an engage.
So Cream is your son, not mine.
But what shape was that?
Oh, that was, you know,
it's
a
someone we all know and love.
Spheroid.
So apple is the positive fruit and pear is the negative.
Spheroid as Hong. Cease and desist onto Jackie Love. On jumps in, flashes forward for the double pulverize. Jackie Love stunned up with a trample. The keeper's verdict finds them all guilty. But really, BLG will be happy with their prize of the kill on Jackie.
How about that engage from On? W to the Poppy, flash into the middle of them. Q, knock up on both. That was clean. That's what you like to see from the Alistar. And going to be able to make that play work here. Said they had to kind of find some of these aggressive moves, and they absolutely were able to.
But it's also one they shouldn't really have been able to find, because Steadfast Presence exists. Unless we saw Hong use it earlier on in the lane as they were trying to push it up. It's Bin's caught out, all out from 369.
Wait, 369 just solo killed Bin.
On now caught out a little bit, but he's going to get the knockback onto Kanavi. Has to flash away as Bolt Breaker out. Will get the CC onto that Trundle. Knight trying to put the dash in from the side, and Emperor's Divide coming out again as Shadow tries to retreat. Takes Kanavi, jumps back in with a Bolt Breaker. Cream in the middle of them, and Knight still so healthy. The Blasco knocks back 3 of BLG. Knight flashes the wall, and Cream is churned to butter. BLG fine too.
What a nice fight there from BLG, staying around at such low health. But On hangs around, and Knight, again, as always, just always seems to find a way to come out on top in these skirmishes. When it is down to the slimmest of margins, it is always Knight that seems to win out. Makes the roam happen here. The Ghost actually being pretty critical here for On as he popped the Ghost pretty early, kind of just headbutts him away, runs away, and then Kanavi here flashes in to follow, but gets trample stunned, and then all of a sudden it's this difficult spot where Knight has arrived, gets the ulti down on multiple members, Shadow is able to turn and finish one off, does get knocked back by Hong on his Q, but Knight in the meanwhile is pushing out Cream, so Cream can't actually stay around and finish off anyone. They juggle the health bars there so well, just using the HP as a resource, everyone just coming in and out as their spells are up and ready.
This is the second game of the second series.
And come away with a 1.3K
praying for a BLG win on this one so we can get into T1.
2 dragons now.
We have a bit of a swip swap from game one as Shadow looks for Cream. Cease and desist down. Knight look for the damage with that twofold Hex. Weirding out, not enough. Shadow dies to the soldiers. Just not enough from Knight to get the kill, and Cream happily accepts one. Knight now needs to run away. TP out as he knows with the pillar down, there's no more CC that can interrupt that cast.
Nicely done by Knight to escape, but Shadow, not some of the best ganks we've seen here in the mid lane.
The guy's 2-1, he just needs to avoid mid.
Yeah.
And I understand wanting to get Cream behind because he's got the Nash's Tooth and his ear scales really well into the game, but every time you go mid, you die, Shadow, so maybe don't go there anymore.
Yeah, goes mid, and this time, you know, it doesn't even force anything. It's not like he got an ult, like he got a flash. He goes in, and I understand the thought process because they knew Cream had no ult from that earlier play, so I think the idea is good, but Azir is just such a safe champion. Gets back towards that tower, you can't finish him off, takes a couple tower shots himself, and then just gets knocked down by Cream, and now Kanavi topside. Bin could be in trouble again.
Bin might be caught out here as 369 looks for the Intofos, gets the knockback after the pillar, all out, pulls Bin back, Domina's popped, but Bin will be the one going pop as Top Esports find another 3-3 now. An incredibly even early game between these two teams.
Please.
Yeah, Bin did a good job creating some early advantages in that 1v1, but then it's 369 getting a solo kill on him. It's 369 setting up for a great gank here from Kanavi, and now just like that, the Cassante is ahead and is going to be winning in that 1v1. Built himself a nice early edge, and I mean, you really just have to stack armor against this composition. Yep. Sure, there's an Aurora, but like, in what world is the Aurora spending all their damage onto the Cassante and you're winning the fight, right? It just doesn't
one player
exist.
lives from a team fight. Is it one player altogether or one player on the team that got wiped? One player altogether.
Over on the BLG side, and
so like there's one player alive on the map.
But Cassante is just going to be a real pain for BLG's composition to deal with.
It really is. It's going to be so hard for them to actually get through him until
yeah, 369 called
5-6 items, and then the shred will come out with those ricochets.
369 solo kill
Cream does
bin.
have that Emperor's Divide. Shadow dashes away from the Vault Breaker more just to clear the wave than anything more, but still 2 plates over to top esports.
This kind of makes me want to play
Almost gets the flash headbutt, but can't quite find it. Cream with a fancy feet gliding his way away. Top esports here, just making sure that Cream can get the wave all the way in. Could play for the first tower if they want. The plates have just fallen off, and no real threat from BLG anywhere else. Bin clears the wave, pillar down, and the wave is culled off. So top esports will need to wait another 20-25 seconds before another wave comes in.
I mean, Cream just played that so well. I think it was a good look from On, but Cream really was
still
anticipating it, right?
At minimum, there's
ready.
3 more games left.
Instantly dashing
still
out.
got
So
this,
as that Q
Lock
flash
in.
comes in, Cream just barely
Can't
gets
give
out
up.
of range. Good stuff from him. Really kind of playing on
You
those
can't
margins.
give
And then
up.
once that flash is used, you already know there's no flash on Bin, so there's not really any chance of a setup. He's always going to be able to react very comfortably with the Azir ult if they try to combo in or anything like that. So really playing to the limit. They wanted to put that pressure down there, but BLG holding on to the towers for now.
It's an interesting swap from game 1, because in game 1 it was top esports who got the early kills, BLG who got the early Drakes and the Grubs, and now
there you
it's
go.
BLG who got the early kills.
That's
Top
what I
esports who
like
get
to
the Dragons
hear.
and now have started to even out the game. And for top esports, you're looking at it, it's Mountain Soul. This Cassante will be unkillable entirely. Elk there stopped by the Spellbook Smite. And won't be able to back away. Has finished his cull, so has about a 600 gold lead in that AD carry role. Bin here once again using the Dominus just to clear the wave. That early lead that we talked about has really
One
not
thing I
materialized
admire
into
about
anything
these
more than
pro players is
No, it
how they
hasn't
use their ultis
whatsoever.
to just clear a wave.
Master's Azir, you hit this and you just start doing so much damage.
Like, is that really worth?
Bin knows he had to clear out that wave, wanted to defend the tower. They do not
But it
want to
sounds
lose
like it
'cause that will be
is.
feats. But Cream is just going to keep pushing here, and he has the grubs. Every time Bin steps up, he's just slowly getting chipped away at. We'll be able to clear out this wave, though. Cream definitely having to work for it. The problem is they're not really pushing on anywhere else, so it's not like BLG are close to grabbing a tower elsewhere. And if TES do get this Herald, you have to feel like that's going to be feats going their way with the tower as well.
Should definitely be the first tower if they manage to get that hold. Get the charge off. Shadow looking for Hung. Goes in for just a little chip damage.
Yeah, I
Heal out
normally
from
save
Hung.
my ult. But I also
BLG
play champions that
they have
can't
to be defensive. They have to
ult
step back a little bit.
waves, so
There's
like
the first tower.
Caitlyn
Cream steps
or
forward, knowing there's no
Kaisa
jungler on this side
or
of the map, knowing that Elkanon
Jinx.
are up
I'll
towards
use
that
my
top
ult to
side.
clear
There's
a
the
wave on
beats
Jinx,
for top
though.
esports.
I will.
BLG feel like they're trying to scale for second items at the moment, just accepting waves rather than being able to do anything proactive.
Yeah, they are, and I mean the game is still
Yeah,
close. But it
I
does
kinda wanna know
really
what
feel like one of
they-
these games that is
they be
maybe
talking about.
one fight away, like one bad fight from BLG, and they're kind of out of it. I mean, they're clearly feeling like they're in a pretty terrible position if you're going to give up Soul Point without even a contest. So instead, they're just going to try to trade for Herald. They're going to try to get some more gold. But the other team, I think, is easier to play out. In my opinion, has better scaling and is now going to be at Soul Point. And when you're playing a hard engaged comp here, you know, with this buy, with this Aurora, and you're looking at Mountain Soul, that's one of the worst, if not the worst, souls to actually see as an opportunity for TES.
Especially when you talked about the Cassante just being able to build armor as well, right? It's getting buffed up 5% per Mountain Drake you have, will be 10% if they get the soul. And then you have the shield on top of it that scales off bonus health, AD, AP. It's so tricky for BLG, and we talked about it in draft. This is one of those games that does just snowball really quickly if one team gets ahead. We kind of focus on it from BLG's point of view, saying, well, if they get ahead and they can just dive in, they will wipe top esports off the map. But for top esports, it's like, you can't kill us. Like, we can just stand there. We have prio in every wave. No one can actually get the push in, and so we're never really under any threat.
And it always feels weird, you know, sometimes I think for people who are listening to hear us talk about a game in this way, because you look at the gold and you're like, it's 300 gold, you know, it's 3-3, but it's really compositional that it's coming down to, and that's why I do feel like this is going to be a one-fight game.
So
you know, we're going to see the Soul come up here in about 4
outscales?
minutes. BLG is going to show up, and if they win that, then they can maybe turn that into something more. You know, you win that, you get this,
Top
get that
esports,
dragon,
no?
you get an Otacon, all of a sudden you build a big advantage, and maybe you can start to really
Azir,
push that in your favor.
Rundle,
But if TES are able to win that and get Soul,
Renekton falls off, Vi
barring
falls
some
off.
really crazy stuff,
Aurora
it's
and
pretty
Sivir
much
will
lights
get
out. So
stronger,
that is why
but
we are talking about it being, you know, so favorable, the position in the game for
I
TES.
think it's top
They're just
esports.
really comfortable compositionally and objective-wise.
I also think around the times they have to fight, which is 3 minutes time for the Mountain Soul, BLG at 2 items will be weaker than top esports at 2 items. They have a little bit more gold as well, but I love a 2-item Varus with Mana Moon fully stacked up. Cream has already got his Nash's Tooth, building up to his next item with that Haunting Guys in the Faded Ashes. Like, in terms of relative power, I take the right side comp, the red side
Mountain
comp,
Soul
at
with
2
that.
items more than I take the blue side comp.
But what if Knight flanks and then one-shots their carries?
Sure.
I would really love it if BLG won, though. I'm not
That's
gonna
always
lie.
the thing, right?
That's the thing, Knight, and he does it so often. This guy,
I think we need to lock in.
my opinion, probably the best player to ever come out of the LPL, at least the most consistently top player to ever come out of the LPL. He does that in moments like this, in games like this. The question is, can he do it? And even if he does it once, it's not enough. BLG need to win the first fight and then probably 2 or 3 subsequent fights to really get back in the game. They'll put the Rift Herald down mid to try and crack this tier 1. The pillar comes out to stop the charge. And Kanavi puts the traffic cone up, says, excuse me, can't park here, sir. Kills off the Rift Herald before it gets this charge in.
You think you'd just get a ticket for parking in the wrong place?
Yeah.
Just brutally murdered.
Look, man.
Runeterra is ruthless.
Yeah, of course it is. Cream, though. Good engage here from Shadow, but with the Emperor's Divide, he'll lock him up. Knight pops at the between
so
worlds and then puts it down because he doesn't want
have
to bounce back in as Top
his
Esports begins to
ult now.
collapse onto On Pulverize. Not caught out with that Pathmaker. On has to flash away. Top Esports collapse incredibly quickly. 6 seconds on
It's
the outer card.
2 or 3v5 top lane. We have the ADC going down to match Sivir in mid.
And we can see Sivir shoving up mid for free as well. So they kind of need to get more than just that flash, it feels like right now. We are expecting that bot lane tower to go down for sure. Elk won't be able to get this, though.
On with the headbutt back to Shadow here to try and protect his Alistar, and Tofu is not going to hit with that Q3 out. Gets
Okay,
mid lane
barrier
towers, he
in
trades
mid.
off Jackalope.
Oh my
But
gosh,
the spell shield
Elk.
doesn't block the piercing arrow barrier coming out
Holy
from Elk.
freaking moly.
Meanwhile, Cream engaging onto Knight, who uses the weirding to try and dodge away. The dive in by 369 isn't going to be enough as On's caught down towards the bottom side. Elk able to walk away in mid. Meanwhile, Bin continues to push a tier 2 perhaps for Top Esports towards this top lane.
I don't know
with
why,
the
but I
TP
am
coming in. Knight's
tired
looking for the
today.
re-engage. Weirding onto Cream gets the
I
slow,
slept
gets
so
the damage.
much.
Shadow goes between the
I
uprights,
tried
can't
to
hit
sleep a lot
369 or
today.
Kanavi. Elk on the flank, spell
guess
shields,
we're
but now he's
just getting up.
isolated. Has to flash the wall, but with an exhaust, he's clapped around the head by Kanavi. Top Esports find the kill. BLG get a couple of towers out of it, but Top will look towards the Archon alongside.
Really nicely played there.
Maybe
by
lack
Hong,
of
gets a
vitamin D.
multi-man
I have made so
knockback.
much effort
Elk
to
is
make sure I go
isolated. Came over there at
outside
pretty low HP.
at least
After the
like
scuffle
for
mid lane,
2
they were able to
hours
force down 2
every
towers.
day
He
that
had
I
a great
stream
spell shield
like
on
this.
Jackie Love's ultimate,
So
but
like
now
today,
it's
like
TES
I
forcing
went
the
out to
Otacon
eat
here.
and I was
BLG know they have to
outside.
contest. They're falling behind.
Top Esports will be low. Armor Magic is this shredded by this Archon. 369 trying to block, weirding out, knock up onto him with the headbutt. Shadow trying to come in from the bottom side, but it looks like BLG will just give up the ghost. Archon secured by Kanavi and Top Esports. They haven't given a single neutral objective over to BLG in the first 21
Maybe you're tired of being disappointed year after year by North American
all
teams.
the resources here because it's 20 seconds until
I think
Seoul.
it's
They
the
just
worst
got
this
Otacon.
year
You're
because
looking at
I really thought
flashes.
that
The flashes
FlyQuest
on
had shown
all the
that like
playmakers except for Shadow are missing. Jackie Love still has
they're
his
really,
flash. That is
like,
really big because the Varus is the
gonna
most
do it
susceptible
this
to
year.
that dive.
Like
So
I
that is
really
gonna help
thought
to keep him
they
safe
were our
in this
best
next
shot.
fight. And TES have got
And then
to be
they did
feeling
show
like
up and
they're about to tie up the
absolutely-
series. They just have to win one more big fight. 369 also has
it
his
just
flash,
looked
so
like
that's
regular
a big
in
playmaking
A
ability. He could
this
potentially
year.
get in onto Elk. Their
Like,
first
this
here
was
to set
not
up.
Steph's
the
presence popped there by Hong. Pillar down as well. Ong using the unbreakable
This is
well chain
not the
interruption.
FlyQuest
Gonna land
we've
onto
seen.
Elk as well and will lock him up on down. Elk unable to step up and help out his cow. Meanwhile, Bin's looking for the flank here as BLG. They've got 2 prongs of the trident, but Top Esports have all 5 players left alive. Shadow forced away. The Drake begun by Top Esports. Knight trying to get in there, but can't
Yo,
find
Chum,
an
I'm kinda
avenue to
looking
approach through the
forward,
brick wall that is
but
369.
after this
Bin
year's
going forward
Worlds,
for
this is my
Jackie Love.
first
Ruthless
watch
Predator
party.
flashed away, cease and
Welcome.
desist onto that backline as well, but the collapse of Top
my
Esports
gosh, we're
is
gonna go to
massive.
game
Between worlds goes
3.
Knight, and Top Esports still managing to survive through it. They turn it around. Kanavi and 369 just diving in.
The freaking
Bin will get
one
one
time
in
I needed
response,
2-0,
but only
bro.
2 left alive for BLG. Means Seoul is the
are you going
prize
to
for
do
Top
the
Esports.
league competitive
good
season
try
next
there
year
from
for most
BLG.
major events?
As Knight is gonna hang
If
around,
they
he
allow me
knows
to,
they can't
I will
give Seoul. It's
always
gonna be a
co-stream it.
total prayer over
But the
wall.
thing is, like, they
And it was
hand
pretty
select the
darn close
co-streamers.
to being answered.
They
As we can see our
pick
MasterCard
who
priceless
they want to
moment of the
co-stream.
game.
So
claimed the
if I
Seoul.
am accepted,
But BLG had
or
a
like
good
if
start
they
to the
invite
fight.
me to
Bin found a
co-stream,
good angle
yes,
on
I will
Jackie.
be doing
They do
it.
kill him off, but the problem is Elk dies at the same time. And when Elk goes it down, who's going to kill the front line? From TES, there's just no consistent damage. So Bin gets in, gets the slow on to Jackie, stuns him as he goes over the wall, but then you have to look at what is happening on the other side. Elk here
no balls.
tries to get into
No
the
balls,
mix,
no bars.
immediately knocked
No,
down
no
by
bars.
Kanavi, as well as 369, and then there's just not enough consistent damage. And then Great try over the wall. Let's see how close
I really hope
that
I get to live stream from Worlds next year, though, guys.
It was a perfect
like,
smite from Kanavi. Auto smite at 970 is enough
I'm
damage
really
to get
like
the kill.
so for real.
Well done all round by Top Esports to secure that Mountain Soul.
I really want to co-stream at Worlds.
For BLG now, like you've seen what a fight can be, but now you have to try and do that again into a Mountain Soul. You have 526 international kills for Bin, who has surpassed Perks for 7th all-time. Congratulations to him.
It's in NA
a
next
few more
year.
At least at this Worlds you have
So
to
like,
because I think we both expect another game at
hopefully
least
that
in this
means
best of 3.
like, you know, they gonna pick Yagora.
One more game at
Next year is in NA.
Yes. Not going down without
Next
a fight.
year is 100% in NA.
Like
so
two pretty controlled games on opposite sides. You know, when you think
hopefully
through.
they like, you know what, we kind of like that Miss Chum Chum girl.
Closer in this one, I feel like the last
Hopefully
game
they
was
hit me with one of
maybe
them.
closer. You know, this time it just didn't feel like BLG ever got any real advantages.
Brush up your Korean.
TS has kind of felt inevitable because of the dragon control, because of the composition. They're playing it out really, really well. BLG do still have some pretty good wave clear with Elk, but the problem is TES, I think, are strong enough now with this super tanky stun that you can just thread the dive. He can just take it up forever.
And that's exactly what they do. Elk has to flash away. Meanwhile, there's TP behind them between World Seasons Assist all onto Jackie Love. The follower coming out from On. And BLG are looking for the fight. Kanavi still very healthy. Harm almost going down. He's going to have to flash away. Shadow gets killed off. So
They're
one
so
for one
tanky.
exchange. Jungle up for AD carry. Bin.
I'm really surprised we don't see
They
Vayne.
might try and catch Kanavi as he walks across.
I wonder
Bin,
what the reason
Ruthless
behind it
Predator can't
is.
get the stun, goes in. Unable to find it, chomped out by Kanavi. TP coming back here as 369 is going to join Top Esports on the push.
Oh yeah, no, for sure,
Elk was
Yunho.
able to survive that. The tower helping
They're gonna
out
bring
a lot.
Faker and they'll be like, "Hey, can you translate this interview?" And I'm gonna be like,
"Seer is still up means this Baron is up and available. If you can't dive them, force them to come to you, and that's exactly what TES are doing."
Bin doesn't have that ultimate. 369 looks for the Antofos. Hung's looking for that flank position. The Baron down to about half HP with his Predator stun onto 369. The disengage Cream goes in. The Emperor's of finds 2, but not Elk. Kanavi's going to chase him out though. On trying to protect his AD carry, but he just can't get there in time. It's roast beef for Top Esports as they claim 2 and will turn their eyes back towards the Baron.
It's just a beautiful run of play there from Top.
I think the
they
world
go mid,
needs
they
more
force
Chum
the
Chum.
dive.
Hopefully,
they can't fully make it
Worlds
happen. So then,
needs
with that kill
Chum
on
Chum.
Shadow, they know we are just going to bring them to us over at the Baron. They immediately turn off that Baron, and Cream is able to find a great ult. They chase down Ulk, they kill him off, and now feel like they have full control here. 369 just kind of pushing them back, and then they decide, all right, just wait for Hung. As soon as he arrives, we are going to go. Kanavi goes in, the pillar comes down, flash from Cream. Knight does respond, and the spell shield was there from Elk, but he gets the other 2. Elk is chased down by Kanavi as well as Cream. Knight can do nothing but watch, and they know this one is all but over.
Cream doing a great job there, separating the AD carry from the means of protection in the form of On and Bin. And as soon as you do that, you can just chase him. Like, he doesn't have the damage to get through a Trundle who is sitting at Spirit Visage Triforce, the upgraded plated steel caps. He is such a strong position. Top Esports generally just in prime control of this game right now. And this is, I think this is part of the difference between how BLG win games and how Top Esports win games as well. Top Esports, the most macro, most objective setup-orientated team in the LPL, whereas BLG, they love to get pulled into a skirmish from time to time. And you see that here. It's 11-6. It's a 3,000 gold lead. There's a soul for Top Esports. It's all done, but the Nexus falling. And Top will just take it slow. They're like, okay, we'll push through bot. We'll force you away. We don't have to take the fight. They're still going to look for On, but with Redemption coming out, Kanavi's still trying to club him. We'll take him. Chain of Corruption down as well onto Shadow. Goes in with the Season Assist. Knight looking for the damage, but Kanavi's too healthy
through bot lane
to do
too,
anything
just like
about
last game.
And they're just methodical. They'll force you off. They'll take the towers. They'll look for the inhibs. And BLG can't find a way back in.
Yeah, BLG just simply don't have the damage in a lot of these skirmishes to really even threaten them whatsoever. With the Mountain Soul Shield, with all of their gold lead, they are looking to end the game and tie us up right here.
The LPL Finals went all 5. Top Esports and BLG looking to make it go all 3 here. One win between either of them and that quarterfinal spot for Top Esports. They just need to take down this Nexus. BLG trying to defend. Elk using that ricochet.
No, literally
goes in with a double
Molly.
pulverize, but the tower's almost fallen. No Nexus towers left alive. Bin, Ruthless Predator won't find the stun. On forced away. BLG forced away. And Top Esports will force us to a game 3.
A beautiful bounce back here from TES. So many top fans. You have to know we're worried after that game one. Would they just go down in a sweep? Would they be able to
get that blow up mattress, babe? No, like.
Yes, it really is. And questions arise around the draft as well. The Azir left up for Cream to pick. He had a great performance all round.
I was like, who is yelling? But it's the coach.
To break down that game.
He's getting them hype.
Thank you, guys. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this series anymore, because coming into today, especially given the two teams' performances, I was expecting the biggest fraud-off ever.
Who doing all that yelling?
We're getting game after game the best performance we've seen from both these teams so far this tournament. So what do you have?
I feel like this was a great representation of the team styles. In game one, I felt like that it came down to single carry performances. When I think of BLG, they have superstar moments, they have highlight plays, they love to fight, and they kind of use their individual skill to outperform the best teams in the world. But for Top Esports, it was more of a calculated, crafted effort where at various different points, we were highlighting different members and debating who really was the star of this team, who was the player that really defined the moment. But I felt like that every single player had key moments throughout the game.
Where did they put T1?
They slowly control it through good objective control, superior team fighting, and an overall big bounce back from game one.
And we saw the opposite scenario, Emily, compared to game one, where here it was BLG getting the early kills while TS were the ones stacking up those objectives.
Yeah, and I think a little bit it starts in draft. I wouldn't say necessarily the game itself was decided in draft, but I do think the most important thing here for me was that R5 Poppy. When Vedi and I were both looking at this draft, we were like, okay, BLG have drafted something they're super comfortable with. I wasn't surprised to see the first pick Renekton come through. I'm not going to say I liked it necessarily, but was not surprised by it, right? Was not surprised, especially by these first 3 picks coming out of BLG. But TES have a lot of really good champions to deal with what BLG want to throw with them. The Azir became super, super important. We've had a lot of discussions about Cream's Azir across the year and across last year as well. The Trundle deals really well, and then this is such a great Poppy angle, and you could see at times it seemed like BLG kind of forgot that a Poppy was in the game or could be in the game, right? So, and I think this Poppy ended up being a really strong pick for TES.
Absolutely, and I think that when we look back at how things were going in the
I don't
early
think
game,
we've gone to game 3 with 2 strong
I thought it was
teams.
simply going to be a matter of, oh, BLG's
So
going to
hopefully
run away
we
with it,
do
because as you highlighted,
get
Law,
something
the early
nice
game kills were going the way of BLG.
pulled out.
As you
You know
also
what I'm
mentioned, in
saying?
contrast the game
Like,
one,
hopefully we
BLG
do
weren't converting
see
that into
a
early
fire
dragon control, into a snowball.
draft
And when you have a composition
that won't
like this,
rock us to
it's
sleep.
really important that as BLG, you're snowballing through these objectives, because you want to, on your power spike, force your opposition into fighting, which Top Esports, they kind of played their own game.
Yeah, Top Esports played their own game, and as we see these early objective controls, the only one they lost was Herald. They were able to stop that with the Trundle pillar, right? So BLG couldn't even get the credit for that. They also were able to clean up Otacon, and I think it's another example of just, I keep telling people like, man, you guys, like, I swear, Top Esports, they're a pretty smart team. I remember telling you this at the beginning of the year, and you're like, okay, whatever, Emily. Like, you're trolling. You watch them at first stand. They're absolutely abysmal. But you could see it here. It's exactly like you said, where it's kind of a clash of these 2 play styles, and this is exactly how I expect
whoever wants to win can win.
For me, like, my big
I'm not
point of
stressing it now that we're in game
does
3.
go towards Shadow. Yeah. He was in such a fantastic
Whoever wants
spot,
to win,
and under zero
take
pressure, he felt the need to force ganks mid. And
Hey,
twice
do me
we
a
saw
favor
him
and
trying to
hover
kill
Samira.
Cream.
Hear me out.
Twice Cream got
What
the
if
better
they
of him.
lock
And I feel
in
like because he got
Samira
so many
so we
of
don't
the
fall
game
asleep?
resources, he had to be that driving force. And so when Cream turns around and
I
gets
think I'm
the
down
solo
for
kill
that.
onto him, all of the win gets taken out of BLG's sails, and then that's just where Top
I think I'm down for
Esports
that.
slowly but surely take full control of the game.
And that's the thing, you don't always need to try to make things happen on the map,
Jinx
but I
would be
appreciate
better.
the fact that
I'm
even
down
if
for
they
a
were playing
Jinx.
from behind, BLG were trying to
I'm
get
down
back
for a
in the
Jinx, my
game. They
brother.
tried to prevent the soul, but even that doesn't work out the way they want to.
Yeah, this didn't end up working out at this point. TES are just so far ahead, right? Like, Jackie Love kind of goes untouched, is able to kill off on here, and then you see BLG think they might be able to do something with this as it plays out when TES, I'm just waiting for it to get there. Here we go.
Yeah, they just have to wait.
Yep. So Vin just sees an angle onto Jackie Love, right? And he's like, okay, maybe we can take this. honestly, at this point in the game, it was still a little
Jinx
bit
with
doomed where
Samira
Shadow
support.
goes in, he falls, and Bin isn't really able to have that kind of great, he was never able to have the impact on the Renekton that I think he was thinking of when they locked that pick in first.
And I think for BLG,
Did we
it's
see
back to
an
the drawing board.
X-player?
Because when we move towards Game 3, what we've learned is that red side is very valuable. We were talking about it prior to the
Is
game. That
Azael
it
an
felt like
X-player?
Top Esports wanted to be on red to deny some of these counter pick abilities from the side of BLG, giving those solo laners the agency to run rampant on the Rift, and now moving back. We've just literally been told that BLG is not only moving to red, but they're subbing in Beishwan as well.
Do we like it?
Well,
he's always been a
This is
caster.
what they do,
Yeah,
right?
that's what they do.
It's also like, as Vedi already touched upon, Shadow had a few really big unforced errors, right? In both of those ganks that he was talking about, Knight didn't have his ult up. He'd used it elsewhere. At one point, Knight was all the way back under his own turret when Shadow tried to go in onto Cream. So I think, like, in terms of these two junglers, I think he's coming in.
Yeah, I feel like most of the coaches are
also maybe for a
ex-players.
breath of fresh air. He'll be playing for the solo laner specifically. He's a lot more, I would say, facilitative than Shadow. So we'll see.
I can't imagine the pressure he's under. He starts the tournament against 100 Thieves where he loses. Yeah. Everyone's like, get him out, put Shadow back in. And now he finds himself in the elimination match where they're like, no problem, buddy. All the
we believe in
you. You've got this.
I mean, yeah, the pressure cannot get bigger
Kim,
than
if I
this
let
here. And obviously,
Yunho
BLG
interview
on one
me
side,
and
they
we
were
make
the
you
world's
laugh, does that
finalists
count?
last year. They want to prove that quarterfinals
For
is
sure.
just the beginning for them. And on the other side, you have Top Esports.
For
They
sure
want
it
to
counts.
beat those international chokers allegations. Let's see who comes out on top in this LPL versus LPL matchup in Game 3.
They know what they were doing when they put the T1 game last, because the only reason why I'm sitting through this game is to watch Nkoi versus T1. Like, literally the only reason. I would have gone to sleep. I would have been like, all right, y'all, I'm out. They knew what they were doing. They really did. They knew what they were doing.
I told you I was done with basic browsers. Your setup wants Opera GX, and you're holding it back. Upgrade to the gaming browser. Download Opera GX.
The greatest players in the world.
No, that is crazy. After watching that, like, low-key intently, that was kind of crazy.
You are going to see them like you've never seen them before.
It will as the Arcane Storm doing so much work in Gen G. They are just going to ace them.
누굴 만나도 이길 수 있다는 자신감 정도로만 생각하고 있습니다.
Gen G, the EWC winners. Locking down the Drake is now Doran. Decent position. Double break down my walls, but I won't rise again. Cause I stand tall in my environment. How could I ever close my eyes and stay silent since they try to take me down with their
Fire PC. Fire monitor. Play at the speed of the pros. Omen 25 esports monitor. I feel the energy getting sucked out of my body. There's been a couple of Fire series, Sam, but yeah. Nah, truly holy. Not only do we have to watch FlyQuest get their absolute donkey dookie booty cheeks taken, but we got to sit through Top Esports versus BLG, which has already happened in LPL. And we go into game 3. Is that part of the song? I assume that's a part of the song. I think that's part of the song. Yeah, I did not like that on my ears. That hurt. I think you gotta stand up and walk around. Hear me out. I lay down. All I need is a blanket. I gotta make chat larger so I can hear y'all. Chat size. Oh, it's already at the largest. Perfect. I'm going to use my FlyQuest merch as a blankie. There's my legs.
Hey players, you know a lot of you have been asking about the winter map and why we haven't been able to do it, and I'll tell you, it's really difficult.
They're having a broadcast delay.
Need some work.
Something's happening.
Everything in the map itself is a lot of effort.
We already saw the countdown.
Clarity. And can we just talk about how even though it's winter in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere it's summer, and isn't that
if
where
they do another
from? He's from New Zealand, right?
Commercial,
so
something's happening.
But you know what? Because you really asked for it, we're just gonna do it anyways. Winter map is coming back, everyone. Winter 2025 and summer 2025 somewhere else. It's winter everywhere on Summoner's Rift.
Woo! Look how freaking cute! Look at that photo! Santa Boro! Oh my gosh, Baron's got mitts. I haven't watched this in full. Okay, I guess it wasn't a delay. They just wanted to show that.
Welcome back to Worlds 2025, where we are here to see our 7th quarter finalist decided.
It's so cute, Phoenix.
BLG and Top Esports, who is going to join the other 6 teams up in that final 8.
You were looking pretty pleased with yourself.
My husband has been begging me for Winter Map to come back. And when that announcement hit the
you
see how I can count when off the first hand.
He blew up all our group chats. It's taking me a little bit to read because it's so far away. It's freaking fire.
6s and upside down 6s, and that's where those were the funny numbers. And that was about it.
No, because they've been swearing up and down that they can't bring back Winter Map.
Subbing in for
but obviously
BLG.
they can.
The last time Beishwan won on BLG was actually the first game of the series.
Wait, they subbed out the jungler?
In those grand
I gotta go
finals. And since then, we've had him come in at the start of Worlds. Lost that first game against 100 Thieves, and now he's coming in again.
I gotta go pee. I'll be right back.
Couldn't handle the heat from 100 Thieves. Needed this whole time to recover.
100 Thieves incredibly impressive.
There you go.
I love the way they played their style. I thought it was really fun to watch.
Going.
I'm disappointed they got knocked out.
Thank you.
But
But
now
we'll
we
see if,
have to talk about BLG and Top Esports.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see
and see if Quid goes to Carmine Corp.
No, stop that.
Import them. Import them.
No, he's ours.
We got JoJo. We can get
No,
Quid.
Stop it. We'll see
Yo,
how,
Busio, you want to come across?
Stop it. We have to talk about LPL.
Okay.
We have to see how Beishuan is actually going to do here because it is a tremendous amount of pressure on a player, all jokes aside, who hasn't played a lot at Worlds, right? You played that first game of the tournament, and now it's like, all right, bud, time to sub in. By the way, if you lose, your year's over.
Yes.
And that is a lot of pressure. But the other side of that, and people love to talk about this a lot with six-man rosters, is that you have been watching the series alongside the coaches. You are getting a different perspective. You're getting to see the pathing that your opponent is going for. You're trying to look for tendencies that maybe you could actually take advantage of. So we'll see if Beishuan can have a good performance here. If he can really just make it work for this team, because the pressure is on. The #1 seed here, of course, for the LPL. And at risk of going out in Swiss, and especially with the draw that they had, it would be a colossal disappointment to see BLG exiting this early. Of course, the same is true for TES on the other side. You know, the LPL does expect to get all their teams through each time, you know, but generally there's that reputation of someone from the LPL kind of crashing out at Worlds, and no one wants to get painted by that brush. It was supposed to be IG. They're already gone. They had the excuse of, we had to play T1. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for Top Esports as well, going 2-0 up and then losing 3 best-of-3s in a row to get knocked out is pretty devastating. Having only won 1 game out of 5 so far, 6 in fact. I can count that high. This will be the 7th game they've played in those best-of-3s.
I get the thumbs involved in that.
Yes, I do. Yeah. That was very important to me. Sion, Rise, Karma banned away by BLG, who picked the red side. LeBlanc and Bessa and Caitlyn banned away by Top Esports. And it is first pick Kiana for Kanavi. Now, I am of the opinion that Kanavi is one of the best, if not the best Kiana players in the world. The problem with it is you rarely get to see it on him because it is banned away from Top Esports all the damn time. So I love him on this champ. I think he's incredibly good. We've already talked about how strong he is in the early game. He gets himself ahead and then snowballs it to victories for Top Esports.
Yep, and we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to perform.
I'd be down for a Yuumi game.
Kiana. Of course, the Kiana, much less about the early game generally. It is more of one of those junglers that really just kind of power farms and looks to take over in these, you know, post-level 6 fights, generally
I'd be down
speaking.
for a Yuumi game.
But there is another powerhouse on the other side as far as those team fights are concerned. You're looking at the Wukong, you're looking at the Rakan. That is a very strong start to any team fight comp as the 1-2 over on the BLG side. And Karma has been banned out. Nico was already played earlier. So some of these really kind of like lane dominant supports that you might punish a Rakan with are already off the table.
Yeah, you could look for something like the Renata if you wanted, like something just a bit more range. Go for a Corki Renata, look for that range damage.
Alex,
we already have the Corki.
thank you for the 42 months of support. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. The Corki is diabolical. Top Esports lose.
Instead, maybe a little bit of
I hope they
potential
lose.
with the Leona coming out for Hung.
Play something crazy.
Annie has yet to win.
Play
so far
something stupid.
Has not looked
They're gonna
impressive
pick Yanara.
and has been losing all of the games. So definitely can be tough. Leona was kind of like that old school Rakan answer where it's like, oh, Rakan goes down, you know, goes in, you lock him down,
is
point and
like
click CC,
flavorless.
because Rakan has always been so
Zaya.
reliant on being evasive, really. But it doesn't
Corki
feel
is like unseasoned
I don't feel like
chickened,
it's
bro.
really a counter. It's kind
I'm
of maybe
so
just an
for
answer.
real.
I feel like all it tends to do in the 2v2 is really kind of make it passive because the Rakan is not going to look for
That
any
man
sort of
is
hard engage.
boiled
You're just going
chicken.
to maybe give up the push.
Boring
you know,
gameplay,
and fish
bro.
with those
He
gleaming
does
quills,
so
just
much
kinda
damage.
Keep your health high, and it kind of just becomes a bit of a farm fest. I do like when you've already seen Leona Kiana, Zaya early. We saw it got banned out last time, so I think grabbing the Zaya early does make a lot of sense. Of course, you can try
I think
to, like,
I'm more
draft
so
range
just
in
bored
mid
of
lane
seeing
for
the
Cream,
same
but
champs.
let's be honest. When you're pairing alongside
literally
the Kiana,
every
like,
singular
you already are kind of
last
deciding you're
champion
gonna go
in
in.
this
Like, there's
queue
gotta
so
be
far
something to dive alongside
We've
that
seen
Kiana. So
all
I feel like
worlds
regardless
in
of what we see the solo laners be for TES,
series.
the Xayah should be quite effective.
Every single last one.
And Cassia, the next two bans, see that mid lane pool being
It's so
both teams have
boring.
their junglers and their bot side of the map already locked up.
Where's
so
the innovation?
Top and mid is where we are likely to be. Wouldn't be
Maybe
surprised
they're
if we
saving
get
all the
counter
fun
the
picks
top
for
side here
later
with
in the
Knight picking
games.
something blind, but
Or like
you
later
can, of
in
course, do it the
the-
other way. Say, oh, well, we think Knight can dominate
in the
Creed more than
bracket.
Bing can dominate 369, who's been having a pretty good series so far.
I would
Imagine
tend
no
to agree
Fearless.
with the Knight getting the
I'd
counter pick. I feel like he's been
lose
by
my
far their
mind.
best player at Worlds. I don't think it's even remotely close. So to me, if I'm going to go all in on one player,
I don't know how
it's
we
gotta be Knight.
survived
Even in the
Worlds
losses, I feel like he
previously
has
with
been
no
the guy that is
Fearless.
the hope for the team.
Like,
so
I really don't know
I
how
really
we
would
did
like
it.
to see them just index into him. I also feel like, let's be honest, what top lane matchups are even that abusive anymore? Like anything where you pick an extreme counter, you just get lane swept on.
It's very true. Yeah, because in the past you could look for something like the Smolder and say, I'm just going to stack up on you, but then you're playing AD
Ignite
carry.
Quinn, now you're laning against another AD carry, and you're like, you know, it's just like the counter picks in top lane are very uninspiring at Worlds, thanks to lane swaps. So I feel like it's not an issue whatsoever. Galio is kind of interesting here. So Galio, of course, could go mid or top. Does follow up
He could
really,
also
really
go
well
support,
on the
but
Wukong
I guess
as well
there's
as
a Rakan.
We don't know what the matchups are going to be. I mean, if it's Mordekaiser, I think that you're probably just going to have to be sending it mid. I don't think you're really going to be wanting to play into that matchup. It does feel pretty rough. The other thing is, I mean, you can potentially pick two champions that are pretty good into it, but then you do risk getting really blasted by a counter, because one of the things that pros do sometimes like, if you're thinking about playing in mid lane, is things like Smolder, like you actually called back to, is just kind of free stacking off of it. But if you go Smolder, and then they move it top, and then you're playing into, you know, a Knight LeBlanc or something like that, then it's probably go home fast. So I don't think you're going to do that. I think you are just going to take this Mordekaiser here, assume that it's going to be going top, and then probably go for a more standard mid lane pick.
I mean, Cream could still look towards his Annie, although I wasn't too impressed. He does have a 66% win rate on it across the LPL summer season.
Are they going to do this Smolder I was talking about? Wow, they are.
That's the Smolder, yeah.
So
okay.
this is, I think, a lot more risky, but maybe their read is
Ben
that
Jax?
there's no way that Ben's going to play it, right? You know, if that's your
Ben
read,
Camille is fire, though.
then hey, you're going to be able to get this mid lane matchup. Ben,
Ben
though, of
is
course,
so good
does
on
get
Camille.
his choice of the counter. Jax is his
Ben
iconic
Jax.
pick. It is the matchup that I definitely think can outscale and eventually start to win out against that Mordekaiser. But I also just kind of like the Mordekaiser in isolation when you're thinking about the team fight, because there's a lot of different ways you can actually have success with this. You know, Wukong goes in to throw down the Cyclone. As Wukong's engaging, Mordekaiser just ults it, takes it out of that fight, you know, kind of remove the ult from the fight. Similar things can happen to the Jax. Jax hops in with Counter-Strike, ready to get in on your backline. Ulted, taken away.
Rakan, Galio. If you're in the lane with the Galio and he's trying to hero his entrance in, you chuck that Death Realm on him and he's unable to join up with the rest of his team. I love it. I think it's a really solid pick. It's whether or not it can be as effective as you want, because you do need those quick trigger reflexes if you're going to stop people finding the true engages in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be so interesting because it does feel like there's a lot of lane-focused picks,
a lot of late game
over on
insurance.
one side. You know, when you're looking at the TES comp, you have these things that are supposed to be answers. They're kind of trying to put Knight in a difficult situation here with the Smolder, which I do really like in isolation, but then you have Smolder and Corki paired with this Kiana. That kind of feels like you're a bit of two different minds. Of course, Corki can still poke, and Smolder can like ult over the top on an engage. It's not like it can't work at all, but it does feel a little bit disjointed to me. That wouldn't be like, if you knew this was your other four, you wouldn't have picked Kiana, I don't think, right?
I agree.
And so they are sacrificing something as far as how cohesive the comp is to focus on the lane matchups.
Played
so
Smolder
now
earlier.
you have to get something out of the lane matchups, in my opinion. Otherwise, you look over at the other side, and Knight may not be on a hard carry, but the comp just is so easy to see what they're going to do.
So nice front to back as well. With the one-bow combo, you go in, you knock out the backline, Hero's Entrance on top of it, Counter-Strike on top of it, Quickness on top of it, Featherstorm as well if the Xayah ever gets jumped on. Like, BLG's comp is stock standard. Top esports comp is, maybe we can burst a guy and kill them and win the lanes, you know?
Yeah, and also, it's not like you just have to, but we have to get through everyone to get on the Corki. No, you can go on the Kiana, you can go on the Corki, you can go on the Smolder. You can really just like press your buttons, any of them.
If we were watching the T1 series right now, bro, I'd be like,
all right,
guys.
There's a lot of power there over on the BLG side.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
We'll see, can TES really
At
create
the
some
immediate
differences here?
conclusion of this series.
I also feel like, though Smolder, of course, you know, you do still have a lot of power as far as the scaling. It's pushed pretty far back, and the scaling is nowhere near. I think people still have not adjusted to like the nerfs that happened forever ago, where, you used to be able to actually increase the threshold for execution. Now it just increases the true damage burn. It doesn't actually ever go up as far as the threshold for the execution. And so I don't think it's just like auto-win late game like people used to talk about it. But of course, especially if you go through some of the more aggressive builds, like if you go Essence, Reaver, Rapid Fire, IE, when you're on 3 items and you're on 225, you just press Q every time Rapid Fire is up and you are poking them down. You become a real threat and you can force bad engages by putting on that pressure.
I see I have a chocolate or...
For the moment, we don't see any of those major lane swaps coming out from either team. Both the junglers starting on the bottom side of the map as they'll work their way towards the top side. Do have a 100% win rate on red side this series.
Yes, so whoever loses today goes home. So FlyQuest, since they lost earlier, they go home.
29 on this pick. Rakana's just been
Then
ubiquitous
whoever
with great
loses
support
this
over the last few years.
goes
The
home.
heal and the Gleaming Quill have to be used. Hung and JackieLove getting the early push. A good phosphorus bomb at the end there from JackieLove to get Elk down below half HP.
Yeah, Phos Bomb at level 1 is just Exalt. That thing you cannot get hit by. That feels like it just absolutely cooks you. So now On going to be trying to hit some of these Qs. Hopefully we'll be able to help heal up Elk to just keep them comfortable in this lane. Of course, you touched on Rakan, a bin on his Jack 68-29 career, and 369. Known for his Mordekaiser as well, 17-4 on the pick.
Yeah, last played it in the grand finals against Bindo on Kasante and went 2-7-1, losing that game. So in recent memory, 369.
He was calibrating.
Oh yeah, sure, that was it. Yeah, it's just I just need one game in a month and a half before we meet again at Worlds, which is a randomized draw.
Yeah. You're baiting him into a false sense of security.
That's smart.
Run it down in the LPL finals to knock him out in Swiss of Worlds. you gotta think a couple steps ahead here, Medic.
Yeah, I'm not as giga-brained as 369 apparently.
Well, that much is clear.
Good damage though coming out from the top esports spot lane. JackieLove with that level 3 first. Cream just stacking up. And you get to that 225 is the mark you really want to look for the Smolder.
But honestly, like, I play a lot of solo lane Smolder. I think it's a lot of fun. To me, it's like, obviously the 225 is the goal, but one of the reasons that you get so much faster into these melee matchups is
Barrier coming out from JackieLove. Elk looking for the Blade Call, doesn't quite land the root onto JackieLove, but does onto Hung.
But it's just the idea that each breakpoint actually accelerates the next breakpoint so much, right? Once you get 25, all of a sudden you're AoE stacking off all their minions, but he can be in trouble.
Taunt onto Creamer, that's splash away. Beishwan looking for the chase.
Okay, flash
slow,
from
not
both
enough.
jungle
Flash for flash exchange there
Smolder.
between Beishwan and Cream.
Yeah, Beishwan, thought he might have had enough damage, didn't have the calculation correct there. As it's 369 TPing down. This is what they did in the Lucian game as well to kind of bail out, Jackie and give him this preferential lane setup. But that is, a flash kind of for nothing from Beishwan because he had already gotten the flash out of the Smolder, couldn't finish off Cream. But once you get to 25, you start AoE stacking all the minions so fast. Then that really speeds you up towards the 125. And once you have 125, it's kind of unavoidable because you're just getting splashed through the minions. Yeah. Anytime you go for any last hit, he doesn't have to queue you anymore. He's just queuing the wave, and you're going to get stacked on. So every little bit you get really accelerates that next breakpoint, and 369 being very annoying with that.
Really nice timing as well, because Bin has already TP'd down towards the bottom side, just so he's collecting this wave, which means there's going to be no one on the top
I want
side
some
for a
sweets
while.
so bad, but I'm on a diet. What should I do?
Solo
Eat
play
fruit.
could go for a little bit of vision. This wave, it is a cannon wave. You're going to lose one minion, probably the cannon, and another, maybe
Fruit
even
is
4 minions
sweet,
off this
but
wave.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. He's even going to Valk the wave to be able to get a fast reset off the back of this if he wants. So not only do you actually get the wave, you deny the cannon, you get the plate. So like that right there is almost a kill worth of gold that you just earned for your team. So it's one of these things that doesn't seem immediately obvious, but that's 300 gold ahead now for JackieLove, and I think that's often earned by 369. Like, he deserves credit for that.
He did a huge job in that bot side. It's a whole level of experience lead as well for JackieLove over Elk as Hung and Kanavi here team up to try and steal away these Razor Beaks. You talked about the power farming of the Kiana. If you can get into that enemy jungle and take away some of these camps, it just gets you scaled up that much more quickly. Kanavi running the first strike here on the Kiana, something he loves to do for that extra gold, for that extra acceleration towards his lethality items. Profane Hydra often when we look first.
Yep, obviously is something that's going to help accelerate, but also the upfront burst. So much of your damage comes out during that first strike window, so it's not just about the gold. It really is a powerful damage rune later on in the game where that percentage damage amp can mean quite a lot when all of a sudden your combo is doing 1,000, 2,000 damage. A couple of percent is significant. So definitely is a powerful rune there. Cream, of course, picked up a call on that first base, so he is just scaling, looking to play this out.
playing a dragon and scaling. Good one as well.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not toothless
That one
at
was
all
for
in that
you.
mid lane right now.
It's off to a smoldering start, if you will.
Good one, good one. Bin lands the
Wow,
stun on the
he's
369.
still
Not really
going.
much going to happen down towards this bottom side goal, basically even between the two teams in the early game. There is a Drake up. We saw a ping coming out on it from BLG. We'll see if H1 decides that is his first objective. Has push in the bot side. Won't be able to get it in mid because there's a Smolder on the other side. On's going to land a knock up here into the Blade Caller. The damage on Jackalov is massive. Flash shield of Daybreak from Hong into the Eclipse, just trying to walk his way away. Saves his AD carry's life, but Jackalov now sitting at 200 HP. Does have Kanavi coming across, and Cream could
He's level 6.
Flap his way in as well. As you say, Elk not yet level 6. Doesn't have that Feather Storm. Kanavi's going to cut the wave. Cream wants to call in a bit of assistance. Has Mom on the end of a telephone. Meanwhile, Knight moving across with that Hero's Entrance. Drake secure for base one. Now Top Esports know they have a man advantage, a numbers advantage. Here's the Hero's Entrance. Supreme Desire talent flashed away by Elk, and Hung is hung out to dry underneath the tower. Good double torn as well. They'll look for Kanavi next. He's down. Knight makes them kneel, but the turnaround from Cream is huge. On jumps in the Gleaming Quill. Elk will fall. Cream takes a tower shot. The Winds of War not enough to blow him over. Top Esports initiate the dive, lose a 2-for-1 and lose a Drake.
That's no Knight. That man is a king. Moves up to the top side to turn it around. But honestly, so bold from TES to go for the dive, knowing that he was coming. He walked across vision. They knew that Galio was going to be there. And it felt like they kind of overestimated how quickly they would be able to get this kill.
All of these
BLG's
dives,
bot
I
lane
think,
delayed
are
it
a
for
little bit
so
too cocky.
long. Hong goes in. They started off, with the Smolder up, but the Galio ult is there at the very beginning, and you can only get in onto the Rakan. He kites it out really, really well. Then Knight flashes forward. Elk is there to follow it up. They do get some kills back here. And you have to remember, Wukong was taking the dragon in the meanwhile, was stealing the enemy camps in the meanwhile. So it's not an even number play.
True.
Even though it didn't look like that bad, it's everything that's happening on the other side of the map that really makes it hurt. And I just kind of am shocked that TES fully committed to it.
Top Esports now with 5 players up towards this Grubs. Top Esports got one. Bin jumps in with the counter-strike, does get the stun onto Hong, on down to half HP, flash away from Bin, death grip onto base one. They're going to be able to get a kill at the feet of Strength Warfare. In fact, goes over to BLG, they look for the Grub as well. In the end, a 2-for-1 exchange in the Grubs. Top Esports have lost a man, and Jackalov has to Valk across the wall. It will be a 1-for-0 exchange in favor of BLG.
And look at Knight, early Sork boots on the Galio. This man wants to get aggressive. And when a team on the other side has so many squishy members, you can do a lot of damage on this Galio. We often see kind of like tanky AP or one AP item, into full tank. So we'll see exactly where he wants to go with this build. But Knight is definitely not afraid to go full glass cannon if he thinks it is appropriate.
He's the guy that builds Darkseal into Medjai's at every opportunity, right? This guy knows exactly how much damage you can put out on every champion. At the moment, the only lead for Top Esports is down on Jackalov in that bot lane. 120 gold, his advantage, but BLG ticking over to about 300, 400 gold in totality as their lead. H1 just going to be able to farm up his own jungle as Hong looks for a little bit of vision. It's much ado about nothing. You have to feel just trying to track people. No neutrals to fight over. No camps on this top side to fight over. They might look for a dive onto Bin, who has no flash. No Grandmaster's Might for him either. The plate's going to go over to 369. Hex flash forward from Hong. Bin needs to find a way to escape. He blocks the shield of Daybreak with the counter-strike. Perfectly played from Bin. Now needs to run away. Zenith Blade tickles his toes, but doesn't quite connect.
But
I mean, beautifully timed by Bin, but I feel like as TES, you're the team that has time on the dive. You don't need to force. You just need to walk up, stand on his head as Leona, and wait till he presses E. Then once it's down, the dive is free, right? So you have to play around that counter-strike. Instead, he kind of played that dangerous game where it is a bit of a flip. Bin anticipates it perfectly, and now it's Jackalov under pressure on his bot side. He's looking like he's going to be the one getting dove.
H1 has the Cyclone now. They should just go for him straight away, but with the teleport coming out, they decide against it. Hong got that
so far,
off the
like we're on night 5, and this is the hardest night.
Should be just BLG backing away.
Cream now, farming quite well, and also over 100 stacks. You're already at 10 minutes, so he is at a really good pace. Of course, this does generally just accelerate again as you get further and further on into the game. Once you hit SM Reaver, you are just trading infinitely. Been nice little trade, but Cream still getting some more stacks and should be A-okay with Kanavi here to cover.
Interesting to see Knight's the one who's matching into that Mordekaiser on the top side. Bin He's actually going to match into the Smolder.
I think the idea is just that you don't want the Smolder getting free stacks off of Knight, and he's going to have less threat. You know, that's at least kind of my read on it right now. So you're sacrificing Knight's lane, but trying to really keep down Cream. I think that's probably their main concern is like, all right, how does the other team win? Maybe it's Smolder getting super accelerated. And Cream does have his Essence Reaver now, still
some days
working
feel a
away
bit tough, no?
on that 125, but he's going to be there very, very
Day
quickly.
is definitely a tough day.
He is. For the moment, we have a brief second before we get into what is likely to be the next fight. Drake coming up. It's an alternator for BLG, for Knight.
I think 3 best of 3s in one day is really tough. But like, if you think about it, they're starting these games like in the AM for China.
Base one going in with the Cyclone. There's the hero's entrance. Supreme display of talent. The flash used by Kanavi to get away. But Cream the next target. Cyclone secondary going to get the knock. And Winds of War not enough again.
For China.
Smolder.
Which is like
through the Winds
also
of War
tough.
a couple of times in a row now. Jackie Love covering mid as On comes across. The Drake
there
is
really
up for
is no
BLG,
way
and they might
to
just walk
get
base one
a
around the corner
good-
to go and get it.
At the end of the day, it's a trade of flashes for the junglers, trade of ults, and then you also got Knight's ult,
time.
and you got a really nice chunk of HP down onto Cream. So they're going to try to utilize that to turn it into the Dragon. Because cooldowns-wise, they did lose out, but HP-wise, they definitely won, and that is going to put them on a 2-0 Dragon lead here, which is starting to feel a little bit like Game 1, you know, when you're starting to think back. It's been a lot about these Dragon stacking games, you know, control, forcing your opponents to take these fights they're not necessarily ready for. And they're going to see if second try works better here against Bin.
Yeah, no teleports to support
I'm
Bin here.
struggling to stay
On
awake
does
on
have
this
the quickness
lovely
and he's on
night.
his way across. Kanavi caught out. There's the counter-strike solar flare. On coming in, gets the quickness down, but Bin's already dead. Hung has to flash away. Meanwhile, underneath the tower, 369 is chasing on out, obliterates him. Jackie with the flash autos enough. It's 2 for naught for TS.
Nicely done there by TES. This time they make it work, and not only do they kill Bin, they're going to deny a lot of CS. They're going to knock down this tower very likely as well. Try to play for this first turret, and they kill off on Elk. Can't even get there. So a lot of resources committed to this side. You can see Cream playing very defensive down on the bot side. Knows he is going to be on his own. So he's just sitting in that Triburst, making sure that the Wukong couldn't come in behind him. And now a lot of question mark pings over by that red buff, but it is already gone. We can see this dive one more time. This time, 369 and Kanavi do a pretty good job of kind of softening him up before they really fully commit into the dive. He's already missing a third of his HP. Kanavi goes in, really big chunk of damage, even though the Zenith Blade misses, even though the Shield of Daybreak is counter-struck once more. Hung can flash out, and the extra members do allow them to finish off. Jackie does have to spend his flash, so does 369, but they secure the kills, they get the tower, and as a result, it is going to come down to these objectives for feats because BLG already won the feat of warfare. They're only one of these objectives off, whereas TES would need to get the next 2.
Herald up in 50 seconds. That would be the first
Like,
point
what
of
would be
call
the best
for both of
time
these
for
teams. 2,000 gold
Worlds
lead now, though, for top
to
esports,
do
blue across the
Worlds
board.
so that
Down on the bottom of that scoreboard
every
and
time
369.
zone
Perhaps that game in Grand Finals was just
enjoy
the
it.
bait. Set him up. Now has the Riftmaker 1-0-1 on this Mordekaiser, forcing Bin away.
And we did get the Rocket Bell here for Knight, so definitely looking for a very aggressive option, whether or not he'll go into just like Zhonya's, kind of tanky AP from here, or if he'll go into more traditional tank. I feel like if you're going Proto Belt, you're probably just going Zhonya's second, and you're just really putting that upfront damage in, which can be quite a lot. Also, like that On did go for the McHale's here. I do feel like when you look over, it's Hong and then no one for the engage. So if you're just fishing with that Leona ult, and you can just be able to have cleanse on your Xayah plus that McHale's.
The quickness follow-up, Supreme Display is hand coming out, but the counter-strike from Bin is enough to get one. They'll look for Hung as the second. Knight teleports in, Hung falls 2 quick kills for BLG. The Rift held there for them. That will be feats.
Nicely done by
BLG.
Really quick play.
So
nets them a couple kills
it's
and
11
gets them
a.m.
feats, as you said. And even though they are down in gold, I'm really favoring their position here once again. I feel like they're in a good spot.
Siri.
Feats is going to be a decent amount of combat power. They're going to get the Herald, which is likely going to result in a tower. But Cream is getting farmed here.
Just
continuing to try to scale up.
China.
163 stacks right now. Bin going to be looking for him, though.
Triforce, Cream does have the flash and has that flap. Counter-strike out. Cream's going to get stunned. Grandmaster's might coming. Where you going, Cream? Back to your teammate. Mom there for a bit of a heal, but Bin slapping him as he gets the solo kill. 369 here to join Elk, trying to bolster the defenses of Bin as they get another Counter-strike down on dashing around. Bin knows he's going to die. He's in the death realm, and 369 will hit him across the face with a mace to even it out 1-for-1.
Still great play from Bin. The red buff, I believe, finishing off Cream there. and you get the flash off the Smolder, which is critical.
Them starting at one is kind of
because
diabolical.
all of top esports were dragged down towards that bottom side to try and react. That will even out a bit of this gold deficit that BLG found themselves in.
At like
it's down to 1K from 11. About 2K a minute ago.
Yep, really good moves here. Now you're just going to use the
if they
escape
started
barrel,
11
try to drive it down
in
towards
China,
top. It will be finished off there by Kanavi. But you can
that
see
means
Elk
they're
already pushing in
starting
towards that tower. Assist pings
in the
from
AM
TS,
for-
and they want to
for
try
Europe.
to defend it, but feels like they're
And that
probably just
means
too
they're
late
starting
already.
like
BLG members are
earlier
hovering.
PM
Hong
for
looking
US
for
and
Knight, who has
end
to flash,
earlier
despite the fact that 369 was coming
in
across.
US.
His jungler and his top laner are all
Because
the
they're
way
going
on
to end at...
On here, can grand entrance and make a quick exit with the battle dance.
They got all
They
five
could
down here,
likely
so TS
end at
needs to get
9
something
PM
because
China time.
Bin is going to be the inevitable problem. There's no TP, so no one can answer Bin.
Oh, On gets the flank onto Cream here. Elk looking for the damage. Death Grip not going to connect. Solar Player down, lands the stun onto On, but
Okay,
not
I think
really the target
5
that you want. He
a.m.
still has
Europe
the
time
quickness.
is
Meanwhile,
okay.
Top Esports continues
I
to
don't.
push
I
in.
think 4
The
a.m.
tier
is a
1 on
bit
the bot
tough.
side. Redemption being used. Supreme Disciple does catch onto Elk,
But they
cleanses,
start at
and
4
Feather
a.m.
storms away. The charm
PST
from On
right now.
under the tower means
Holy freaking moly,
absolute
what the
destruction
fricky?
for BLG. They find 2. They land a taunt on 369 as well. The tower still stands, but 369 tanks it up. In the end, a 3-for-2 exchange, but Bin continues to push in a side lane.
Yeah, Bin wasn't even there. It was a 5v3 for a while, and then the Wukong arrives. It's still a 4v5. Meanwhile, Bin is just getting so much gold up on that top side. TES kind of painted themselves into a corner. They all moved down towards bot to try to prevent Elk from taking that tower, and then they realized, all right, we've got 5 members here. We've got no TPs. We need to force, but there's no objective, so it had to be a dive. And it's BLG, again, first towards this dragon. 369 is in the area. We'll see if they can contest. You really don't want to give up Soul Point here.
Yeah, you've got to try and fight it, but Bin comes in with a counter-strike. Now 369 isolated. Kanavi's going to try and jump across this wall, puts down the control wall for a little bit of vision, but On goes in with the grand entrance, looking for that knock-up, hits the Gleaming Quill. Kanavi jumps in, Kanavi gets it, steals it, pays for it with his life, but he delays the soul, and that is what Top Esports needed from him.
Yeah, that is well worth it for Kanavi. I think that is a massive steal from him. Cloud Soul is insanely strong, especially for a lot of these champions in particular. You cannot be giving that over.
Next year,
Ong is going to have to spend the ulti just to try to get away here from Knight, who is going towards that zone as I expected. Has the Seekers ready, so that big playmaking tool. Now all of a sudden, Base One or Bin throw themselves in the back line. Galio comes over the top, can do so much upfront damage, then go into the Seekers and really create this zone of control, buy the space for Elk to do his work.
Cyclone used by Base 1 there just to make sure that he walks away from 369 safely. Talked about the ability for Kanavi to power farm.
I just think PST is the worst time zone.
Drake loses his entire bot side jungle. It's a great steal from him. Waits out the grand entrance,
This
uses
is my official announcement.
audacity to jump across the wall, and then manages to land a smite. But after you go in there, you know you're done for.
Yeah, absolutely going to be giving your life, but at least he didn't have to spend his flash or anything like that. And just goes in, trades his life for the one dragon. Still in a really difficult position. BLG, I feel like, are definitely the ones in control here.
Yeah,
but there is playmaking, and there is hope because you've delayed that soul. You've bought time. Cream is going to have 225 by the time you fight Dragon next, so maybe you can take a real fight then. He has gone for Shojin, which is kind of more that, like, a little bit bruisery or a little bit more tanky. Of course, if you can continually get out spells, it starts to stack up, works pretty nicely. Usually when people go Shojin, they still want rapid fire, which doesn't mean your IE is super delayed, and your kind of consistent damage is a lot lower as a result, but it is a faster spike than the IE rapid fire style build, so Cream's still going to be really, really strong. Next wave, he has that 225. And then that really does, once you get the rapid fire, put a lot of pressure on your opponents because you kind of just start having your team stand around you. You walk up, every time rapid fire is there, you cue someone, splash through the team. Exactly. And you start to really rot them down. You force them to look for engages, and TS are trying to do just that. I wonder if they had vision of this Wukong recall. Because no one's here.
Teleport. He's going to TP up towards the top side,
They're
as is Knight. Down to 10,000 HP, but Tommy's going to back away from it for now. Pull it up towards this top side. Cream standing on that front line. It's hit 224, needs one more. Gets it with 225. Now has that burn. The Articon down to 3,000. On, looking for the quickness. Doesn't land it on anyone. Has to dive onto 369. The Hero's Entrance coming out as Kanavi secures the Articon. 369 standing in the middle of them all. Elk with a Feather Storm trying to pull back with the Blade Caller. Base one almost down. 369 falls first, but Cream is flapping his way onto the backline. Has to flash away. Bin dives forward with a flash of his own into the pit. But Top Esports are coming out on top. In the end, though, Bin finds Cream, now it's all on Jackie! The bot lane's the only ones alive! Top Esports will claim the fight as they get the Anaconda, but it was goddamn even through it all.
It was an insane fight here. And 369 to me was a real hero. Look at this. He forces out the Galley Wall, then goes into an ult of his own, completely immuning it, negating that entire thing by himself. And look at the space he's creating. We talked about their lack of frontline. 369 says, you shouldn't have counted me out. And then Cream just goes all the way in, but this stasis from Knight, plus the CC means Bin can flash in and finish him off. And then Bin very nearly had the 1v2. Jackie had to flash in the pit just to help him there, as Elk and On are winning out on the other side. This is a game of inches. Absolutely insane fight there.
I mean, it's also Hung having the time to hex splash across the wall when you have a Blade Caller and a Grand Entrance from the Xayah and Rakan that had been used. Couldn't get the knock up onto him. 500 gold the difference between the two teams. A Cloud Drake and an Artican for Top Esports with 2 grubs. A Mountain and an Infernal, and the Feats of Warfare for BLG. A 12 petal difference equates to about 700 gold or so. Nothing too consequential yet for Top Esports.
Yep, and we saw that Seeker's being used, but no problem, because Knight has the Zhonya's. He bought it right after that fight, so it is going to be up and available, but definitely the danger of using a defensive ult on 369. You really can't go for that because he'll just press R of his own. He's going to avoid that completely. You kind of want to be using it aggressively, you know, with Honor Beishuan onto Cream or Jackie. That's really what they are looking for here. So I didn't love the way that BLG played it out, but still, it's going to be about this next Dragon fight here. TES taking position in the river, pushing up mid lane first, clearing out these wards now, and they are going to be pretty tough to walk into.
It's what Top Esports do so well. Their objective control, their setup, some of the best in the LPL. We saw it at the Artican, pulling BLG to have to force those double TPs. 369 looking for the damage onto Beishuan, but he's going to pop the decoy to get away. Death Grip out as well. Won't find its connection. BLG playing for this mid lane wave. Jackie Love coming across towards Knight, puts down the Gatling gun and hits a few autos. Cream still stacking up 250 now on that passive. Bin trying to clear out a bit of control, but can't get rid of that control ward. They do still have a ward in the pit. BLG pushing further forward here, looking for as many flank positions as possible.
Yeah, neither team having the confidence to start it up. Knight now getting very chunked.
Beishuan just has to flash away. Hung flashes for the Solar Flare. Nimbus strike from Beishuan onto the minion wave, arriving just in time to save his life. On dashes from the Zenith Blade, but you feel it's starting to swing. Top Esports, they're finding that rot damage, that poke damage, and it's BLG who are being pulled all ways to Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's earned them the Dragon. You can see double recalls coming through. Knight even gets interrupted. He could be in some trouble, but will be able to jump out to safety. Now for sure, they should be starting this off. They will have time for the Wukong to maybe get back in the area, but Knight has no TP. I don't think there's any real reason to try to contest this, but Bin is still sitting in a dangerous position, and maybe they're going to try to look for something afterwards. Bin positioning to try to maybe catch Cream as he does walk down.
I like it because you also have Beishuan coming in from the top side here. There's the TP, they go into Cream. Cyclone down, Bin can't get in range for the counter-strike. Cream's going to flap his way across the wall. Supreme display of talent, doesn't find anyone. Mom's going to heal him up, now his outfits as Cream up towards the top side. 369 on Beishuan in the death realm. Will get him, El's going to get one. 1-for-1 exchange so far as Bin dives onto the backline. Hung trying to retreat from Knight, but 369's there to help him out. Knight's going to flash into the pit. Kanavi caught out by Bin and on no range for them, but the counter-strike just short. Kanavi, can he escape? Knight has that flank. His team has given up the ghost on him. He tries to dive onto Elk, but for it, he just dies. A 2-for-1 for BLG, but how close are these fights?
They are really crazy. These fights are so intense. Bin just waiting around for so long, was not on vision. They go for this engage onto Cream, but Cream honestly has a really great positioning, flaps over the wall, avoiding pretty much everyone except for the flanking Elk. Xayah comes in, great pullback on the Feathers field to finish him off, but at the same time, 369 has already beat down your Wukong, taking him out. And Jackie Love, he's the backup AD carry. He's still alive and still firing. And it does mean Kanavi is kind of hung out to dry, but it is still the Dragon going to TES. Another close fight. The gold remains practically dead even.
We are just in for such a treat here. This final game between two of the best teams the LPL has to offer is really delivering.
And you're really seeing part of what Top Esports are trying to do in some of these fights, which is pull them around, try and separate them. Because we talked about it in draft, they don't have this traditional front to back, we stand behind an all and walk forward and let our Smolder do all the work. You've got Maud putting someone in the death realm, you've got Leona looking for a stun on the other side, you've got Corki flying across, Kanavi trying to stun someone up. Whereas BLG haven't quite found that more traditional front to back. You don't just have the Wukong engage into a hero's entrance, which is what you want, and you have to give credit for Top Esports for not allowing that.
They're surrounding him.
Looking for it now. On's going to get caught up towards the top side, dashes away, has that Gleaming Quill, TP in, as well as Bin goes in for the counter strike. He lands it onto Kanavi. Super Green decided Talon's going to get him stunned. The Cyclone from Base 1. Jackie Love's already killed off on. And Top Esports just immediately turn it around. Base 1 trying to swing around with a Cyclone, but it's a Tempest for BLG.
Oh my
now
gosh,
2
but
for
then
2.
they
Elk
come
on the back,
back.
but Knight gets caught in the Justice
And then
punch.
somebody gets
Elk
caught.
pushes,
And then Elk
finds the
pops the
roof,
frick
finds the
off.
Feather Storm.
What
Jackie
is
answers.
happening?
Jackie flashes in.
Oh my
Jackie
gosh.
for Top Esports.
What in the Cloud Fiesta just happened?
Jackie Love finds the moment here in the mid lane. Bin goes for the massive engage.
Oh my gosh,
Look to try to find a
Jackie,
multi-man
bro.
counter-strike here, but TES are able to hold on here.
What
There's just
the
too many threats, it
fricky?
feels like, on TES. Look at Bin flashing forward into the midst of everyone, getting that counter-strike down, but he's pushed back. And Jackie and
Dude,
Cream,
it was
they are
so
free
back and
firing.
forth.
And from here, it looks like it is absolutely cooked for BLG until Elk finds an incredible fight, knocking down multiple members, and then here on the side, goes forward, flashes for the pullback onto Cream, knocks down the Smolder, but Jackie still has resources. Barrier there, flash forward, knocks them both down, earns TES the Baron, and the first significant lead. And look at the heartbreak there on the faces of the BLG members. Shadow distraught as his team loses what could be the game-deciding fight.
It really could. The Baron secured for Top Esports.
Dude,
Hung, Jackie Love, and Kanavi have it. I'm not sure if 369, yes, he did,
crazy.
came up in time
Like, it woke
to take
me up
it
a
to
little
now with
bit.
the Red Bull Baron Power Play 2K.
Like, that's the type
already
of excitement I
by
need,
Top
bro.
Esports. Looking for vengeance from the LPL Finals, where they went down in 5-2-3 for BLG.
Jackie Love.
The story's the same.
He's trying to win it
the
for the
book has been
boys.
written. The engagers, if you find them onto
Imagine
this backline,
there's a series
it does
after
work.
this.
You have a cycle, you counter-strike, hero's entrance, quickness, you have all of these tools. But
I
Top
honestly
Esports'
would
ability
rather
to
them
split,
just play that
ability
one
to
series
scatter
on
when
a
that
different
engage
day.
comes out has been sublime so
Like
far.
one
And I
best
give
of
so much
three
credit
on
to Kanavi,
Sunday.
369, and Hong who are
Like,
making
I
that
would
job
so
so
be
hard.
okay with
They're
that.
saying, yeah, you want to engage? I am walking into you. I am hitting you as you are trying to get close to my carries. You cannot just walk up for free and flash on them. You will take damage. You will get punished. And if you try to go for that engage and you fail, even just by a pixel, Cream and Jackie will make you pay for it. They are just destroying them at this point, as the third item is through for both of them. Now that rapid fire I talked about is there. The game is 10 times easier to play, it feels like, as Smolder. Once you have that third item, you get the rapid fire, you are just laughing at him.
Take a breath, we'll
I
take
need
a
to
moment.
get up, but I think
Cloud
I'm
Drake's up,
stuck.
will only be third for Top Esports. No soul for them yet, but I'm pretty sure they're happy with the extra movement speed they're getting out of these 3 clouds. The ability just to dodge and dip around the fight. And now they will be on Soul Point. 4,000 gold their lead for BLG. A 2024 that was so close but so far. 2 finals. Weren't quite able to take it over the finish line. Now a 25 that has been up and down, to say the least. Managing to pick up the win in the summer finals, but being eliminated before even making it to quarters here in China, in your home country, will be a disappointment. Hung. Zenith play dodged away with the battle dance. On takes a super scorcher breath back into the rest of his team.
I mean, especially when you're looking at the strength of schedule for them. They played 100 Thieves, Fnatic, G2, and then VKS.
Yeah.
People would think that is easily 3 wins and you're out.
Base 1 goes in. Hung, the target hero's entrance coming out. Hung was ready to flash away. Cream trying to put the damage down. On tries to get in with the engage. Solar Flare cleansed away by Elk. But look at how low BLG already are. Elk is going to be able to retreat, but now Top Esports continue to push in. 369 looks for the flash death grip, doesn't get it through the decoy. Top Esports on the advance.
Yeah, 369 short change to E there, misposition on his cursor, so it didn't actually fully extend, but it doesn't matter. They take the tier 2. They're going to crack the inhibitor towers here.
You can see assist pings are deep. They're going to try to look for a TP play here. Bin's trying to find an angle.
Notice Hung doesn't have the TP, the flash. Counter-strike out, Bin gets exhausted immediately. Knight looks for that flank. Bin with a stopwatch, ongoing in, grand entrance. Meanwhile on the top side, 369 the target for Elk. Hung's already down, Bin looking for a re-engage, dives in onto Jackie Love, that's 2! Bin's doing it, Knight flashes away, but Kanavi dives in. On with a battle dance, the counter-strike, but Bin will get
so
1!
freaking back and
369 down,
oh my
it's
gosh,
a triple for
kill.
Bin! He's looking for
oh
more!
my gosh,
Make
quadra?
it 4 for BLG! Somehow
oh,
they
wasn't
hold on!
BLG hold the line against the odds here!
Happening?
It looked like TES was about to wrap it up, but BLG saying no. You will go no further. They're able to find the angle here. Hung was already low. Bin just forces the issue, goes straight in. Beishwan as well as Almer threatening Jackie as Knight TP'd in. And look at Elk over the wall the whole time. Elk has such beautiful positioning. 369 only finds the ult onto a Wukong, and he can't even hit him during it. He's over the wall. Elk is untouched. The solo laner's getting so much work done here for BLG.
Wait, that was
as Elk gets
crazy.
pulled in, but flashes back. Bin and Beishwan just
that?
bouncing
made, like,
back and forth, and
higher.
then that feather pull catches the smolder, knocks him down, and BLG, they're not dead yet.
I was having Bin on Suning flashbacks. I had that Fiora Penta in my head right there. When you need him, Bin stands up. He's had a quiet world so far. It's been Knight who's put the team on his back, but now Bin with a quadra, 3k gold lead for him, doesn't matter too much. Has the Frozen Heart, 3 items on Beishwan, Knight at 2.
You can see Jackie has that shield bow, so going to be even harder to knock down. Critically Cream, no IE yet. Really wants to get towards that. And Elk has just been playing stellar in these team fights. He is on 4 full items, has the Infinity Edge. And he's going to have to do so much of the heavy lifting. He is the consistent damage for the team. It's up to the others to create space, but he must capitalize on those opportunities. And if he mispositions, he's going to be instantly dead against a comp with this many threats. But look at BLG. Threatening a potential flank. If TS move up here, they might just go.
The strike, they dive in immediately. Hero's Entrance coming out as well. Kanavi able to flash away with the supreme display of talent. 369 on that front line, catches out Beishwan. He's putting the Cyclone. Jackie Love trying to Gatling gun through Beishwan, and he'll find him. Bin jumps back in on there with the quickness. He gets 2 with the grand entrance. Hung trying to escape. The dive in from Bin again as he chases them down. Counter-strike out, only finds the Leona stunned up, and he's going to dive further forward. Mikhails, Sonya's, can Bin jump out? He dives back in somehow. The counter-strike enough to keep him alive. The orders from Gatling gun. Knight's going to retreat. Top Esports now on the front foot. A man
How
down.
Is that possible?
What a close fight there. You thought Cream might have taken over, but he couldn't finish it off. It's blinking health bars. It's been just juggling it so incredibly well, going forward with the Counter-Strike into the stasis. Counter-Strike back up again, creating incredible amounts of space for his team. Bin is showing why his name is synonymous with Jax. He is known for this champion, the best Jax in the world. This guy is just insane when he is playing at his best. And he is stepping up in the moment when BLG needs him most. But it is 20 seconds until a potential Cloud Soul. TS has claimed the last 3 Cloud Dragons in a row. And that is going to be the test. If you thought it was hard for them to find engages now, give over that Cloud Soul. You are probably both never finding the engage and never getting away after a failed engage.
Just never be able to escape.
No, literally, man.
Top Esports, like, you can see what the comp is meant to do. Catch out the engage with that Death Realm, then just allow the Corki and the Smolder to spit out damage to engulf their opponents. But BLG have been so good at stepping back, and once again, Beishwan is looking for that flank position. The Cloud Drake begun by Top Esports. Beishwan looks for the Cyclone. It's a category 5, and he's knocked into the wall. The Drake secured Soul. But Top Esports, they begin to retreat. Mom comes down, Cream finds 1. Beishwan going out, and Elk has been slain. It's hunting season. For Cream, he finds 2. Jackie adds another. Top Esports find the fight, and they'll march down the bot lane.
Beishwan looked for the engage, but Kanavi instantly denies it. Stuns him into the wall, and seals their fate. Top have done it.
Top won't go through the bottom lane.
Not them putting up 536 international kills and he loses the game.
To the quarterfinals.
Not Bin went 11-5 and lost.
Top by nature.
Oh, I'm so sad for
in the
Knight,
battle
honestly.
of the LPL. TES
I feel like Knight and Elk played out of their freaking mind. And so did Ben, honestly, this game.
What a battle. To me, that's the best game of Worlds thus far.
That was so fun.
That was
Such
a good game.
an incredibly back and forth game between these two teams.
That's crazy.
TES with a very difficult to execute on composition here, really making it work in the key moments.
#1 seed, by the way.
Lightning fast reactions there
They're
from
both from
Kanavi
China.
to seal the game.
Because that Cyclone, if that's on your backline for long enough for a counter-strike, a quickness to follow up, you are just all done for. Perfection from Kanavi in the end. Top Esports, the ones that will go through to our final 8 for BLG. A disappointing Worlds, you have to say. We're going to hand it over to the analyst desk to break down that series.
We love you.
Breakdown what? I freaking love League of Legends, man. That was the most skill we had in a game at Worlds. LPL versus LPL, that is all I expected here from a matchup like this, guys.
Yeah, we got to see BLG solo laners take over in game 1. We got to see this series, Top Esports play a lot more controlled, and then we just got to see two teams bash each other's heads in for game 3 as BLG take their final bout. I'm so sad that we have to lose one of these two teams, right? Because I think neither team
like the World's
the
brackets were the most like the draws
stage.
were the
These
saddest
two teams
this year.
have such talented players on them, and for BLG, last
They
year
did
they
play
were
well.
at Worlds
They
Finals,
did.
right? And for all of the rough times that they had this year, it's really, really sad to see them not go back to the bracket stage to try to kind of defend that position.
It's a situation where BLG didn't really show their final form up until this point. And my goodness, what a performance it was, because in that game 3, even when their backs are pushed to those Nexus towers, they still find those incredible fights. I mean, Bin on the Jax really showed up today, but again, it also just shows the resilience of Top Esports, the caliber of these players. 369 bringing out his signature Mordekaiser, basically making it impossible for Beishuan to ever work with Bin to get onto the backline, but these fights were so neck and neck. God, watching Elk in these fights, Jackie loves positioning. Like, we know that the LPL is known for their team fights, but this was just a beautiful demonstration of what this region has to offer.
I'm so glad you called out so many of the champion choices too, right? Because when their backs up are against the wall, LPL teams will always default for comfort, right? That's how we got the Bin Jax. That's why we get the Mordekaiser from 369. Like, even if it doesn't make sense to our viewers at home who haven't been watching LPL, it definitely makes sense to them in terms of comfort. You could see it in these team fights from both of these top laners, right? And then, I mean, shout out to Cream. I know he's at a rough tournament. I know he had some mispositioning errors in this game, even on the Smolder. However, hopefully people believe me when I say this is someone who has been able to contest Knight this year. Like, he has improved so much as we see that damage coming out of the Smolder in this game.
Insane.
And so I really hope that he can kind of brush off the nerves now and have a better performance going forward.
And this is a huge opportunity for Top Esports to finally change the narrative.
Like
they finally returned to the
mages.
quarterfinals. We heard the elation of the fans in the arena to see Jackie Love back at another quarterfinals. It's going to be an exciting one, and if they play like they did today, they are a scary opponent to go up against.
Vintage Jackie Love has entered Worlds 2025, but it doesn't stop here. It was absolute cinema in this best-of-3 series, and we have one last team yet to qualify to quarterfinals. It is going to be Movistar Koi going against the world champions T1 right after this. Speechless. Absolutely speechless.
As well as Bin goes in for the counter strike. He lands it onto Kanavi. Supreme Decided Talent's going to get him stunned. The Cyclone from Beishuan. Jackie Love's already killed off on. And Top Esports just immediately turn it around. Beishuan trying to swing around with the Cyclone. But it's a Tempest for BLG. Now 2 for 2. Elk on the back foot. Knight gets caught in the Justice Punch. Elk flashes. Finds the root. Finds the Feather Storm. Jackie answers. Jackie flashes in. Jackie
DRW?
Is
DRW still in here?
Pulls it from beyond the grave.
Jackie Love finds the moment.
What is your card under?
The surpassing, now and forever.
Try all champions for free. I'm assuming this is the last one you needed, BRW. The 100 HP one. Okay, I've got DRW and Roki for tonight. Is anybody close to Blackout? Yeah, literally the series I've been waiting for. And I don't even want to stay up. Literally about to fall asleep. Let's get pumped. Maybe T1 is gonna show me the best draft I've ever seen in my life, and lock in Jinx, and then I'll be wide awake. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. Can you make matcha? I could, but then I won't be able to sleep after the games actually end. And then I'll really be messed up.
It's Europe's rising star versus the reigning dynasty in today's featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Spain's MKOI, the #2 seed from Europe, face T1, the greatest team in league history, with everything on the line.
Facts. Greatest team in league
just
history,
16 minutes and 47 seconds, T1 crushed Mad Lions at MSI 2023. Now Aljoya returns stronger as the rebranded MKOI charged toward their first Worlds quarterfinal since 2021.
Jojo.
As for T1, the defending world champions haven't finished below semifinals since 2020. They may not look dominant this year, but history says never underestimate T1.
Okay.
Will MKOI's tenacious hunger rewrite history? Or will T1's legacy burn through once again?
Always.
Once more into the fray at the Swiss stage of Worlds 2025, and what better team to close us out than T1 as they take on Movistar
over here waving.
It's true what they said in the video, you can never count them out, but can we count these boys in? I think it's going to be a hard battle for them, and they are trying to very much conquer their demons, make it to that next stage at internationals. You heard it there. 2021 for El Yoyo, that breakout year for him. But since then, no longer able to make it to quarters. And
is no longer
I don't know how hard or difficult it's going to be today, but I wager Marit's very difficult.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Afe.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break the news to you, but I think we can all be honest about it. I know when it comes to T1, the plot armor is just insane. This team always clutches up, particularly at Worlds. So as we take a look at MKOI, obviously I think have been a really interesting org to me in that they've both been fairly consistent in being able to make it to internationals while simultaneously struggling to really make a mark.
Do you mean MKOI's been consistent, or Mad Lions and getting 17th, 18th? What are you saying?
But they made it.
They were 17th.
They're there once again. We know it's going to be an uphill battle, but I do want to give them the time of day, Emily, in terms of their story, because I want to remind people of spring in the LEC. It was a similar situation to today, where nobody believed that they could take the title. Nobody believed that they could take the games, and that they had grown enough to show them that promise. Well, I think here it is a story of can you do that again and overcome that, even if you want to take down the world champions.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for watching MKOI this year for me, is you see they have the absolute ability to kind of punch up and do super
when I tell
well,
you
like
literally,
you said, against
I mean
opponents
literally.
that you wouldn't necessarily pick them in those matches. However, we've also seen them fumble a bit at this tournament against opponents that aren't nearly as strong as T1.
They had the reverse sweep versus Team Secret Wales, but it left a lot to be desired. They're up versus T1 Maritz, and now I gotta say, do you agree they've gotten a fraud draw, and why are they in this position?
Okay, that is a loaded question that I will not answer as such. Leading question and loaded question. What I do want to highlight is that for T1, it feels like a retread of the last 2 years. And I keep bringing this up because I think there's a lot of people that will only tune in for Worlds and they'd be like, I've seen T1 win the last 2 times. Why do I keep being told? It's because it's important to know this team, even though they're the 4th seed, brought Gen G to 5 in the LCK playoffs. And I think we're seeing some underperformances compared to domestic performance, which I don't know if they're going to be an issue for MKOI, but if you're a T1 fan, you want to see them fix those today because it is an important tempo in going into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge thing for T1 as well, right? Coming out of that 100 Thieves lineup, or 100 Thieves match yesterday, I think they would have wanted to look a little bit stronger in that match.
And something that I want to talk about is Keria, because Keria to me, when he's good, and we saw that for multiple glimpses throughout this year, obviously many times in the last year,
baby girl.
He's the most impactful support in the world. It's really hard to put into words how much this guy does for T1.
Like,
and I just
how
don't
can
think
one
that thus far
person
we've
be
really
so
seen
baby
that level of
girl?
impact from this player at Worlds.
I'd make a case he can be the best player in the world. I think
For sure.
he can break it outside of that support role, and if he is not playing up to his usual level, of course that's going to have a great add-on effect onto this team. Is that where you nail it down also, Emily, the support role?
I
or
love
is
a
it because the whole team isn't
Keria,
working as such that then, of course, support also suffers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like, I don't think Keria's had the performance he would have wanted. I also think a lot of it is a team issue. I think someone you want to be looking for to kind of start having he has such a rock-solid mental, I think, in a lot of these cases, is Gumayushi. I thought he had a really strong performance yesterday, even with Keria sometimes being a little bit behind the rest of the team on some of these engages. And this is a huge meta for AD carries, right? They play such an important damage role in so many of these
coming on screen gave me like a little boost,
and we saw him
but I'm sure once they pick Wukong, J4,
he's always incredibly consistent, and he steals all the objectives.
Exactly.
Corky,
he can
Zaya,
also be a jungler.
Yeah, and that's actually the biggest criticism we had of Owner yesterday was that he got a little bit too used to having a third smite. But for me, Guma and Owner both. I know that Owner's smites yesterday weren't necessarily the best, but for me, the team fight setup is coming from him. The knocking down is coming from Guma. And we still have some of the clutch moments for Faker. We still have some glimpses of domestic Doran, but I think that T1 is going to be looking today to see everything kind of come together. And again, we go back to 2023. There were also questions going in, and they had a nice walk. They all came together, and the rest is history.
It's true, it's true. I do want to bring up some, not counterpoints, because that sounds like I think MCO is gonna like 2-0 T1 or anything like that. But I think when it comes to talking about Guma and his consistency, for me, Supa is a really, really big question mark. I think he had one of the worst series he's ever played versus Team Secret Whales, and that's not the Supa that I know and have come to love in the LEC. And whenever we've counted him out, he's had better performances, and I know he's going to want it today. Alvaro, on the other hand, is someone who I've always found incredibly consistent for the side of Movistar KOI. And I think, Emily, even in those runs that weren't that good at Worlds last year, he was always the shining light. But is it all going to be enough is, of course, the question.
I mean, I think that I'm glad you brought up support, because I think support jungle is actually still massive right now in the meta, right? And I think when I think of this Movistar KOI team playing at their best, it is, sorry, I'm going to pronounce that.
No, it's cool. They're movie stars.
It is from Elyoya, who's kind of the heart of this team. He's been with this org for so long. And then Alvaro, who has been consistently stellar across their entire run. So, I mean, I think the two of them working together, running the map, would be KOI's best chance to take this.
Elyoya still chasing that 1647 redemption. He wants it erased from his records, but let's see how the fans have voted at home. You can vote every single day at MasterCard GG on X. Well, not when we take a break, but you know, whenever there's matches. And they are calling the match for T1 with 73.8% of the votes.
That's not that many.
What?
For T1 standards, that's low.
Yeah, I get
we're looking at 80s.
Yeah, whenever
normally.
I see T1, I'm usually expecting 80%.
Yeah,
so.
MCO is just that good. It's
well, that's also, that's how you know that T1, you know, they've been a little bit shaky. And I can't wait to eat my words, you know, because we've done that the last 2 years when it comes to T1.
Absolutely. I think nobody will blame us for saying that, because it's just happened 2 years in a row, and you know they have their eyes on the prize. They don't usually get knocked out at this stage. In fact, they never do. So could a bunch of upstarts from the LEC help them or kick their chances away?
No.
I don't know, but I'm going to give my full support to Movistar KOI as they go up against T1. Come on, give us a show, boys.
And I think that's all we really want. Classic bias shots. Wants a show from the boys. This desk, though, there's going to be no bias, even those two LEC captures. Dragos and Dagda.
Wait, what?
Oh, did you not get that? You not get the memo?
Get the email. I didn't
oh,
get the
okay, all right. That's my bad. We show a normal, neutral amount of love to both sides. But I love everything that Des was talking about. Jungle support matchup going to be hype. Of course, for one of these teams, it'll be the last time we see them on the international stage thus far. T1, 3 LCK teams have already made it through.
Y'all see how they
one
get the
LCK team is
screens, they get
built
the crowd
a little bit
going.
different,
Hey,
right? That is
babe.
T1, and it never is going to feel like a
Good
top 8
luck,
at Worlds if they
babe.
don't
You got
make it. And
this.
MCO could be the team to cut this run short. They would be
We
the
love
number
you,
one most
fakey
beloved team in the LPL if they did
Mwah.
manage to make that happen, I imagine.
It's also because we've just seen BLG get
We
eliminated.
love you,
If T1 are now
fakey.
eliminated alongside it, that's both of our finalists from last year is taken out of the equation. And for Movistar KOI to be the team to do it would be absolutely incredible. But I think a lot of people expecting T1 to be able to take this. They have been exceptionally strong over the course of the year. At some points, even the strongest team in the LCK. So it's going to be hard for Movistar KOI to take them
Did
down.
someone just
Uphill battle,
yell?
to be certain. The MasterCard fan vote, you know, they were surprised it wasn't 80%. I will say
can't
T1
read the
still
rest
expected
of
to be
that.
heavy favorites. Again, for both of these
Someone
teams,
just
they
yelled.
haven't had the most awe-inspiring run thus far, right? Neither one of these teams has beaten an LCK
can't
or
see
LPL team in Swiss. But of course, T1 did start the tournament by beating IG. So a little bit of a different story, a little bit of a different tale.
Good
and we'll
luck,
need to see what both these
babe.
teams,
You got this.
you know, true
Lock
level really
in.
is at, because there have been shaky performances. We heard about Supa, T1 obviously, while they clearly dismantled 100 Thieves, there were still a lot of kills given up. There were still a lot of moments where it really did feel like the Thieves might be able to take a win.
And a lot of that was coming down to good picks coming through from 100 Thieves where they were able to catch T1 out in rotations, but T1 were able to fall back towards what has been exceptionally strong for them for years and years and years.
Have
Their team fight
fun.
had objectives. Finding those moments where they're able to pop off and
Good
have
luck,
their
JoJo.
carries
I
take
am
shape.
rooting
So
for you,
I think
fam.
that's basically what T1
Good
are
luck,
going to be trying to
babe.
do here. Whereas
Take
for
them
Movistar
cheeks.
KOI, I think it is a huge amount on Elyoya and Alvaro to try and play through this early game, find some early leads, ban the Bard, try and find out if you can take it to T1 through that strong early game.
I like starting with Ban the Bard.
Yeah.
You know, it really is one step at a time, baby steps, explosive early game, and of course, for the EU fans out there, they're still carrying the trauma.
How
Shox brought
do
it up
you have
before,
a
but
light
look,
up
we look back to the
sign?
1647 era. that Mad Lions roster was ahead, Rob. We talked about this. They were getting kills in every single early game.
They got first blood every game.
If you watch just the first 5 to 10 minutes of all of the games of the 1647 series, you would really think that T1 were losing.
Except for game 3.
With the 1647 game, there might have been a little bit of mental boom after
I just love how much screen time my man is
but
getting.
Again, it's not enough, right? And we have seen
like,
for
it's just so
MCoy, that was the
deserved.
story in their first series against KT. They got those early leads.
It's
They
just so
could not
deserved.
close it out. They could not bring it home. And even against Team Secret Wales, we saw some of that same shakiness. So hoping for that level up in performance to give us the compelling series. 7 out of 8 teams locked in for the bracket stage. 1 more to follow. Expectation is it'll be T1. But again, never say never when it comes to the world stage and upsets.
Yeah, I am curious what the game plan is here for Movistar Koi, because even when they were in LEC, one of the things we always talked about was their preparation. Now, obviously, much shorter timeline to try and get that preparation done, but still, this is a squad that tends to kind of download their opponents
I wonder
and then
why
figure out,
Guma
okay,
usually has
we're going to try and
some
pay
like
for
random
side lanes,
keys
picks,
at
team fights,
white.
whatever it might be. And I think in this sort of instance, when you looked at what 100 Thieves were pulling off yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for this kind of 1-3-1 style with the things like the Talia, the Gallia,
wow.
the Eyes, try and find those
We
picks.
just out here
and
kissing on
find
KO.
those
God
ways
dang.
to get the game in their favor off of those picks, because I think if you allow T1 to just kind of slow the game down and play for team fights,
Okay,
I think that's
PDA,
where the
they just
individual
out here
performers
kissing
on
on
T1
KO,
will
I
shine,
guess.
and I don't know if Movistar Koi can keep pace.
Good question. We'll be able to identify pretty quickly as we enter the mid-game in this game 1. Of course, for now, though, we're headed to the Champions Select, powered by Omen and HyperX. Bard already banned away. Check. One thing off the to-do list on how to beat T1. Of course, there's about 50 to 60 other steps in the process, but that's one.
Yeah, step 2 and 3 is what's happening with Orianna and Azir, because Trundle now going to be banned away, leaving both Ori and Azir here. So I personally, if I'm looking at T1, don't give across the Azir. I think that has been exceptional for Faker for an extremely long time, although Orianna has been the stronger performer at this tournament.
The problem is whenever you say the name Faker and you say exceptional performer for a long time, you just could start listing
a lot of champions.
A healthy portion of the entire
Jojo
League of
said,
Legends
"Let me
roster.
kick this
We were
off
watching
by being
this
the
again. It was
biggest
Cassante
fanboy
mid
that
last year.
there is."
Nautilus.
It's gotten weird over the years, but this could be a more conventional mid lane matchup. They've opted for the Orianna. Now, I think it is important to call out where there have been some struggles and inconsistency. Jojo has looked pretty solid, and Orianna remains that super high priority pick for a good reason. So see what they can do with this. Is an immediate Cassante picked up, not afraid to blind pick versus Mirwin, even with the luxury of red side counter pick.
Yeah, it's also been a champion Mirwin has, honestly, I think been one of his best champions, so
Okay,
not
the
surprised to take it
Faker
away.
Classic.
The Azir is going to be picked up next. I do think, though, because you've still got options here for, like, the Wukong for Elyoya, which has also been a very strong pick from.
Come on,
the
babe,
Orianna
show 'em how to
Wukong
really
combo.
play
I
Azir.
think MCoy still are going to be relatively happy with the way this
Show
draft
them
is
how
going
it's
so
really
far.
done.
But again, for T1, I mean, it's what you want, your bread and butter. It's Faker on Azir, strong front line. You're going to be able to get something like a Varus or something along these lines for Guma in that bottom side of the map if you'd really like to. Even the Xayah, and you're going to be fairly happy with the way things are going.
That you are. Really taking their time. They are going to opt to lock in the Xin instead, so potentially indicating a more aggressive plan in the early game. Obviously, we've
Master
seen Wukong
Yi
kind of,
hover?
I would say, be the pick of the tournament. It had meta prio a lot
Is that
in all the regional
Fiddlesticks?
playoffs, but I feel like in this tournament especially,
Oh
it's
my
super
gosh.
dominant. Now paired alongside the Corki, so MCoy, a lot of early to mid-game power here across these last 2 picks.
And that's kind of what we were talking about, is that I think MCoy is saying, look, if we don't win early and win hard, we don't really have a chance here. So going for a very strong early game in the Xin Zhao, you don't have to wait for that level 6 on the Wukong.
Guma.
Try and find these early skirmishes with the strong power lane that you have in the Corki. But it was going to be answered by the Varus. We kind of expected this, just a very strong lane and something that Guma Yushi is exceptionally strong on. So I think for
Did we
MCoy,
not
it's going to
literally
be
just
all
watch this
focused on this
game?
early stage.
Where, however, are the bans going to be focused? Obviously, a bit of a mismatch. MCoy can shape the jungle matchup. But
We
support's
literally
gonna
just
be,
watched this game.
especially important here, as T1 will have the luxury of counterpick, and being in a position where carry gets a counterpick support is always a terrifying prospect. We might not be in, Caitlyn's support era, but it still haunts me at the very least.
Yeah, I'm also curious if we end up falling back to like things like the Gwen in that top side, like especially when you have the Xin Zhao there, you got the MC Hammer comp that can't touch this with both of those. But we'll have to see if that is going to be the plan, because it does give you a very strong front line and something that is very good at
What a lick to see MC Hammer has,
tools from Alvaro, which
he's
has been
just
his
used
best
in a League of
style of
Legends
champion.
reference.
We'll have to see what the game plan is, because you haven't seen much Gwen at this tournament, so it may just be an Ornn ban instead for T1 to try and take away some of that tank v tank matchup in the top side.
Is that option going to be for now? Is the Rumble instead, so limiting that long range. Of course, you do have the Varus.
I thought that was somebody's poster. I was like, oh wow.
An equalizer can just make Guma's life pretty
Like, I
miserable,
get it,
whether
but
it's
I
on
also
hit
don't.
or poke Varus, although poke, I think, is the assumption at this stage. One final ban here for MKOI. This is a bit, it can be really tough here for MKOI, right? Because a range support really changes the nature of this draft dramatically for the side of T1. Swaps are always an option, so Braum is going to be the takeaway here. Makes sense when you have a Xin who's diving in. Probably means we're going to see at least, probably just 2 more melee champions from the side of MKOI.
I thought they'd actually save the counter pick for Keria, because that has kind of been where Keria has been strongest, is when he's able to get some of his more
we need a jungler for
obviously with the Bard
T1,
banned and the Poppy gone,
and
maybe
we
just saying, hey
need
look,
a
Alistair strongest into Nautilus,
support
into
and
Rel,
top
we're
laner
happy to
for
just take that
MKOI.
matchup in a basic sense and see what MKOI want to try and answer with.
Okay, MKOI.
I'm down for the
with our
rocker.
hearts, perhaps. Engage. Which, again, if you are a stranger to Alvaro at all, this is one of his best picks. Like many engaged players, and it's actually going to be the Mordekaiser coming in on the top side. So not just Bwipo anymore.
How did they
Anyone and everyone
that?
pulling out this pick and can disrupt a lot of what T1 want to do in these team fights. Clutch ult can make all the difference.
The Kiana
They're
would
so ugly for
surprise
that.
me
No,
here.
like
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, I don't think you've got the setup, and the way that your team fights want to play are fairly easy front to back, but Owner maybe feeling himself here today.
Confidence. Kiana going to be picked up here. Obviously,
I'm glad Owner gets to have a little bit of
or
fun.
follow up CC, but isn't always going to have the same reliable teamfight impact that a Jarvan will bring to the table. This champion used to feel like the LPL
Hi,
special, but it
Faker.
has just been
Pick
rising
win.
in priority.
6 world champion.
We've seen Owner
Be
play
my
once
boyfriend.
before. Didn't end up winning on us, but we'll have to see.
He's
As you say, it's
spoken
been more of an
for this.
LPL pick than an LCK pick. And now, coming in against MKOI, if you can get this ball rolling, Kiana is an exceptionally strong spot, but it's not exactly in a list of champions that I would expect to try and play for the early stages, right? Azir just wants to sit in the lane and scale up. Barra's just looking to push waves consistently and kind of win out through that respect. Yep. So trying to find these moments to snowball this Kiana may be a little bit tough.
Could be, but I think if you're a T1 fan, you're sitting there pretty comfortable. Because Faker, 139 wins, 61 losses on Azir. Most played champion by more than 80 games. So I think if there's anyone who, whatever happens in early game, could scale up and bring this home, that is the man that I'm looking at.
He does have a habit of it.
Yes. But that is, of course, the historical, the prestige, the pedigree of Faker. More recently, as the desk highlighted, Guma has been the guy to look at. We'll see. Poke Varus is one of those champions that, again, it all depends on if you can land the Qs. If you can get those early advantages, Guma has been able to connect them in just about every situation. See if he can do that once again. So get ready for the first game in this series. Again, the final team to move into the top 8 here at Worlds. Will it be MKOI? Will it be T1? T1 the favorites, but MKOI. They got a shot.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
In respect to the MKOI fans who have trekked here out to Beijing,
Faker
I just
needs to
heard one
stop
very
giving
guttural
Orianna
roar
to
of Vamos
other
Koi.
teams. They just can't pilot him like they do.
Sometimes it could make all the difference.
They
And
can't
for
keep
MKOI,
that.
they don't have to make that trek home after today. Opportunity here to try and take down T1, but Alvaro going to be spotted. Keria only has the head push, so significantly less worried about that. And no word placed yet, but Keria, there goes. Pop over the wall, just try and spot it the early clear.
Mirwin and Doran, of course, get eyes on each other. Small health advantage for Mirwin in that trade, but it means we're not going to be seeing any kind of creative swap. It does make some decent sense. And already,
He's playing
we got
his own
aggressive
skin.
trading early, which I love to see. That said, lethal
They're
tempo
both
usually
face skin.
outmatches if you extend the trade long enough. So what initially looked pretty positive for Jojo, Faker, good awareness of the keystone there just to keep that trade going, and is still keeping
It's
that tempo
almost
stacked,
like
at least
he
for another
named
second or so.
Orianna.
Both pots burned immediately by Jojo. So going to see if he can try and look for that early health trade, it looks like, as that pot ends up coming through. But either way, as you say, like
JoJo's
Harvey trading in this mid lane,
fine.
that kind of favors, honestly, the Zinzao more, who may be able to make a bit
I
of
may be
a
tired,
pressure
but
play here towards the mid lane earlier than I was saying
y'all
to Kiana.
y'all still
But
wobbling.
also looking at that TP in the bottom lane, Varus, Gumayushi end up opting in towards an extra teleport for the squad. So we'll have to keep track of him, because at this point in the game, with Keria having that unsealed spellbook, that's potentially 4 TPs that T1 have to start moving around the map. And I think that's where we've seen MKOI struggle the most, is when they're trying to play on these 1-3-1 side lanes and getting caught out. If an extra teleport is there, can be a bit of a difficulty. Although, with the Orianna, less 1-3-1 for this style of comp.
Definitely. But getting caught out on side lanes, a common story for a lot of teams at this tournament, right? But that's pretty far away. Currently, still seeing some... Oh, okay. All right. Well...
Oof.
You know
That
what I
feels
appreciate
so
about this, even as a
freaking
new
bad.
pundit, is that at least you get your oopsies out in the early game. You know?
That feels
PvE
so
oopsies
bad.
instead of mid-lane gank oopsies,
Every
as we saw in
second
the
counts
previous
in the
series.
jungle, man.
It is a bit of a
Every
philosophical
single
thing that I
last
have,
one.
which is, you know, you get the bad
And they're
karma out of the
clearing
way
to
at
the
start
same
of the day,
side.
and then the rest of the day has to go well because you've used up all the bad stuff at the start. So that's basically what Ayoya, I feel like, is employing here. Just a little whoopsie.
Oh, it's intentional.
Get it out of the way, and then it all goes good from here.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you. We'll now go for an invade. We'll see how this one works out. Pretty difficult for him to threaten Owner, but can just go for a steal here. Goes over, never mind, he's waiting over the wall. Observer's highlighting it beautifully. Owner likely gonna have to flash here. Lock was there, might not get the chance. Doesn't even try to get over the big wall. MKOI with first blood.
It's the good karma. Draco's coming back for
What an
Ayoya.
invade.
Managing to pick up the first blood here off a really nice invade timer. Even the fact he moved Alvaro over
Even
was
with
just
the fact that
perfect.
he
Moving
was
over,
behind
Owner ended
off
up
of his
using that
stance.
invisibility at the start, which meant he didn't have any left. And then Alvaro able to move in here to help out Ayoya. And this is what we're talking about. That jungle support
Owner
synergy
still got the
is
camp,
so
though.
high for this team.
Yeah, 100%, and really well played by the team overall. So unfortunate for Owner. He has the
I
grass blade,
wonder
which
if
means that once he sees in, he should be able to go
MKOI knew
invisible,
that they were gonna
reset with the Terra
invade
shape,
at the
get the
beginning of
grass
the game.
again, and just be out there, right? Be stealthy. But because he uses both charges,
Get a
because he
little
uses everything on that
freeze in.
golem, he's got nothing left to survive. And that's the bot lane prio paying off. Of course, for now, T1 have an advantage of their own, and JoJo's pretty far up. Water Blade ready to go for Owner. JoJo can continue to step into Faker, but he just does not have any health. Phase Rush, he's going to get him out for an extra second, but Owner just finishes the kill off effortlessly. Is forced to use the
Owner,
flash,
let him
but
breathe,
nice fire
babe.
back.
JoJo took a while to spot Owner coming in towards that mid lane. Ended up sticking around that little bit too long. T1 make the play, and that's exactly what you need. We were talking about Owner wanting to try and snowball, set behind, but now answers back with a kill and helps even up, or at least control this lane state for Faker in the mid lane.
Yeah, credit to Faker playing so aggressive to get that health bar relatively low. You highlighted it earlier on. Of course, since you highlighted it, they had already TP'd back, they already did more, but clearly Faker and JoJo
Is
Oh,
willing to
Guma
fist fight
using
for
his
lane
T1
control
skin?
here.
I
Also,
hope
the Dark
he
Seal
is.
already picked up for Faker means that he does end up with a stack on that, as well as trying to trade hyper aggressively here. So the more kills that can go towards that mid lane, the better for the T1 mid.
Area, decent bit of damage. Powered auto going to connect. Ospawn back, but Guma crucially hitting the arrow, proccing those blight stacks. He has already moved in, and it looks like taking the Raptors. So a lot of little trades across the map. Of course, ultimately, it's still an overall gold lead to the side of T1. So what felt like a nice, promising early kill has been really well answered. As this entire wave
Is
I mean,
indeed.
the Rakan can get the money, but that
doesn't feel as good.
That doesn't. It actually feels pretty terrible. It's pretty bad. If you cancel some resets here, might be okay.
It doesn't matter too much because that extra TP on Gumayushi, so it means that he should be able to still come back in as he likes into this bottom side of the map. It also meant that if they tried to go for any sort of swap there with Supa, would have been able to be matched as well as Doran.
Level 6, immediately going to go all in onto Miro, and Miro flashing away. Doran can flash follow, but after he doesn't connect on the all-out Pathmaker, just decides not to pursue any further.
Yeah, Mirren flashed over to hit level 6 as well, so ends up getting that ultimate available, which means he may be chasing Doran as that ultimate wears out.
Dream.
Mirren having him burn his flash in these early
Honestly,
stages, and
wish
the
I had a
individual
ticket.
laning phases, small wins for
Faker
T1.
going in, immediate knock-up, because it's not going to stop the pushback from the Emperor's Divide. JoJo Pune running, but Owner happy to grab another carry on the way as well.
On
Instead of going to turn his
Kiana.
attention to the wave, Elioya finally here, but it's just
Who
too
kills
late.
up?
The lanes for MKOI getting picked off so quickly as Carrier even now tries to deny little bits of farm.
Great timing there from T1. You can see MKOI were aware of the level 6 and the flashless Orianna being a problem, but instead of Alvaro being able to cover, T1 just send more members mid and end up with another kill now towards this Kiana.
And again, this is the first pick Orianna. This is the matchup that MKOI opted into, and this is Jojo, who I believe has been the most consistent player for this team up until this series, where he is being targeted and really taken out of the equation. Credit to Faker. This man is constantly using the E, the shifting sands to get in, keep that man low. And Jojo just had no room to play, while T1 already starting up that first Drake.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy to do so. Again,
This is probably a matchup that Faker knows
that
so
flash
well.
on the top side. You have Guma, Yushi, and Keria
Y'all
winning
know
out on
when you
bottom
play
lane
against your
thanks to
main
their
champ,
aggression as well. And you can see that
and
CS
you know
lead
exactly
opening.
how
And now
somebody wants
huge
to
wins
play.
in the mid jungle. MKOI, we're hoping to fight early, but it just feels like it's already starting to slip through their fingers.
Definitely does. Faker comfortable in the mid lane. Gold leads everywhere except for Alvaro, who of course has the extra assist and picked up a couple extra minions after that last bot wave was pushed in.
Owner.
Getting cheeky here, getting aggressive. Owner does just take over to level 6, but has the mobility just to
Off,
make it out.
Owner.
Oh yeah, looks like he will be able to take away the red buff, but Guma is there to contest, has used the ulti. TP now on the way in. That's Keria looking to arrive to the party. Slow, steady retreat here as Elyoya gets lower and lower. Super there to cover as well. I think they would have liked to force out the Crescent Guard from Elyoya. Debating if they can turn this back onto Guma. Guma quick flash to safety. MKOI nice patience, knowing they have the control ward there to cover them.
Also, denying Guma Yushi from getting to the wave does end up moving across eventually, but meaning that they had to invest this time, invest the time in getting that play in the Tribe Rush and don't get access to the wave on top side. So at the moment, MKOI at least finding these little windows that they are trying to pressure on, and it does give them early access to Void Grubs. And I don't think you can really contest this as owner. May just try and sneak one with the smite.
Level 4 for Alvaro. Throws the Gleaming Quill, so has been spotted. Owner not concerned whatsoever, knowing that Elyoya is on the grubs. I think MKOI should just be happy getting 2. That is a smite from Elyoya. No real reason to fistfight here. You don't have control in the mid lane. Jojo going to move up because it's an even wave. Elyoya continuing to step up. It's only Keria level 5. When
I
becomes
think they're
lightning,
gonna
Guma
fight
marked.
though.
Won't be charging in.
They
Owner
want
just wants
the
to take this one.
third.
He has smite. Should be no way they can stop him, but Owner doesn't want to risk going down for it. So 3
Wow.
grubs. Well played from MKOI.
I think
was
Owner
aggressive.
miscalculating on
Very
the
good on
smite, how
them.
much damage he could do. Couldn't quite get that button down and ends up popping out. So MKOI, nice little advantage for themselves, and even denying Guma Yushi this reset.
Pretty big as Guma doesn't have access to that teleport. Did a really good job early of building lane advantages without using it, but now in this position is just going to have to go for a bit of an honest reset. Instead, he's going to opt to stay and push one more wave even into the cannon.
Should be able to just push out the wave and then reset and match Super back on towards his top side. He's not going to be too sad about any of it. But again, I think like a lot of back and forth here in the early stages. MKOI have been able to find some success in the early stages, but you can look down at the bottom of your screen and just see these small gold leads that are opening up for T1. And I think if they can continue to use this over towards things like the Dragon in 2.5 minutes and keep that pressure up, that's really where MKOI will start to struggle.
Yeah, and item completions are huge in League of Legends, right? So the goal really for Owner right now is the difference of having that Profane Hydra. Sunder Sky will be big for Elyoya, but doesn't have it yet. Now they're trying to make a play on Faker in the mid lane. He retreats back to the safety of the control ward, and Keria is here to cover. Level 6 before Alvaro, so no access to the quickness quite yet. Overall, gold has evened out. 3 grubs for the Drake, the biggest difference.
T1 also going to be able to move in onto this bottom side and set up a nice little bit of vision ahead of this Dragon. You can see both
This is
Owner and
game 1 of
Keria
the
moving in there.
series.
Faker's fine here. Still has flash, still has the ability to dash away into this bottom side river. So nice job by
This is
him
the
kind of
first game
solo
of the
contesting
series.
this area.
And Owner is very scary right now, Rob.
Yep.
Level 7, double buffs. Ready to get in there with the first strike. For now, luckily, he's focused on PvE, but I get a little nervous every time he pokes his head out in the mid lane. Guma only level 7 to Mirwan's level 9. As long as he doesn't get clipped by anything, it should be okay. But Mirwan's flash is going to be up shortly. Could be a problem. Keria now ready to respond, ready to support if need be.
It is still a little difficult to make things happen on this bottom side because you can pop the ult as Keria and get out of the Mordekaiser ult, but you still then kind of want that for if you're going to set up the tower dive.
Yeah.
So again, a little fishy, especially even if Mirwan just goes for the ult onto Guma Yushi instead. So I think happy enough to just back away off of that one and just cover Guma Yushi on the push. But again, like Guma, this long-range Varus is incredibly difficult to deal with, and he's been exceptional on this pick for such a long period of time across his career. And one of the things that he's become known for, I mean, even when you look back at stealing Barons at Worlds,
Yeah.
so not exactly like he's off of any sort of comfort for himself.
No, definitely not, right? Those early item spikes for the lethality bars can be so cheap, as well as, speaking of, he has now finished the Sundered Sky. Can be a big tool for sustain, although generally Kiana can be one champion alongside a lethality bars who can burst through that Xin if he's not able to get that ultimate down and really deny a lot of that effective sustain. As TP coming in on the bottom side. Mirwen locking up Gumayusi, immediately taking him into the death realm, but he just quickly walks back, uses the power of the ultimate, and the 1v1, the Q flash forward. Gumayusi may have overstayed as well. He's about to get taken out. Mirwen knows he has that one in the bag. Carrier now running out to safety. Extra movement speed coming in. That's the power of the spellbook Ghost. T1 caught a bit of sleep at the wheel. Risky proposition for Guma. Might have been a bit of a caster curse, honestly. Hyped him up just for him to get 1v1'd.
But he's not used to running TP, you know, so not exactly in the best of spots. Carrier.
Now sprinting out. Flashing as well. Finally going to use the Unbreakable. This man is determined to live. Has a taxied off of Elyoya, but no one else is coming. They're going to use the Shockwave as well. Carrier will eventually fall. Surely Carrier will... Okay, Carrier has fallen. All is okay. Sorry, the EU fan came out in me for a second there. I gotta put him down. Put him in the back of the box.
Look, I understand. You've been hurt before, but he is dead. The cat was in the ground, and it does mean Dragon will also go and follow. But you're giving that kill to Jojo as well, helping to accelerate the Orianna. So overall, it's nice from MKOI, and a big punishment of Gumayushi's TP and the overextension to try and save him afterwards.
Definitely. And for a team with a Lethality Varus and an Azir, you would have loved to be the person getting this second Drake when you've already gotten the first, to start stacking those Drakes to guarantee a fight where MKOI at some point are going to have to fight into you. Instead, unfortunately, a bit of a flub from the bot lane of T1. Mirwen looking to rinse and repeat here. Pullback does connect onto Guma. Do they want to keep the dive going? They don't even need to go that deep. Just obliterates him. Carrier gonna get taken out. Well, they know he has no unbreakable will. MKOI grab another 2 in the mid lane.
Out of nowhere, MKOI starting to pick up a few of these kills. And it's off the back of the play earlier where the flash was burned on Carrier, and Mirwen just barely clipping Gumayusi after the flash with the claw.
And important to note there, observers highlighting well, a wave is the cost of that play, but perhaps that's why T1 felt comfortable, thought that MKOI were going to send someone up to catch the wave. Skipped the step, did not anticipate MKOI making fast plays, but we've seen over the course of the year, one of the things that MKOI loves to do, they're willing to take those riskier angles, and now it's starting to feel less and less risky, because the Swifties, Mordekaiser, it's scary. I'm just, you know, that is a hard man to stop from getting into your back line as Faker tries to make the difference himself. Does get the flash out of Jojopyun. Jojopyun keeping the extension going. Shockwave going to force the flash back from Faker. Carry an owner there to cover, but neither side going to grab a kill. Just a flash and alt trade on both sides.
The thing is, though, it does make Jojo way more vulnerable in an upcoming fight, especially at the Rift Herald in 50 seconds. Having no flash gives owner that target on his back. So I'm curious how MKOI want to try and keep Jojo safe. Is it forego this Rift Herald and try and keep their mid laner safe in a side lane, or are they just going to try and attack owner very quickly as he enters River to try and deny him access to the Orianna?
It's a good question. Doran and Mirwen continuing to trade blows on the top side, but it's Doran who's keeping the push up, so that will be a push advantage for the team. Supa can respond, can try to get mid control for himself, but Lethality Varus
gonna close my eyes
strengths of the champion.
And
even
pretend,
when Corki has his Trinity Force spike, is that he can just
pretend
clear
I'm on
those minion
Summoner's
waves
Rift.
so effortlessly. So another
I'm
wave,
not going to
losing a couple
sleep.
of
I'm
creeps,
just
another bit of
pretending
gold
I'm on
chipped away
Summoner's
from
Rift.
MKOI here,
Not gonna
courtesy
lie.
of Doran on the top side.
I'm still awake.
Assigned,
I'm listening.
and our eyes are now on the next objective. 5 seconds.
I'm just trying to envision what it would be like.
Alvaro waiting off the side, but they really don't have the damage to kill a Kena, Krooker, and Cassante. They will continue to tickle him, however.
He's going to be relatively fine for the moment. But I think with the way T1 have established themselves here, I don't think MKOI can really contest. There's a big wave that Jojo wants to get in top lane.
It's a risky bet. Top wave and mid wave essentially even. Mirwen going to push in on the bottom side, though.
I was just envisioning what it would be like,
try to get some plates, so MKOI recognize they're down a man. They don't want to commit the TP. Immediate exhaust on the carry. A 2-man knockup with the pulverize. Good damage. Down, forced to use the Unbreakable Will, but he's so low. Supa pushes for a bit more, and it's the big one to get it done. Redemption coming in the mid lane. It's going to heal the minion as well. Keep the push onto this tower going. And Elyoya wants Guma. MKOI are bloodthirsty and fearless in the mid lane. Faker trying to respond with a push in the meantime, but it's MKOI with a massive lead.
These mid lane collapses are working for MKOI. They're getting the kills, they're getting some waves, but again, they are dropping one wave on top on that tower to Faker in the top side of the map. But overall, like mid tower for top tower, get the kills. They drop a wave in mid for T1 as well. MKOI are going to be happy with this.
In a good position.